ABC News, good evening. I'm Melissa Polomini. 2 teenage boys have been arrested over the fatal stabbing of a woman in inner Melbourne last night. Bridget MacArthur reports.
Homicide squad detectives are interviewing the 14 and 15-year-old boys in relation to the stabbing of a 41-year-old woman at her Abbotsford home. A 13-year-old boy who was in the property at the time and unharmed called emergency services, but the woman died in hospital soon after. The teenagers, who police say are friends, were found earlier today in Learmonth, more than 100 kilometres west of Melbourne. They had previously been seen in St Kilda in the victim's white vehicle, number plate BMF 464. Police are now calling for anyone else who saw the vehicle to come forward.
A man has pleaded guilty to murdering Celeste Mano in the bedroom of her family home in Melbourne's northeast. 37-year-old Louis Sarko has today faced the Victorian Supreme Court, pleading guilty to one charge of murder. 23-year-old Ms Mano was found dead in her Mernda home in November 2020. Sarko, her former colleague, was charged with murder in the days after her death and accused of stalking Ms Mano for a year before her murder. Coalition MPs have paid tribute to Ken Wyatt after the former Indigenous Affairs Minister quit the Liberal Party over its position on the Voice to Parliament. Nicole Hegarty reports from Parliament House.
Ken Wyatt quit the Liberal Party over its opposition to a constitutionally enshrined First Nations advisory body to Parliament. A former member of the Morrison government's cabinet, Mr Wyatt served as the Minister for Indigenous Australians from 2019 until 2022. Former Speaker and Liberal member for Fisher, Andrew Wallace, told Sky it's an unfortunate decision.
It's regrettable, but ultimately what Ken decides to do is a matter for Ken.
Ken Wyatt was part of the Albanese Labor government's referendum working group and last week stood alongside the Prime Minister as he announced the wording for the proposed question and constitutional amendment.
The state opposition says the Andrews government missed an opportunity to prevent the collapse of a major home builder. The Premier has today confirmed his government declined a request for financial assistance from Porter Davis before the company entered liquidation last week. Some customers have lost their house deposits and others have been left uninsured. Opposition leader John Pesutto says the government should have taken the request for help more seriously.
What steps could have been taken then to avert the catastrophe we're now seeing for home buyers who are losing their dreams in the form of the houses they've been investing in and saving for?
Overseas, Taiwan says it's closely monitoring Chinese aircraft carrier detected off its east coast after Beijing condemned Taiwan's president's high-level meeting with US politicians. More from Harry Sekulich.
Taiwan's defence ministry says China's launched a series of naval patrols and has threatened to board ships in the Taiwan Strait. The US House Speaker Kevin McCarthy hosted talks with Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen in California, drawing swift condemnation from Beijing, who claims the democratically ruled Taiwan as part of its own territory. Last year, then US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taipei, which Beijing responded to by launching war games around Taiwan.
The head of London's police force says there could be hundreds of officers removed from the service after an internal review is conducted into wrongdoing. Last month, a major review branded the Met as institutionally sexist, racist and homophobic. Some police officers have been diverted from tackling serious crime to the force's professional standards team. London's Police Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley says the Met needs a shake-up.
I think over the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to be removing hundreds of people from this organisation who shouldn't be here. We need to work through the investigations. People would expect fair process. We're bringing independent advisors in to make sure that we're not just marking our own homework. We've got other people looking over our shoulder and checking our judgments.
It's been a successful first day of competition for the Australian surfers at the Bells Beach Pro. In the women's championship, leader Molly Picklum has won her first round heat, as did Sally Fitzgibbons and Stephanie Gilmore. In the men's, Owen Wright, Jack Robinson, Ethan Ewing, Ryan Callanan, Dylan Moffat and Jackson Baker all won their first round heats. To the weather now. For the state tomorrow, cloudy, widespread showers gradually easing from the west during the day. Isolated thunderstorms, possibly severe, with locally heavy falls about central and eastern districts, clearing by the evening. For Melbourne, showers and a possible storm tomorrow, a top of 19. Showers also on Saturday and 18. It's currently 21 degrees. ABC News.
For extreme entertainment, stream comedy whenever you like on ABC iView.
That's so cool.
Extreme feel-goods with Ghosts, Ronnie Cheng, international student, and Summer Love.
Never hold back, kids.
Extreme funnies from the Melbourne International Comedy Festival.
That means a lot.
And extreme good times with Starstruck, Peep Show, and Fisk.
Why would you say that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Extreme Comedy Gold.
So cool.
And you can stream it all for free on ABC iView.
ABC Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
AFL.
What a stage. This game is coming to life.
The 2023 AFL Premiership season.
The roar will tell you the story. Fans are on their feet. Feel it on your skin. Can't believe what they're about to see. Feel the electricity. Holds his arms out wide and tells them to get excited. What a game. It's got everything. It's like Grease Lightning. It's so cool. On the run. It's happening again. It's a whole new game. Cause here it comes, here it comes. With a talk from 55. Hello. That is the cream on the cake.
Sometimes you've just got to sit back and enjoy the show.
And we have a thriller. To Gully, chest out, goal. Something big is coming. Goes for home. He's got it. Phenomenal finish. Something big is coming. Something big is coming. Fires, goals, brilliant.
The 2023 AFL Premiership season.
The chance exchange blows at either end. Step up in the big moment. Fill your lungs, are you ready for it? This is a fantastic game of football we've got here. The big time spot. His drop punt is pure. It's pure. Here they come. What a finish. Oh, he's a star. What a game. Brilliant. He kicks. He goes.
It comes the way of Nick Dacos. Gives it to Josh. They've got Dacos running through their DNA.
AFL.
It's hard up against the boundary in the right. Oh, that's one of the goals of the season. Chepstone bends it home. You cannot teach that. Brings it back superbly.
Has a shot from the pocket. He is smoking tonight.
That's around the body. Sensational goal.
And that's what brings fans through the game. 40 out. What a superstar.
Goes for home. They're red hot. Punches the air in celebration. Outside of the boot from the impossible angle. It's high. It's long. It's straight. Unguarded goal square. He's got it. This is just getting good at the G.
Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio, Sport Digital, and now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL button.
Something big is coming, I know.
The house full sign is up at the Gabba for the start of Easter footy. Happy long weekend to you. If you've been lucky enough to have a few days off, thanks for starting your long weekend with us. Welcome to the Gabba. My name is Quentin Hull. This is round 4 of the 2023 AFL season through the national broadcaster ABC Sport. It is a gorgeous night for the footy. Around 34,000 fans are going to pack the Gabba. The black and white army is cock-a-hoop. They come to the Gabatoir with an unbeaten record through 3 rounds. And, well, there's a collective nerve jangling among the locals. Just one win in the first 3 weeks for a Brisbane Lions team that was absolutely lauded in the off-season for its high, skillful and big-name recruits, but they haven't performed as yet. The Lions 1-2 with the victory over the Demons here when the lights went out. Oh, I should report, the lights are on here, by the way. Breaking news at the Gabba, the lights are on. That night in round 2 a fortnight ago against the Demons, their only victory this season after losing to Port in round 1 and going down to the Bulldogs at Docklands last week. Collingwood's list of victims, Richmond was added last Friday, at the MCG, having gone through Port the Saturday previous and Geelong in the opening round. 3-0, the Magpies. A little bit of instability around following the news of Jack Crisp likely to face an investigation from the AFL in the wake of this game, but he is playing tonight. As far as the team news is concerned, at selection, Darcy Fort was left out for the Brisbane Lions, and Noah Answorth has also been left out. with Jackson Pryor coming into the team, and Devon Robertson is back in as the sub. So the emergencies of Cockatoo, Sharp and Fort not required. Robertson is the sub for Brisbane tonight, with Jackson Pryor coming in. While for Collingwood, a chance potentially for Oleg Markov to make his debut tonight, the former Tiger, the former Sun. He's been named as the sub tonight. Reef McInnes is into the team as well, with Josh Carmichael and Darcy Cameron out. The question of just how the Magpies go about things without a designated ruckman is among the conversation that we'll have in the lead-in to the opening bounce, which is under half an hour away. In a moment, I'll take you to a chat that I had with Collingwood's head of strategy, Justin Lepich. He's a man of all things in this part of the world, former Brisbane Lions coach, and a part of the team that's celebrating 20 years since the 2003 premiership when Brisbane beat Richmond. Hold on, we've got one right here. The 2001 Brownlow medalist, Jason Ackermanis. Thanks for joining us on Grandstand AFL again this season. And you guys are everywhere. You can't get together and have a celebration tonight. Simon Black's in the box next to us. We've got, Fly McRae and Justin Lepich in the coach's box for Collingwood.
We do.
Alistair Lynch working.
Yep.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, yeah. Just came back from overseas, had to film a TV show, which was terrifying. And just been away for the first couple of weeks, so it's good to be here at the Gabba. I missed, of course, the crazy game where we did get the win, the Chocolates to Lions, that is, when they beat Melbourne. But, man, has it been a crazy year. If you can just pick nine games, you are a genius. It's very hard.
Matthew Primus, former Port Adelaide captain and coach. Great to have you along again, Matty, on a night where your craft... We might go the way of the dodo of Collingwood win tonight without a recognised ruckman. How are you?
I'm going well. I'm really looking forward to tonight. I haven't seen the Pies live. I think I might have seen him once last year, and they're the most watchable team in the AFL at the moment, the way they move the ball and score and all the other things they do. So looking forward to watching that, and looking forward to how Brizzy, how they bounce back with their form, but how they try and stop the Pies.
What have you learned in 3 weeks watching Collingwood from afar?
Their ability, they are smacking every team in contested ball, their ability to outnumber, and then they move the ball. They just keep asking questions of you, whether they're 10 goals up, 5 goals down, whatever period of the game is. They just keep asking questions with their ball movement, and that's the scary thing for every team. They've smacked Geelong, who are defensively great, smacked Port Adelaide, Richmond, who are normally pretty hard to score against, and Brizzy, so far for 2 games this year, they've been terrible defensively. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they do that, how they set up and how they operate, and watch some of their kicking skills tonight.
What about you, Jason Ackermanis? A lot of criticism, particularly for the Lions' forward structure in the wake of their loss to the Western Bulldogs last week. I know you're a keen observer of the way that things are done here at the Gabba. What are you picking up?
I'm picking up that last week's game. I will say this, Marvel Stadium is the worst surface in Australia to play Aussie rules footy on. It's terrible. Now, I'm not saying it's an excuse. Joey Danaher kicks 4 straight, they win. And all of a sudden, we're not talking about the 2 losses. We're talking about a bad third quarter against Port Adelaide. Obviously wonderful, except when the lights went out against Melbourne. Now, they are a better team. This is the best list they've had for 20 years. That's the most amazing thing, I think. The guys they brought in, McKenna is a star. You've got Will Ashcroft, who is he's just going to keep getting better and better. Barring any tragedy, he's going to be a megastar. He's a really good player. Lions, the best forward line in the comp last year. All of a sudden, McCarthy can't get a goal. Zach Bailey is a super shot at goal, can't get near it. And you're relying on Joey Danaher to kick, your goals, you're in trouble. And that comes from, and believe it or not, I'll say this, it actually comes from arguably the best midfield in the competition, Brisbane. They have not been good enough. The forward line, they are all just governed on what happens up the field. Don't worry about that. So the ball's coming in, the how is coming in, the style is coming in, is what's hurting them. But tonight, it'll be the opposite, because the Pies will give you a chance to turn it over. And if your pressure's on, you'll get a chance to go back the other way just as quick, and you'll get a chance to score.
Great to have Jason Ackermanis and Matt Primus with us on Thursday night footy here on Grandstand AFL. You, as ever, are a part of the program. The way to get in touch is on the SMS 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774. Please send us your name and where you're texting from to start this Easter weekend. I'll be Well, I've already shared some of the chocolates that Michael Price has brought into the commentary box. Pricey, well done you for bringing in a few little Easter eggs. How are you?
A man's got to know his role within the team. I supply the lollies and the chocolates. How are you, boys? Really looking forward to this one.
Oh, yes. We're good. We're good. And you do get good lollies, but thanks for the chocolates.
Yeah, not a problem in the world. And look, I'd like to see the Lions come home with the chocolates as far as bringing some of that effort that people have said that they didn't bring to the table over the last week. They've been up and down and up and down, so a bit of a yo-yo. But look, I just don't want them to be the Washington Generals to the Harlem Globetrotters of the Pies tonight, because the Pies are irrepressible. They put bums on seats regardless of where they are on the ladder. Tonight, it's a sellout, and justifiably so. This could be a firecracker of a game, but there's one team that needs to bring their side of the argument to the party, and that's the Brisbane Lions, and I hope they don't let me down.
Well, Zane Bojak's among the throng down on the boundary line to give us conditions and keep a close eye on those benches. Zane, welcome to you. Easter Thursday footy again at the Gabba. I hesitate to call it the traditional fixture because it's sort of come and gone over the years, but more often than not, this has been the start of the AFL fixture across Easter, which concludes on Monday with Geelong and Hawthorn at the MCG. And as ever, the fans have turned up for it.
Yeah, there was big lines queue as we made our way to the Gabba, and certainly those members, they rushed into the ground, didn't they, trying to get their seats. They found those, and there's a great hum around this ground. There's an anticipation. What Brisbane Lions team are they going to see? Are they going to see a Lions team in the first three quarters against the Demons look very impressive, or are they going to see the side that was insipid last week against the Bulldogs? And of course, this Collingwood team, even without their tools, they present a big challenge. They've been absolutely outstanding, although, interestingly enough, in the stats, they haven't beaten Brisbane in their last four matches, which is quite remarkable. I can tell you it's 22 degrees here, no real wind. The surface looks firm and fast. I think it's going to be a great game of footy with a fantastic atmosphere, Q. The only thing I'm interested in seeing is who's going to ruck against Oscar.
That's an interesting point, and we'll catch up with Head of Strategy from the Magpies, Justin Lepage. I spoke to him a short time ago, but Matt Primus will give you a chance to talk through, because you still do a lot of coaching in that regard. How do modern-day footy teams get around the lack of a designated ruckman?
Look, it can be hard. I think the hardest, it's a good segue into, I think the hardest area is the centre bounce. And if I go to the last 3 weeks, they got smacked 16-10 against Port Adelaide in the centre bounce. The one we called here against Melbourne, they won 20-10. And then against the Bulldogs, they lost 12-4 in the centre bounce. So
this is Brisbane you're talking about? This is
Brisbane. So if this is a great opportunity with no ruckman, Oscar, to be able to put it on a platter, it is hard to stop a dominant ruckman in the centre bounce. Around the ground, it's easy. You can put more numbers and wingmen and half forwards up. You can surround the contest a lot better. Centre bounce is hard because it's 3 mids v 3 mids. So I would think they would have done a truckload of work there to make sure they get field position out of there, because that sets up Brizzy's game, and it is hard to contend against that. Around the ground, I think the Magpies will be no problems.
If you're coaching Ash Johnson or Daniel McStay, what message would you give them as to if they're in the centre bounce? In your experience, what can they do tonight? What are you looking for?
You just have to constantly change your angles. If you just come from the one angle all the time, the big O will just jump his knee into you and jump all over you. But if you come from different angles, cross the line, jump early, jump late, all those sorts of things, try and nullify him and don't allow him to hit into certain areas. And then once the ball hits the ground, become the fourth midfielder. That would be a big thing they would have worked on.
So it's something that we're going to look at closely throughout the evening. If you have just tuned in, repeating the team news, Dev Robertson is the sub for Brisbane. So when injected, he'll join Jackson Pryor in the inn. So no Noah Answorth, who was the sub last week. Darcy Fort was dropped at selection. While for Collingwood, Darcy Cameron out through injury. Josh Carmichael was the sub last week, but is not in the playing 23. Oleg Markov is the sub, and Reef McInnes is into the team. I caught up with Justin Lepage just a short time ago. He is a man of so many hats when it comes to being back in this part of the world, and you can sense in his voice that he's happy to be back in familiar climes.
Oh, awesome. What a day, hey? We come from the Melbourne weather, and it's actually been pretty good, so I shouldn't complain, but beautiful up here and still night, and the boys are really looking forward to it.
Let's do news of the day. Was there any thought that you'd leave Jack Crisp out tonight?
I don't think he would have not played. He knows what's going on in the background clearly, but he's still committed to the team. It's an old thing. It's a long time ago that his family's dealt with. But, look, the club's put the statement out and they'll deal with that later on.
So you're happy enough that it's the right thing to pick him to play tonight until proceedings go forth?
Yeah, it's his decision too. Like those sorts of things. Whenever something like this happens, it could be even a death in the family. It could be any sort of emotional roller coaster someone's experienced. It's always up to that person that's dealing with it, and he wants to play. So we back him in.
I want to talk about your footy team in a moment, but just personally, what emotions go through you when you come here? Because I'd imagine there's so many. There's the years as a player, celebrating a Richmond premiership here a couple of years ago, and now you're here on a night where, well, you played in the grand final 20 years ago when Brisbane beat Collingwood. You've got a few hats on.
It is. It's quite weird, isn't it? I didn't even realise that we're celebrating the premiership from 20 years ago tonight, and my name's on the jumper of the opposition that we're playing, so it's quite weird. But you're right, it's spinning. I've had some weird moments here where I was coaching with Richmond just after I left the Lions, but I was actually looking at the wrong team. I was coaching Brisbane still, and I'm actually yelling at the wrong side. So at times it does get confusing. But now that I've settled in and been at Collingwood a while, it's a little bit different now.
How much fun are you having in your footy at the moment? From your playing days, from your coaching days here, all around the place. It seems like a place that is really enjoyable to be around at the moment.
Yeah, it is. I mean, one thing, Fly and I have been lucky that Collingwood's embraced us and how we want to play, and you can see in the boys' faces they enjoy the way we play, and we're getting some good results. We know there's going to be some downs. Hopefully not tonight. It could be tonight, but every week poses a new challenge. We know there's 20 weeks left. There's a long time, and everyone goes through stages where they are up and stages where they're down. We've just started the year on a high, so hoping to continue that. How do you solve the ruck problem tonight? Probably avoid it. That's probably the best way. I mean, I always think, I think my strategy hat on. If you don't have an obvious strength to beat something, you got to find another way to exploit it. And just putting in another, Dan McStay or an Ash Johnson to go head-to-head with an Oscar McInerney, you just can't fight their fight. We'll have to win it in many other ways and add some confusion. I won't tell you exactly what we're doing, but yeah, we're just going to have to win it in other ways. Without revealing the secrets, is it a night where you've got plans A, B, C and D to work out just, okay, whether it's about the ruckman and then you look at stoppage numbers and you think, well, if we're winning at ground level, it doesn't matter as much. How does that thought process work? Oh, yeah, E and F, and it keeps on going. I mean, today I saw in the VFL, their ruckman were grabbing it out of the ruck, for instance, and kicking it. So that poses another threat of how we deal with that. So who knows, they might go with the same sort of strategy here tonight to try and counteract that. But I guess when they do that, it takes away from their inside midfielders, as a strength. So everything you do has a counter effect to it. So I think ultimately we want the game a wide game, a big game, a running game, and Brisbane wanted it nice and tight. Contested stoppage, which is what their strengths are. So two contrasting styles. So it'll be interesting to see who can control the game for the longest. What value confidence, and can you quantify what is going through the Collingwood camp in that regard at the moment? Yeah, I guess confidence is just proven form. That's all it is, and knowing that you've been able to achieve something and succeed, and that gives you then the confidence to do it. So I suppose we go into the game with a little more confidence in Brisbane, but I think they know when their game's up and going, that's the stoppage game, and that suits them over us. So I'm really fascinated tonight which team can really get the game on their terms the most. Interesting, you're having a chat to Alistair Lynch before. It's weird that the 20-year anniversary of your third flag's on tonight. And Craig McRae, that link's indelible here to the Gabba. I just wanted to ask, have you noticed any sort of Lee Matthew-isms that have come into to during your time with him as Collingwood senior coach? No, probably more John Northey-isms, to be perfectly honest. He's very forgetful at times. No, we all do. We all sing from Lee's hymn book in a lot of ways, and particularly philosophically, because the game has changed in 20 years. The game's broken down. The fact that now there's 4 angles of vision and the statistics and things like that, it's brought a whole new level of strategy and professionalism into the game from 20 years ago that Lee didn't have the opportunity to have. So it was a one-on-one game back then. The big brutes always succeeded back in those days, whereas now a running team can get around a big team and so on and so forth. So, it is a completely different era as far as that goes, but philosophically we all still use the same principles Lee sort of lived by. And as head of strategy, Justin, how do you evaluate the opposition tonight and quantify, well, they just played better here?
and the crowd gets on their back here, even though you'll have a big support in the house, no doubt. So what have you looked at as far as the opposition's concerned?
Oh, well, as I said before, we know they'll take ground as much as they can by foot. If we give them uncontested marks, they'll take them and they'll march the ball up the field as long as we'll give them. But when they're not they're a risk-averse team, but then they'll just go long and back in their tall targets. When you've got two 200-centimetre plus forwards and then a ruckman who's also massive as well, it's a real advantage. You know you're not going to get outmarked anyway, which makes it really predictable for the smaller crumbing type players. So we know it's going to be, they'll want it in tight and close in that means. And
you've been running wide and it's working well. And you're spending the weekend here. It's not just about footy tonight for you, Justin. You were telling me you've taken the opportunity to get a bit more sun over the Easter weekend. Gee, the fixture helps you blokes.
Well, this game does. I mean, there's one beauty about being at Collingwood is we get this Easter Thursday game. We don't play the following Sunday, so we've had a lot of 6-day breaks. We've had a lot of back-to-back quick weeks. But now after this game, we get to take a breath. But that's after the game. We get sort of 4 days off. And some days your fixture happens that you do. Some years you don't. You just get 7-day cycles and you don't get the opportunity of a mini break. But we're fortunate we get to have that break after we get through tonight.
And you've been in a lot of big footy clubs now, but as a Brisbane player, you remember what this meant. You were a start of what made this special. So do you even need to mention to your guys that, hey, this means a bit to the opposition tonight? Because you're Collingwood, it means a lot to them most times, doesn't it?
Oh, no, I don't think you have to. I mean, every player out here from both teams wants to win. You don't have to tell them the importance of something. I mean, all the boys wearing the black and white jumper tonight are there to win a premiership flag for themselves and a medallion for themselves. So there's no complacency, I wouldn't have thought, for either team because neither of us have done that in recent times. So, you don't have to... players know the importance of it.
Great to see you back here and enjoy the night at the footy. Enjoy your weekend with your family up at the sunny coast and thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Brenton. Cheers.
Well, man of many hats is now the head of strategy at Collingwood. Just a short time ago, chatting to Justin Lepich down on the boundary. Quentin Hull with you for Grandstand AFL as we're warming up to the Lions and the Pies. Jason Ackermanis and Matthew Primus alongside me with Michael Price to call the action with me. Boys tuning in keenly there. What'd you pick up, Acker?
Well, excuse me, I'm just watching the Collingwood. They're out on the ground at the moment. You see McStay doing the ruck work. But listening to Leper, I'm wondering, that means something more. It means either someone is going from ruck forward or coming up or someone. McStay's not doing it everywhere. They've got something that they're going to try and exploit. I mean, Oscar's not the most mobile bloke, and I've no doubt they run wide, they run as fast as they can. So that's going to be their game. So this is not a bad thing, I don't think, for Collingwood.
Oh, I loved it that he knows and we know two contrasting styles. And most of the time AFL teams are similar in a lot of ways, but these two are completely different. One is just a centre bounce territory team, lock you in, contested team, and Collingwood can do that, but they love using the full width and length of the ground, and to see how those two styles go against each other tonight is going to be great.
And probably no great surprise because we've seen it even at the back end of last year and at the start of this season. He didn't say it directly, but reading between the lines, he says, we know our strength and we'll back the way that we play.
Hey, why wouldn't you? Look what they've done to three teams already. And just watching there, we saw McStay. He actually hit a few as if he was Brisbane's ruckman, smashed them forward, and then the mids and wingers just chased it. So they've done some planning for that. And if they do that, they run in waves. If Brisbane's forwards aren't on and their mids aren't on, it'll just come back with interest.
It will be a midfield game. It'll be a midfield pressure game. Everything's going to be. And can the Brisbane mids go with them wide and pressure them and actually get turnovers? That's the concern for Chris Fagan.
Cheers to Mark on the text. If you want to get in touch, 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774. Mark text, ruck issue, question mark. Come on, it's old school if you're losing. Man up on the opposition is the answer.
Well, it's a bit of a... I mean, all you're asking was, what are you going to do because you're going to lose the ruck? That's what you're asking. What are you going to do with the lack of ruckman's skills? I mean, we play against oppositions who have a dominant ruckman. We play against, Dean Cox, who's a superstar ruckman. We just fed off him.
It happened last year in a corresponding game at Marvel or at Docklands, whereby Brodie Grundy playing for Collingwood had dominated the hit-outs, and the Lions were without a recognised ruckman. McStay, I think it was even one of the younger fellas that stepped in. and they won the game. Brisbane won the game, but Collingwood dominated the hit-outs to advantage even, but it got torched.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's when the ball gets out of the ruckman's hand, that's what matters.
There are, of course, plenty of fixtures across the weekend with teams have dropped, but I'll just give you the news of tomorrow's game where the general admission is sold out for the game at Docklands between North Melbourne and Carlton. Luke Davies-Uniacke, Aidan Bonner and Jai Simpkin coming in for North Melbourne with Griffin Logue suspended, Greenwood, Goda and Howe omitted, while Josh Honey coming in for Carlton. Blake Acres out suspended and he's out with a hamstring. So there's the team news from that game, and we'll go through the rest of the round when we get to the back end of the contest at the Gabba, which is imminent with Brisbane taking on Collingwood.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2023 AFL Premiership season.
'Cause here it comes, here it comes.
On ABC Radio, ABC Sport Digital, and now streaming on the ABC Listen app. Look for the AFL button.
Something big is coming, I know.
For those just joining us, welcome along to the Gabba, a sellout for the start of Easter footy. Brisbane 1-2 taking Collingwood 3-0. The team news, Dev Robertson, the sub for Brisbane tonight. Jackson Pryor coming into the team as well with Darcy Ford and Noah Answorth. Left out from the team that was beaten by the Western Bulldogs by 14 points at Docklands last week. The winless Pies are going to have to do it without a recognised ruckman out there tonight. Darcy Cameron in the omissions along with Josh Carmichael, who was the sub in the Pies' third straight win, which was against Richmond at the MCG last week. Reef McInnes is in, and Oleg Markov set to become a three-club player in the AFL tonight. The former Tiger and Sun has been named as the sub for the Magpies. Quentin Hull and Michael Price to call the action, joined by 2001 Brownlow medalist Jason Ackermanis, former Port Adelaide captain and coach Matt Primus, and as ever, your contribution is welcome on the SMS 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774. M from Melbourne text, hi all, Q, it's good to hear you're looking forward to an entertaining game and entertaining commentary. Good to hear, Akka. We've got a fan already. Go Pies, says M from Melbourne. Okay, gentlemen, the warm-up is almost complete. A chance for you to navigate your way through the crystal ball here as to what might happen on this Thursday night fixture, which has got a real hum about it. It's the biggest home and away night of footy at the Gabba each year.
It certainly is. Excuse me. It is the best night. I mean, I remember when it started, it was so awesome playing on a Thursday night. Back then, they didn't play a lot of Thursday nights. Anyway, we would always beat the Pies. We love playing the Pies. I have no doubt that the Lions are good enough to win. It won't be a big victory. It'll be 18 points if you're lucky, but it's going to be a cracking game. The Lions had a lot of work to do, but they do their best work here, and they won't go down without a fight, and I think they're going to have to be very good. But, hey, Thursday night, Easter, let me tell you, it's the night to show all your wares.
Yeah, I'm going the Pies by 20 points. I just think the Achilles heel of Brizzy, of their ability to run and lack of intensity over 2 games out of 3 so far. If you're a little bit off for 20 minutes out of this whole game, the Pies can burn you. So I think the Pies, with their form they're in, 3 or 4 goals from them.
You can't even pick it any week to week with any team. Like, you would never think St Kilda would be 3.
The Pies you can.
Well, the Pies you can. They're consistent, but you don't know what the opposition is going to be like.
No.
It's just an amazing competition. So it should be very, very inconsistent.
Let's get down to Zane Bojack as we'll just watch the 2 captains toss the coin in the middle. Lockie Neal's on captaincy coin tossing duty. Mitch Robinson, whose career has been celebrated with a cavalcade beforehand, he tosses the coin and Lockie Neal's won it, and they'll be kicking to the right of your radio dial, so kicking towards the western end or the Lions home race end in this first term. Zano, down to you with not many a spare seat around and bounce down imminent.
Oh, look, it's sensational, Q. The Black and White Army, they are here and they are loud, let me tell you. They're looking forward to this contest. They want to see their team go 4-0 under a former Lions legend too in Craig McRae. Amazing what he has done in just a season and a bit with this Magpies team. They're in a big huddle. They've been very much about team and togetherness. Even in the warm-up, the intensity was high. As for the Lions, well, they've every right to feel confident here on their home turf, because not only have they won 4 of the last 5 against Collingwood, but they haven't lost here since 2019. So looking forward to this contest. Who's going to go up into that first bounce? That's the big question.
And can you believe it's 20 years ago, Akka? More than that? Well, not quite.
Yeah,
nearly 20 years.
Nearly 20 years.
Since you beat this black and white mob in the grand final.
Yeah, we came last in 98. They came last in 99. We got the great Lee Matthews. They got the great Mick Malthouse. And a couple of years later, we're fighting for premierships. Amazing era. They were nearly our biggest rival. Our biggest rival, actually, year to year, was Port Adelaide, believe it or not. We had some of the best battles you've ever seen, Mattress. But these guys, we just love beating them. And let me tell you, doesn't matter how we're all going, Brisbane Lions players love beating Collingwood.
So it's a part of the narrative of the evening. Can the Magpie momentum continue on its trip north? They've been irrepressible to start 2023. The Lions with only one win in the first 3 weeks, and you can hear the atmosphere build with the opening bounce imminent. Enjoy Easter footy with us across ABC Sport on Grandstand AFL. Here's Michael Price.
Former Lion Dan McStay in the ruck for Collingwood. He's filling that role against Oscar McInerney. Perfect bounce to start proceedings at the Gabba. McInerney gets it down to his own shoe, the big man. Toes it forward. Charlie Cameron's worked his way up into the centre square. He taps it out wide to the wing. Jared Berry. Handball backwards to McCluggage. Under pressure. Gets the handball back to Connor McKenna. Off a step. At the 50. Off hands. At front and centre. Josh Dacos watches the ball go across the boundary line. And we'll get a throw in between wing and right half forward for Brisbane commentary side.
What about the bounce then? Straight over his head. He had that cold. But hey, this is going to be a contest. I can even see the back line starting to rough up the forwards for Collingwood.
So McStay rucking against McInerney at the boundary throw-in. Tap boundary side for Hill. Hand pass turned over. Gave it to Dunkley. Then Dacos got in the way to swat it down. That was Nick. Hand pass to Pendlebury. Hands through Josh. Dacos handed on to Mitchell. From the wing, he kicks Collingwood to half forward. And a great mark taken by Johnson. In a 2-on-1 against him, 55 from goal. He kicks to the pocket looking for McInnes. Spoiled down by Zorko. He butters up at ground level. Gets the ball, hands it off to Adams. And the Pies have the first in the opening 60 seconds of the game. Adams bursting into an open goal.
Oh, Brisbane Lions, 2-on-1, and Cameron gets up, takes that mark. That is a coach killer, and that's just ruined their defensive effort there, Brisbane Mattress. And to get that, and to not bring that down and get that 2-on-1, that is exactly why Collingwood scored.
Yeah, well, look, they gave up an extra at the stoppage, Brizzy, to have that spare back there, and it's worked out beautifully. It's just a simple mark, hold your man down, fumbled it though, and then we got to see why the Pies are so good. Once that ball hits the ground, they come in waves. They hit waves at centre half forward, waves at the top of the goal square. Beautiful finish with the goal there. But you can see what Brisbane are trying to do and what the Pies are trying to do very early on.
Zorko nearly lucky enough not to give away that free kick too.
I thought so as well, coming in with the flight of the ball, but the umpire's got it back in the middle. Goal to the Pies early doors here, first quarter at the Gabba, and another perfect bounce in the middle. McInerney gets it down. This time Lockie Neal explodes onto it. Handball to Berry. Berry on the left foot to centre half forward. Bounces to Danaher. Handball to the run of McCarthy from 40. He shins a left footer that should have been better through for one behind. The Lions' first score is one behind. That matches the points. Pies one straight goal. 2.5 gone first term.
A bit better from Joey. Nice quick handball to McCarthy.
Nikos has got it in the left back pocket and he kicks it to left half back. Looking for Myercheck. Couldn't take the grab. Ball stays in though for a moment. No, boundary umpires.
That was not out. That was not out. Boundary umpires always trying to get involved. At least they've got hair this year.
So we've got Nikos and Jacos tonight. Sometimes, we might be pressed for time to get Nick Dacos, Josh Dacos. I'm thinking of trying to save syllables for broadcasters. Boundary throw in at left half back for Collingwood. Pendlebury extracts. Hand pass to Adams. Hand pass goes through Nick Dacos' hands. Went up into the hands of De Goey. Got tackled by McCarthy. Turned over. Spills to Cameron on 50 for Brisbane. Hand passes to Neal on the run from 40. Lockie Neal hits the near post for a second. Brisbane behind. Lions 2 behinds. Pies 1 straight.
So another opportunity for the Brisbane Lions. Gone begging. 3.5 gone first term on ABC Sport. And it's with the Pies right on the arc of 50 at left half back. Beautiful kick. It was weighted from Maynard. Should have been a mark paid to Myercheck. It was.
It is a mark. But the Lions look like they're going one-on-one here, which I like. What about this team defence rubbish?
Just having a look on the bench already, Brandon Starcevic has been marked down as getting some attention. I'll get you to have a look at that one, Zane Bojack, on the boundary as Myercheck plays on 45-degree kick into the corridor. Elliott with the big fly. Good fist from Payne. He follows that up with a tackle. Dislodges the ball. It's out for the Pies. Pendlebury toes it inside 50. Johnson with the sit. Comes off his hands. Front and square. Bobby Hill. Left, right. And then a little 9-iron into the pocket. That is a beautiful kick. And it's going to be a shot on goal for the Pies. And it's going to be with, who is it, Bo McCreary, who's got it in the right forward pocket.
Got the man bun. Looking very dangerous is Bobby Hill. They were a bit concerned when they were going to get him. He was deemed to be a little bit lazy, but he is looking on fire. He's enjoying his new home.
Bo McCreary, 4 straight goals this year. The boy from South Adelaide comes in from 30 metres and pushes it thin. The Gabba crowd like that. First behind for the Pies. 1-1-7 plays the Lions. 2 behinds as the Lions bring it back in. That's almost turned over.
But Payne picks up in the right back pocket, evades Hill, chips short, and Dunkley takes the grab at right half back. Hand pass to Coleman, hand pass infield to McCluggage, back to Coleman. Coleman pressured by Nick Dacos and it turns over the handball. Dacos picks it up himself, hands it to McCreary, hands it off to Maynard in the bullseye, kicks Collingwood forward. 2-on-2 contest, ball off hand to ground level. Elliott's foraging, couldn't pick up. Joyce does for Brisbane, tries to use his head to burrow through. Umpire says ball up in the right forward pocket for the Magpies. And it's tossed in the air quickly. McStay pushes McInerney out of the way. Clean possession. Snap to the goal mouth. No great penetration. Payne marks at fullback for Brisbane and plays on.
It was touched. He was forced to play on and Zorko got the ball off him. Pressured as he kicks it towards half-back. Dunkley ran onto the ball, got tackled off it immediately over the boundary line. It's going to get a throw in. And Zane Bojak's over there on the boundary.
Yeah, Brandon Starcevich came off with a gash to his forehead. He's got a lot of bandages on that forehead, but he is going to come back on. From what I could see, it looked like he was ready to go through the interchange gets, but has gone back to sit on the bench.
He's got a tough head, has Brandon Starcevich. The throw in on centre wing, out of side. Well, McInerney got it down, and Dunkley was jumped on. The ball stuck underneath him, and then it eventually gets foraged out. The umpire says play on after a little bit of a break. McCreary gets his handball out to Adams. Now they're in a phone box. Nick Dacos, 45-degree kick is beautiful to Degoe. They're on Pies.
Hand passes to Mitchell, hands it to Chris. Hand passes stolen by Berry of Brisbane at half back. Rush kick towards the wing, finds vacant territory. Danaher gallops towards the Sharon to gather. Hand passes defensively to Hipwood, who's on the wing. Kick to half forward. Cameron's got 3 to beat. And a comfortable mark taken by Murphy of Collingwood. Not a great entry forward from Brisbane. And Murphy has it at left half back for the Pies. Kicks it back from whence it came, from whom it came. He's kicked it to Hipwood, who's taken the mark on the wing. Try it again.
They're on in the middle here. They've really got to look a little bit further. They're out in the forward 50.
Well, that's the options open that they had earlier. And McCameron flies for Brisbane. Front and square. Josh Dacos, the handball chain. It's with Degoe. Now through Maynard, straight through the corridor. Who better to hit than Pendlebury? Maynard kept running, has a bounce, gets onto the 50. The left foot from Maynard to the goal square. Oh, Johnson. It went through his hands if he shepherds it through. But there's been a free kick paid. Tell us what you reckon it's for, Acker.
Oh, the front on contact, but it's there, but it's not there. It was a good contest, but...
What do you mean it's there, but it's not there?
Well, watch the ball if you're a player. Make it look like you're at least trying if you're going to do front on contact. He didn't even try hard enough to look at the ball.
Well, Johnson, if he shepherds that through, it's a goal, but he stuck his hands up. It went through his hands, front on contact. He's lining up 10 metres out from goal, slight angle. The umpire's just getting players out of the way. So Ash Johnson, the athletic.
From the edge of the goal square is setting up for a snap punt.
And he barely gets it in with the right foot. 2 goals now to the Pies, 2-1-7. The Lions, 2 behinds, 8 minutes gone, first term ABC Sport.
They are absolutely sieving him through the middle.
Yeah, it is. It's how quick do they play on, and the handball receives. And the scary thing, the contest possession was nearly double a couple of minutes ago. Brisbane are trying to fold back and get numbers back in their back 50, but as you're saying, Acker, the Pies just come through the middle of the ground. So if you're going to sit back, we're just going to destroy you through the middle of the ground. Really scary signs. The only chance Brisbane have a look at turning the ball over is when they're man-on-man coming forward and tackling them and getting the turnover. If they want to fold back, it's going to be a long night for them.
Well, they got a turnover here because they were man-on-man and they forced them long, but that's it. If it's going to hit the ground, these boys are going to be running back very hard if they don't start winning the ball at ground level.
Electric start from the Magpies. 2-1, 13-2 behinds in perfect conditions to start Easter footy at the Gabba. 9 minutes played. Jason Ackermanis and Matt Primus, your expert. That bounce is wobbly.
That is wobbly. Oh, that was 10 metres wobbly.
Correct, without hyperbole. Put it that way.
It's a tough skill.
So now tossed up. McInerney taps defensive side, but straight to Crisp of Collingwood had an air swing. Stolen by Dunkley of Brisbane, who kicks a high ball to half forward. Back with the flight, Josh Dacos couldn't mark. Tapped by Wilmot to the advantage of Bailey. Hand pass to right half forward, gathered by Cameron. Charlie kicks to full forward. Frampton makes a one-on-one spoil on Danaher. Bailey butters up Roves, beats one but can't beat the second tackle, and took too long holding the ball. Magpies play on. Maynard, his kick is semi-smothered out of defence, spins towards the boundary at half-back where it's over the line. And now Wilmot pushed over the line by Bobby Hill.
If that's not going to make it up.
That is bad up.
Oh, dear. That's just, that was a shocking decision. Let's make it worse by...
Wilmot goes short with a kick to Coleman, who marks on 50.
He can kick the distance here, Kitty.
Decides not to. Acker sets it up to the top of the goal mouth. Taken by Cam Rayner.
Wow. What a hang.
There was about 5 in front of him. And Cam Rayner got above them all to take an Easter special.
So you'd want to with a haircut like that. But Cam's been down back. He's been in the midfield now. He's up forward. He's been all over the shop this year. But if Cam can take marks like that and kick this goal, what an asset. Super player, Mattress.
Straight in front, 15 metres out. Brisbane looking for its first goal. And the mark deserved the maximum result. Collingwood 2-1, Brisbane 1-2. 10.5 played first term at the Gabba.
Well, that was how Brisbane are going to do it. They sent a bounce, they bounced back out, but they got the cheap free kick to get a rebound back in there. But that's the way they're going to have to win this game and kick enough scores, is dominate the centre bounce, get some repeat inside 50s, and then use some of the aerial skills. We know a lot of their small forwards can take big marks overhead, and they certainly proved on that occasion.
I think they're down there. The umpire got that wrong. Got out of the tackle. I don't know which Brisbane player it was. Gave the handball. Got the handball out. Called him for too long.
Bailey.
Zach Bailey, was it? Not good enough in the umpire. Then he plays this little tinky touch one on the boundary here. We'll take it, don't get me wrong, but
evened it up.
The umpires have got to be a bit better, but what a hang from Rayner. What a star.
Well, he started the season in defence. The first couple of rounds, halfway through last week, got thrown back into the forward line. I think he's more a natural forward, is Cam Rayner, as Danaher's in the ruck. Punches it forward. McCarthy bolted onto that ball, hit the pack hard, and he was dealt with high. Gets a free kick forward to the centre circles. Handball to Coleman. Inside 50. There's been a clash of bodies and a push. The umpire says that will go against Gunston, and the Pies will have it. Nick Dacos plays on. Chips it beautifully into the path of Will Hoskin-Elliott. Gets knocked over after he kicked it by Zorko, who's paying a little bit of close attention to Nick Dacos just outside the arc of 50. Not even watching the ball, Zork. It's kicked down the line. Meyer check. That's too easy. Was that why you're groaning, Matt?
Yeah, it was. Aaron Andrews called someone across. They didn't come over and cover for him. Dunkley then.
So the communication was there. Nobody's listening. Meyer check. Long kick to the arc of 50. Off hands beautifully, roved there by McInnes. He's bumped off it violently, and the Lions should come away here. It's with Darcy Wilmot.
Received a hand pass from Starcevic. Right half back, Wilmot's pass is marked by Dunkley on the wing. Hand passes backwards to Ashcroft. Miss kick off the instep. Straight to Nick Dacos. Gives it to Jacos. Nikos and Jacos combine. Hand pass to Crisp. Inside 50. Berry goes back with the flight to take the mark for Brisbane. It was into the corridor. There were men around him, but Berry gets to the drop to take a grab for the Lions. 5 points to lead to Collingwood as Berry kicks to left half back. Andrews takes the grab, and the co-captain is trying to just bring a bit of tempo into this frenetic start. He chips infield on the 45 to Joyce.
I tell you, we haven't seen anything of Steele Sidebottom yet. I think he's getting tagged. I've just got to work out who's on him.
Hasn't touched it yet, Acker.
Joyce goes long to the wing, turns it over. Frampton goes up almost uncontested to mark for Collingwood near the interchange gates.
So Billy, sorry, keep going, guys.
Sometimes with the wingers, it's a problem. He's playing over that far side from where we are. The ball hasn't been out there. It's been all our side, hasn't it? And that can be a danger if you're a winger playing one side of the ground.
Yeah, I think McGluggage is on him.
So Noble plays on for the Pies, kicks it to right half forward. Big fly for Collingwood was Reef McInnes, the in this week. It comes off his hands goes over the boundary line where the 50 intersects with the boundary at right half forward.
I tell you what I like, Pricey and Q, is the attack on the ball from McCarthy. He's not getting goals, but he's involved. That's what we want to see.
Well, that's what the Lions needed. There was only 3 ground ball gets inside 50 last week against the Bulldogs. Only 3 for the game, and that's where they need to lift. Outside this ruck contest, good hands from Ashcroft. He gave it to the runner, Zach Bailey. Kicks it to the wing. Hipwood attacked it well. On the bounce, he gathered the big man and then kicks a wobbly left footer towards half forward. Quainer, he couldn't quite gather. He's got McCarthy on his hammer, who chased well, but they get their hands through more. Then Sidebottom gets his first touch. It was actually
fantastic.
Smothered off his hands over the boundary line, and a throw in with the 50 intersects at that same Bojack down there.
Yeah, Steele's been marked by Jared Berry. He's doing a really good job. He's really marking off in the space and cutting off any opportunities for him.
And Zorko on Nick Dacos, annoying the hell out of him.
Yeah, so he should. Great pressure from McCarthy. That's a bit better.
Collingwood by 5 points, 15 minutes played. Boundary throw in left half forward for Brisbane. Clean possession, Danaher. Taught from 60 to the goal mouth. Moore in front though. In a 2-on-2 contest, the Collingwood skipper, too good.
How did he get that?
One clunk grab from Darcy Moore. Chips it to the right back pocket for Murphy. Murphy takes the mark and has to slow it down, which does deserve noting. There's not much slow footy in this. It's been a frenetic start. Murphy long to a contest on the wing. Johnston the target, Pendlebury the robe. Hand passes to the runner to Goey. Watch out. They're off to the races again. The Goey kicks inside 50, just in front of Elliott, who's now got a couple against him. Taps it to Hoskin Elliott. Elliott to Hoskin Elliott. Back to Elliott. Sounds like a comedy routine, but they had stuffed it up. Went to Josh Dacos. He got tackled, and Brisbane come clear with Zorko picking up. Desperate hack ball towards the wing. Got it to Gunston. Gunston harassed by Frampton and Noble. Gang tackled by the Collingwood defence, and the ump says neutral. Ball up on the wing.
Good win for Brizzy there. Good win. Gunston able to hold that up and not let it cough out. They were surrounded by Pies players.
Umpire throws it up on the Vulture Street wing. Good contest. Danaher versus Johnson in the ruck there. Only went down to the feet of McCarthy, who toes it towards the corridor. Nicely picked up by Quainer. His quick handball not handled by Sidebottom. Lions have got a chance. Beautifully picked up by Rayner. Has a pin from 50. That is beautiful from Cam Rayner. His second, and doesn't belong up forward. Me thinks he does. 2-2-14, plays 2-1-13. 16 gone, first term, ABC Sport.
How good was that? And how good is Joey Danaher in the ruck? He's just going off for a bit of a spell as Oscar comes back on. But Rayner, up forward, looks dangerous. Great gather, broke a tackle from 50, right foot special.
We get Tom on the text says, how about Nakos and Jacos, not Nikos? Good on you, Tom. En route to Buchan for a weekend of camping.
I think it's camping, yeah, not caving.
Not caving, which says on the text. 0437 774 774. 17 minutes played. This has been a bursting opening.
Unbelievable.
To Easter weekend footy.
How good are the Pies when they get it going out of the stoppages? Anywhere. Through the middle. They're on.
So the Pies have got Johnson in the ruck here, who's well undersized. Interested to see what the Big O does here, whether he just smacks one forward or tries it laid down inside.
Hit outs, by the way, at the moment. 7-1 in favour of Brisbane. Make it 8-1. McInerney got the tap there. Doesn't find a rover. It's at the feet of the pack, picked up by Adams of Collingwood. Just rushes a handball to half forward. McCreary has it, then dropped it. Kicked off the ground by Pendlebury. 40 metres downfield into the pocket to the advantage of Myercheck. Will pick up near the paint. He scums it to the top of the goal mouth. Looking for Elliott. Stolen by Payne of Brisbane. Hand pass Starcevic. Hand pass Bailey. Hacked, clearing kick to the middle of the ground. McCarthy in a one-on-one in front of Noble, takes the mark. He plays on quickly, kicks to space, marked by Gunston. 60 out left, half forward for Brisbane. Slows it down for a moment, then kicks to the goal mouth. Charlie's out the back, and Cameron Marks in the goal mouth.
Oh, yes, he does. What a transfer of play. The quick kick, they're under all sorts.
And Pendlebury is into the jumper of Zorko. He realises that the Zork's getting into his young star. There's a bit in this.
So he should. You know, you're getting older. You know, use it. Use your experience. Get in their heads.
And it continues between those two, just a few metres away from Charlie Cameron, extending Brisbane's lead. He kicks the goal from straight in front. Lions 3-20. lead Collingwood 2-1-13. Zane Bojack on the boundary.
Oh, there was plenty going on there, Q. Brandon Maynard, he was getting shirt-fronted by the Big O. The Big O was just reminding him too that Cameron took that mark uncontested. So it was on for young and old in that goal square.
Matt Primus, Jason Ackermanis.
I love Cameron then, his speed. He got through Darcy Moore, tried to go with him. He ducked up, he ducked back, he ducked back up again, and then he just went out the back, and his speed was too much. But what I love, I don't know if you guys have picked it up, Brizzy are playing on very fast on their back line. They are normally slow, kick mark, take their time, go long down the line. They're choosing tonight, and it's a bit of risk reward, but they are playing very quick out of there, and it's working for them at the moment.
Craig McCravey disappointed in Noble's effort then. Good mark, McCarthy.
So it's the Lions by 7 points, 19 gone first term on ABC Sport. The Lions with another clearance, but it'll be a free kick. No, advantage paid. Why stand there and blow the whistle? Good God, I hate that. Hoskin Elliott at half-back, gathers the ball, chips it forward. Starcevic gathers with the headband on. He's hassled off it by Bobby Hill. Ball spills to Pendlebury, dangerous, and he misses with the handball to Crisp. Just a lot of pressure as the ball spills around the boundary line. We'll get a throw in just forward to centre wing and left half forward for the Pies. They're in attack yet again. You can see Craig McRae sitting on the bench, and he's getting right into it. His Chargers are playing the way he wants them to. McStay gets the ball down, but sharked by Neal. Handball there to Connor McKenna. Under pressure, he tumbles it towards the wing. That's gutsy by Quainer, who took it under pressure from Gunston. Went through the hands of Mitchell to Moore. Then to the 50, Reece McInnes in front. At the end, in front of Harris Andrews. 70 from goal. Not quite calling it as per Jack Lukosius last week. He's calling for a lead. Now he heads back into the Johnson direction, but it's ill-directed. Payne mopped it up easily for Brisbane. Takes a mark in the right back pocket.
By the way, our texters are caving. They're going caving.
They are
caving, not camping. Yeah, thank you for that that text. Short pass from Payne, marked by Starcevic. Starcevic to the middle of the ground through the fingers of Rayner and turned over. Mitchell Rose for Collingwood. Hand pass out the back to Murphy, who's near the bullseye. Long kick back into attack, wide. Looking out there for Johnson, who couldn't take the grab. Ball at ground level, chance for Josh Dacos. Hand passes to McCreery. Hands it back to Adams, who tapped it on to Johnson. He tapped it along the ground to Noble. All this at half forward for Collingwood, and they've lost it in the end. McCarthy picked up. Johnson makes the tackle, and the ball goes over the boundary line. At right half forward for the Pies, who kicked the first two, but Brisbane has kicked the next three. Lions 3-2-20, lead Collingwood 2-1-13, 21 played.
I like how they're playing down the middle here, the Lions. They're taking risks, turning over, that's okay.
That's our expert Jason Ackermanis with Matthew Primus here tonight at the Gabba. Brisbane versus Collingwood. Off the ruck's hands. Comes through Mitchell. Toes it inside 50. Bouncing ball. Meeting at Myercheck. Handball back to Johnson. Now it's to Adams. Off a start. Kicks at Bobby Hill. Right place, right time. He was in front. Takes the mark. 30 metres out, but it's a slight angle to the right. Shouldn't be a problem.
Luck's of fortune. Quick kick forward there from Mitchell initially, and then Myercheck with the gather. Forwards in front. Can you go wrong? And, of course, a quick kick forward out of there from Elliott. And Bobby, he should make this is what he gets paid to do, Bobby.
Not a problem with regards to goal kicking, I suppose. 63% so far this year. 5 goals won for the Pies in his 3 games since he transferred from GWS.
He'd be loving playing footy at the Pies.
The Brisbane crowd welcome him to the Gabba, though. He leans back, does Hill. Straight as an arrow. The Pies get their third. 3-2-20 Brisbane, 3-1-19 Collingwood, and we've played 22 and a half minutes of the first term. ABC Sport with Michael Price and Quinton Hull, your experts, Matthew Primus and Jason Ackermanis.
I would think that that's probably their real Achilles heel, that leg speed from their defenders, Matty Primus. That is lacking at times, and obviously when you've got a quick forward like Bobby Hill, and he's going to be dangerous.
Well, a lot of the Pies forwards are all pretty mobile and quick, aren't they? And they're certainly exposing at times Brizzy's backs, but they're defending pretty well so far.
So those hit-outs, Brisbane 10, Collingwood 1. Clearances, Brisbane 10, Collingwood 5.
Yeah, so they're getting their advantage out of that, and it's working well for them, giving them some territories and the good inside 50s. I think it's 11 all inside 50, so that's working well for Brizzy so far.
I see side bottoms come over this wing, so they're trying to break that tag.
McStay's gone back into the ruck against McInerney. Centre bounce, Big O clear, palm down. Dunkley had it shunted away from him. Went to McInerney, he turned it over. Hand pass to De Goey. Defensive hand pass to Maynard, who's all the way at half back. Tried to tap it back to De Goey, did, and then he got tackled. No Pryor. Ball up. That was a messy rumble, which has gone towards centre-half forward for Brisbane and centre-half back for Collingwood as this is tossed in the air. McStay got that one down for Collingwood. Taps it down to Adams. Rush kick back to the bullseye for Collingwood. McKenna outmarks Hill. Takes the grab for the Lions. Kicks it into Hill on the man on the mark. Ricochets to Elliott of Collingwood. Hand pass out the back of Adams. Hands it to Mitchell. He'll work from defensive side of the bullseye with the kick out wide. It favours Hoskin Elliott on the bounce. Kicks Collingwood to half forward. Marked by Elliott on the chest. Uncontested, but too far out. Too far out, you'd think, for Jamie Elliott, who can do most things in front of goal well. Doesn't go for goal. Chips it to the leading Myercheck. Marks uncontested above his eyes. 40 metres out, slight angle to the right.
Tagoe was standing in that hole and he just put a little bit of body pressure, didn't he?
A little bit of a block to allow the
run and jump from Myercheck.
Yep.
Smart kick, and that's good connectivity between your mids and your forwards, and your forwards and your forwards.
Brodie Myercheck, 4-time leading goal kicker at Victoria Park. Kicked 41 last year. He's got 6 so far in 2023. This will return Collingwood to the lead from just inside 50, right foot. Is across the face and a behind, which levels scores at 3-2-20 apiece. 25 minutes played first term.
Thought they should have been a free kick for McKenna. He played on way before he was told to. But anyway, he's kicking in.
So the Irishman who made his comeback to the Brisbane Lions, several clubs chasing him after he returned from Ireland. He's a long kick towards centre wing on the outer side. Off hands, Will Ashcroft, straight up and down the chimney. Nice mark taken by Charlie Cameron. He's on tonight, Chuckles. He's going to put it inside 50. Eric Hipwood makes his way backwards, keeps it in, slaps it back inside the field of play. It's gathered by Frampton. He's tackled by McCluggage. Gets a handball away and it's taken by Darcy Moore over the boundary line. Be a throw in where the 50-metre arc intersects the boundary and Zane Bojak's down there.
Yeah, Moore and Pendlebury have just come back on. It was interesting watching the former skipper, the current skipper and the coach in Craig McRae making adjustments on the run. It's amazing to see it down here on the bench.
Zane with a close eye to it. Boundary throw in, half forward for Brisbane. McInerney, no clean service with his tap down. Zorko's underneath the pile and we'll see a repeat ball up.
Question without notice, boys. Are the Brisbane Lions numbers slightly smaller than they have been in the past?
What do you mean?
McInerney
the actual size.
Spikes the restart bounce towards the pocket and Quainer is there and shut it out of play by Rayner.
You mean on their actual back?
On the jumpers?
Yeah,
on the back of the jersey.
They don't look real big from here. I thought it's really good.
That's a good point.
I reckon they've shrunk.
Yeah, it's the 2003 commemorative strip. So it is a different jumper tonight. Your name's on all of those jumpers.
So it should be.
Acker? Yep.
So it should be.
Boundary throw in. Brisbane in attack. Maynard hits the pack. Couldn't pick up for the Pies. Ashcroft has a go. He can't pick up. Quainer tries. Gee, it's a hard footy to win. Guess who does, though? Pendlebury among the congestion. Kicks it clear for Collingwood. Spiral ball to the middle of the ground. Andrews takes it. Tackled by Elliott. Hand pass stolen by Bobby Hill. One bounce at 60. One bounce at 40. One bounce at 20. And he goes. Bobby Hill's second on a costly turnover from Harris Andrews. And the Pies lead it by a kick at 4-2 to 3-2 as Bobby Hill doubles up in the first term.
Well, there was decisiveness. Andrews v Bobby Hill, the ball on the ground. Once it was a live ball, he got tackled and then he tried to give it to, I think Payne might have been here, and so two big guys. The Pies just swarmed him with their speed and then just ran away from him.
I think it was McKenna, but that's a bad error from the Co-Cat.
It is a bad error, but the agility and speed and pressure, that's what made him cough it up.
What about the tackle from Jamie Elliott, though? On a big, tall man like that, he absolutely nullified him in that contest, and he made the error happen.
And he did have to be stronger, Harris. I understand this is a dangerous situation. Even just the long handball out wide to the boundary line would have been a better effort.
Or the tap to his teammate and then just get out of your area.
All of a sudden, the Harlem Globetrotters lead by 6 points here at the Gabba, and we're back into the middle. McInerney gets it down. Pendlebury, the handball to DeGoey. The left foot's inside 50. Off the hands of Harris Andrews. Elliott's in the danger area. Coming back, Starcevic gets a handball away. It's going to go through for a behind. Pies player saying he wasn't under pressure, and I'm here to tell you he was.
He certainly was.
Goal umpire says one behind. 4-3-27, plays 3-2-20. Pies by 7 points. 28 gone first term.
McKenna to bring it in, but you've got Chris Fagan's up in the box tonight.
Yeah,
he's mixing it up, isn't he?
First time, is he? I don't think he's done that this year.
It's been a while.
McKenna runs beyond the goal mouth, kicks to left half back, looking for McInerney. Spoiled. Whistle. Free kick to Big Oscar. Maynard grabbed his jumper. So the Big O with the free kick at left half back for Brisbane. Taking a moment or two to assess his options. Decides to handball to McKenna, who's running behind him, couldn't beat the McCreary tackle, and then hand passes it out of play without intent. Umpire says throw it in.
Ooh, lucky. That was a silly handball, just handballed behind him and just made it easy for the man on the mark to be able to guard two players.
Yeah.
So no exit for Brisbane there. Throw in between wing and right half forward for Collingwood.
So the rucks to do battle. McStay gets in front of McInerney, but McInerney belts it 20 metres across the Stanley Street wing. It's gathered by Nick Dacos, disposal number 8, despite the best intentions of Dacos. Off the hands there of McCreary. It's picked up there by Connor McKenna. His kick only goes 5 metres. Back off hands. Dunkley from a step. Kicks it back down the wing. Big contest by Frampton. Made the ball bounce forward into the hands of Pendlebury. And that's dangerous for Brisbane. His delivery is beautiful across to these Vulture Street wing to side bottom. He's got the run of Noble. Noble lowers the eyes and hits a target in Nick Dacos. 40 metres from goal. Slight angle to the left. And it's just like poetry. It is fluent. It is lovely to watch.
Beautiful to watch, isn't it? How quickly they can go from contest to the open side. Run and spread and handball and link up. It's just fantastic.
Just their efficiency by foot.
Yeah.
If you got to come to the footy, because see little thing, you can't see it on the TV. Bobby Hill selfishly there saying he ran to space. Said no, don't give it to me. Noble was coming from behind.
Yep.
That's how that spread works so well, Matt.
Yep.
Great to see it in the flesh.
So Nick Dacos, who's getting pestered by Dane Zorko, this was disposal number 10 for him as he comes inside 50. And do you think he would kick it anywhere else except for straight through the 2 big sticks? One of the most exciting young footballers I have ever witnessed, Nick Dacos, and that's not hyperbole, that is fact. 5'3", 33, plays 3'2", 13 points the margin, the Pies late in the first term. Zane Bojak's on the boundary.
Hey, Pricey, remember how you said Jeremy Cameron's one of the best kicks in the competition? We just saw another one right there.
It's like as fluent as milk.
And that's pretty much it. The way they come out of that contest and be able to actually just sort of went in a 45-degree angle. Side bottom gets the kick. The ground opens up. Their foot skills is efficient as you'll ever see in any era on any day at the moment.
Well, we wondered how long it could keep going. Certainly they've taken it away from the MCG for the first time in 2023 and they're spreading the Gabba just as they have spread at headquarters. Scintillating start for the Pies. Centre bounce, McInerney, first hand again at ruck time. Ashcroft comes through, can't pick up. Neal comes through, is over it. Tackled by Josh Dacos and Mitchell. Rayner, though, farms away out for Brisbane. Hands it to half forward, gathered on the bounce by Danaher. Rides a tackle, hands it to Neal, hand pass. Eventually got to McLuggage. The side bottom had a fumble, but then plays tackler to lock up McLuggage. And we'll see another stoppage. Still in the centre square. Just advantage side of the bullseye for Brisbane.
Not long left in the quarter. The Lions are a chance here. They get this clearance.
Kicked off the ground by Dunkley. A scummed ball to half forward. Noble picks up for Collingwood. He in turn hacks it out towards the wing. 1-on-1 out there. Hill and McKenna are holding each other. Ump lets them play. Hill drags it in. Ump says no. Ball up. As McKenna locked it up. Myercheck came in to help as well.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
And only a matter of seconds left in the first term. Ball up on the broadcast wing. Clean possession. McStay ridden into the ground by McInerney. Ump says play ball. Siren says that'll do.
What a quarter.
What high-paced footy. And, well, Bobby Hill's down on his haunches behind play. And now there's just a meeting of men who's in there. Myercheck, McKenna, Starcevic, and now a few more have come in. McKenna's having a good chat to Maynard. Myercheck's having a good chat to McKenna. And there has been a few little spot fires here and there throughout this first term. Nothing too much in it, but Bobby Hill, I must admit, I missed him going down, but I saw him on the haunches.
Well, Connor McKenna and Darragh Joyce are both involved, the two Irishmen for Brisbane. Anybody that's ever seen a Guy Ritchie movie knows that you do not get involved with two angry Irishmen on the wing.
I reckon he's either jabbed him in the ribs or he's given him a nice elbow in there just to let him know, McKenna. And, you know, so they should. This is going to have a lot of niggle coming up Q.
So, quarter time, that score, Collingwood lead by 13 points. It's the Magpies 5-3-33 to Brisbane's 3-2-20. Hill has 2 goals for the Magpies, Adams, Johnson and Nick Dacos the others, while for the Lions, Rayner has 2 and Cameron the other. 13 points the lead to Collingwood, quarter time at the Gabba. Hope you're enjoying the start of Easter weekend footy right here on Grandstand AFL.
What's the best thing in the world that's also on the ABC Listen app? The footy! This season, get your footy live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app.
Right through for a goal.
AFL, NRL, men's, women's. Whatever you fix, we've got you covered.
She's got it. Bye-bye. See you later.
Every goal, try, mark and tackle. Called by ABC Sports' expert commentary team.
Set. Bingo.
AFL and NRL, live and ad-free. Get it on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
55 from Goldie, kicks to the pocket looking for McInnes. Spoiled down by Zorko, he butters up at ground level, gets the ball, hands it off to Adams, and the Pies have the first in the opening 60 seconds of the game. Sets it up to the top of the goal now. Taken by Cam Rayner.
What a hang.
Straight in front, 15 metres out. Brisbane looking for its first goal, and the mark deserved the maximum result.
Nicely picked up by Quainer. His quick handball not handled by Sidebottom. Lions have got a chance. Beautifully picked up by Rayner. Has a pick from 50. That is beautiful from Cam Rayner. His second, meeting at Myercheck. Handball back to Johnson. Now it's to Adams off a start. Kicks at Bobby Hill. Right place, right time. He was in front. He leans back, does Hill. Straight as an arrow.
Spiral ball to the middle of the ground. Andrews takes it. Tackled by Elliott. Hand pass stolen by Bobby Hill. One bounce at 60. One bounce at 40. One bounce at 20. And he goals.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Hope you can hear the pace coming through the speakers through ABC Sport. Quentin Hull and the team at the Gabba dissecting a first term of fast-paced footy where Collingwood lead Brisbane 5-3-33 to 3-2-20. One game of the National Rugby League tonight where the Melbourne Storm is hosting the Sydney Roosters. 18 minutes played. Roosters lead that by 6 points to 4. A reminder, you can hear that on the ABC Listen app. Green button for the NRL. Red and blue button for the AFL on the Listen app. Jason Ackermanis, Matt Primus, have you got your breath back? That was some frenetic pace to get the first half hour of footy away.
Scintillating. That is just so good to watch. And they run in all directions, the Pies, and they get it. And it must be so good, Matty, to play in a team where you can run back 45, you can run across the ground, and you're going to get it without breaking stride most of the time.
And no matter what position you play, you know you're going to get touches of the ball because they're going to, as you say, they're going to go to the half-backs, they're going to use all their wingers, they're going to use all their half-forwards, and it is exciting to watch. You know, Brizzy are doing really well in the contest clearance stuff as we thought they would, but wow, they are hard to stop. It's plus 20 handballs, and that's the thing, the exciting thing. Their ability to link up and their skill execution is amazing, and you can see why if you drop off for 10, 15 minutes against the Pies, the scoreboard goes north really quickly against you, doesn't it?
Yeah, they started fast. The Lions got back into it, but both sides are making errors. The Lions I am liking the fact that coming out of the back line, they are going through the middle, something they very rarely do, unless someone is 50 metres by themselves.
They've definitely identified that, I reckon, haven't they, mate? And I reckon that's to give their forwards an opportunity because I don't care how good a back line you are, if you go 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3 and it's nice and quick, you can beat your opponent, can't you? But
that's the thing. It is one-on-one.
The slow moving that Brizzy normally do wouldn't allow them to do that. So they are playing quicker down there. And we'll continue to see if that bites them on the backside. If they cause some turnovers, as they have, Pies will make you pay the other way quickly.
Yeah, Q, I think just a couple of times there, the boys just probably not used to having a little bit more time to make those decisions. Just down here where Cameron had it, he had better options closer to him. He went to the long one, didn't work out. They'll get better at that.
On the stats, Nick Dacos has had 10 in the first term. Scott Pendlebury 10, Taylor Adams 9, Braden Maynard 7. While for Brisbane, 7 for McKenna, 7 for Dunkley, 6 for Coleman, and 5 each for Starcevic, Berry and Neal. Overall, Collingwood 28 more disposals, 108 to 80. The clearances are 13 to Brisbane, 8 to Collingwood. Hit-outs, 14 to Brisbane, 4 to Collingwood. Tackles, Collingwood 19, Brisbane 8.
That's the scary thing, Hugh. I just looked at Dacos and Pendlebury, 10 touches each.
Yeah.
Dacos at 90%, Pendlebury at 100%. Normally your high possession guys are going to be 60, 70%. So every touch they're getting is turning into magic for Pies the other way.
And what about no ruckman? No worries. They are playing just as well without them.
Inside 50s, Collingwood +3 at 15-12. So, yeah, we are getting to see it in the flesh for the first time here as far as the Magpies are concerned. And, well, what we've been seeing from afar from the MCG is working here on their first trip away from headquarters. McStay up against McInerney as the second term begins. Collingwood leading by 13 points. Michael Price.
Umpire Andrew Stevens holds the ball aloft, middle of the gamba. It's going to be banged down. McStay versus McInerney. It comes off the hands of McInerney into the arms of De Goey. Immediately they're in attack and a kick inside 50. The mark taken by Johnson again. Boy, he's got some hands, this kid.
Just a leg speed to get there. Who's his opponent? I can't quite work it out. Just couldn't go with him.
Well, at the moment he's got young Jackson Pryor standing with him, who's a little bit, I suppose, height disadvantage. Johnson's 193 centimetres. He's got a great vertical leap as well. He's going to have a shot probably from the arc of 50s on a 45-degree angle to the left.
This could go anywhere. He's not the best from this distance.
Well, he nailed one here early against Richmond with a dry ball last week, but then proceeded to kick 3 points. He lopes in to the 50. It goes across the face, predictably Acker, well spotted, one behind. 34 to the Pies, 20 to the Lions, 14 points to the margin, and a minute gone, second term.
Very quick injection, but very short to the pocket, where Payne takes the grab for Brisbane. Payne is called to play on and drives a long ball to the southern wing. Danaher presents first hand, didn't mark but roves his own crumb and then breaks a tackle of De Goey. Rushes an up and under kick into the middle of the ground. McInerney got underneath it, dropped one he should have taken. His indiscriminate hand pass stolen by Frampton of Collingwood, tackled by Rayner, and it will be a ball up on the edge of the centre square. G'day to James at Parkdale. It says, jackpot, I've managed to sync up the ABC Listen app with the TV. Good on you. 0437 774 774. From the stoppage, Noble bursts clear for Collingwood, ones to the centre of the ground and kicks to Elliott, who takes the mark on the lead, 50 out at right half forward. He gave Jack Payne the drop, and this is within range for Jamie Elliott.
There it is, that leg speed.
Yeah, it was off Lockie Neal then from inside to outside. He got caught just ball watching, still under the arm.
It's a good kick, Elliott. He's always a chance from here, but 50 metres out. It's no wind. It's if he hits it good, it'll go through.
Some career already, but imagine if those soft tissue issues weren't a part of this resume. Elliott, we've wrapped him up and he's kicked it out in the full by about 10 metres. Just hit that big slice over the boundary line, missing the sticks to the right, and a free kick to Brisbane in the left back pocket. Pies lead by 14 points.
Don't want to be that guy, but historically he's been a great kick this season, 40%. The ball's out to the 50-metre arc, and it goes from Dunkley through Rayner. Now it's with Connor McKenna to send half back. It goes through now the hands of Starcevic, who had the ball slapped half out of it. Turnover now, forward of the centre circles. Josh Dacos attacked by McCluggage. Another turnover, Brisbane ball. It's on the outer wing. Starcevic lowers the eyes. He's hit Joe Danaher. He's got a man moving in the 50. It's Rayner. Hits him, 45 out. Rayner lowers the eyes. Wilmot has drifted down the field, takes the mark, 30 metres out, slight angle to the left.
Bit of their own medicine back then, wasn't it?
That's what happens when you don't execute. They all run forward. Good turnover by the Lions. Got it out there, outnumber. They hit every target, mind you. Rayner unselfishly finds Wilmot.
Surprise inclusion during the final series last year. Darcy Wilmot came out of the blue.
He's got some wheels, Pricey.
He's only kicked one goal in the AFL. That was last year, not one this year. From 30 metres out, Darcy Wilmot. No problem. Kicks the goal. His first for the year. The Lions get their fourth. 5-4-34 to the Collingwood side. 4-2-26 to the Brisbane Lions. And we've played nearly 4 minutes of this second term on ABC Sport.
Like a pinball machine over there, wasn't it, mate? It was going. And the pressure from both sides is immense. And that's the beauty of what we're going to see tonight. It'll be like this all night.
Well, and it has to be. If you're playing Collingwood, you have to bring that to them because that's the only way to stop them or to keep yourselves in the game. But to the credit, I know we've talked about Collingwood tonight. Brisbane have been pretty good. You know, their enthusiasm, energy, their hardness. The guys that have been questioned the last couple of weeks have certainly had a crack at it tonight.
Is necessity the mother of invention here with Chris Fagan's tactics and the way that the Lions are going about it tonight? It's a different-looking Brisbane.
Yep. It's better. It's more aggressive. It's coming through the middle. And that one on Berry to take on Dacos, which is the Nick, I think, variety, nearly took him right out with the tackle.
Matt Primus and Jason Ackermanis with you. 8 points the lead to Collingwood. Centre bounce clearance to the Pies. Hand pass from Mitchell to Josh Dacos. Kicks it towards half forward. Myercheck gathers on the bounce. Hold on. Whistle.
Free kick. Interference.
Yeah, it's going to go to Jackson Pryor, who was interfered with prior the ball arriving. Couldn't see that one coming, Jace?
I didn't, no.
From half back, a long kick to the wing. And almost a mark to Moore, just fell through his hands, pinched by McInerney. Hand pass to half forward. Murphy had a fumble for Collingwood. Cameron's on the ground foraging for it for Brisbane. Tapped it to Zorko. Hand passed out the back to Berry. Hands it to Ashcroft from the wing. Snaps it to attacking 50, but it drops short. And Crisp gets to the drop to mark for Collingwood.
He's had a tough week, Jack Crisp.
Oh, well, that's...
Might be interesting. Anyway, we'll move on with that. The left foot goes outside attacking 50, goes towards the Stanley Street wing. Big fist by Harris Andrews, was cut off by Nick Dacos. He immediately looks corridor. Hits Tom Mitchell. Beautiful pass. Mitchell now, laterally. The other side of the corridor. Isaac Quainer, a 25-metre pass, and Crisp has moved forward to the centre circles. They do a lot of running, this mob. Crisp on the left foot. And it's a big fly, my goodness, from Myercheck. Almost brought the ball down to ground. Elliott's laid a big tackle there on Harris Andrews. Yet again, that's the second time on Harris. Yep. And it's going to be balled up 20 metres out directly in front of the Collingwood goal. And they are pressing the Pies.
Leading by 8 points, 6 minutes second term. Ruckman share it down. Andrews does the roving for Brisbane to poke it clear of immediate danger. Moore, though, flies for Collingwood. Can't mark. Tackled by Danaher on attacking 50. Ump says ball up. Got a text here from Marcus in South Melbourne on the Magnificent Macedonians. He says it's Easter. Try Nosh and Josh instead of Nikos and Jakos. From the bounce, McInerney puts his body over it. Got a push in the back. McStay was all over him. So McInerney with the free kick. He makes it a hand pass to Berry, who clears for Brisbane from D50 right half back. Long kick to the wing. Gunston outnumbered. Third man in, Murphy takes the mark for Collingwood. Kicks it to the wing. Marked by Mitchell in space. Plays on with a hand pass to Noble. Noble hand pass around the boundary line to Jakos. It's Josh Dacos kicking Collingwood into attack. And a fly from Myercheck. Got a finger, couldn't mark. Rode by Starcevic of Brisbane. Hand pass to Rayner. Hand pass to Wilmot, who finds a path to get out.
Just finds a path. Collingwood just pressing. The handball comes out to the Vulture Street wing. Rayner just let loose the ball under the tackle of Murphy, but he went back and got it, and that was well done. Matt Primus applauded it vocally. You could hear that. Now Ashcroft explodes back onto it. Handball back to Rayner. A purple patch. It's a mongrel kick. It's inside 50, but it's hit Hipwood. He lowers the eyes. He's got his forward partner in Big Joe in the pocket. He takes it, plays on, kicks the goal, and Eric and Joe have combined to kick the Lions fifth. 5-4-34 the Magpies to the Lions 5-2-32. We've played, nearly 8 minutes of this second term, but this is a cracker. This is what we wanted, boys, on ABC Sport.
Kitty Coleman couldn't pick it up, but the silky skills of Will Ashcroft just broke a couple of tackles. They had men out everywhere, Mattress. They had men, they could have kicked it to 10 blokes, and then they threw it on the boot. Found Eric, who then unselfishly went over to Joey.
And the handball chain from the back line again. It wasn't a kick, it was a handball chain. Play quick, that's what got him that one-on-one inside 50.
Zane Bojack on the boundary.
Yeah, Taylor Adams has just come on. He's been off for the entirety of this quarter. He had some running repairs done to his right wrist. He was like a caged animal when that goal was being kicked. He just wanted to get out there. Now he's heading down and trying to get to that forward 50.
Can I be a naysayer? Why does a key forward do anything but go back and shoot for goal when he's 25 metres out?
You got blokes on, yeah. I mean, I don't think Eric's real confident right now from the 45 on the left on this side, but, you did the right thing.
There's a collective lack of oxygen in the Gabba for a moment from the Lions fans thinking, what are they doing? Centre bounce at the back. It's picked up by Brisbane and a clearance. Long ball forward from Pryor is marked by Quainer at half back for Collingwood.
Why are the forwards in front?
Yeah.
Oh, it kills me.
Quainer will kick wide. Hoskin Elliott presents and gets under the drop to take a chest mark. True centre wing, Vulture Street side of the ground. Kicks infield to Crisp. Takes the grab. The ex-Lion will kick Collingwood to half forward to Goey. The target 1-on-1, but a good job from Neil to get in front of him to spoil it over the boundary line. Fair bit of Australian football talent in that 1-on-1. And Lachie Neale sees it over the boundary line for a throw-in at right half forward for Collingwood, left half back for Brisbane.
With a height advantage there too for De Goey. Should have used it. So the throw-in on the arc of 50. Right half forward. Well, it's a very short throw-in yet again. It's a malaise here in southeast Queensland. It comes off the hands. Mitchell now to Pendlebury. Straight up and down, but inside 50. Big fly from Bobby Hill. He goes back and has another crack and gets bumped off by his opposite 23 in Charlie Cameron. He doesn't seem like he's getting up too quickly. Oh, it's willing, in it.
The umpire will come in and separate the boys and ball it up 45 metres out from the Pies' goal. Throws it up McInerney now, off his hands. De Goey takes matters into his own hands, then loses it. It's towed off the deck. Now there's a big race on the outer wing. Murphy versus Cameron. Murphy in front, but the ball and the boundary line win in front of the Collingwood bench. Will get a throw in.
Cheers to Tim and Gail, who are listening from Wanaka in New Zealand. Go Pies. They approve of Nikos and Jakos. Thank you. 0437 774 774 is the number to get in touch. 0437 774 774. Boundary throw-in on the outer wing. McStay to the front of a shallow throw-in. Taps it to De Goey. Clearance Pies, albeit a tumbler to half forward. Starcevic has squashed that magpie, who I can't see because he's all over the top of him. And who is it? It was McInnes getting up. Absolutely barreled to deck. Ump says ball up. 60 out at left, half forward for Collingwood. McInerney fits it clear, but only to Josh Dacos. Tackled by Cameron, dropped it. Then Murphy gets his head taken off. Free kick, Collingwood. Offending tackler was Bailey. So Nathan Murphy, forward of the wing for Collingwood, will pump the Pies back into attack. It's a long right foot jump, punt to a pack in the pocket. My check, good hand to it. Couldn't mark row by Elliott. Hand pass infield, stolen by Dunkley of Brisbane, who hands it out of play. And the umpire says, throw it in. Score check, 11.5 second term. Collingwood by 2 points at 5-4 to 5-2. You're hearing it through the national broadcaster, ABC Sport. And cheers to you if you're listening to us on the ABC Listen app.
The throw in, 45 metres out from the Collingwood goal. Again, it's a shallow throw in. Ruckman have to run in off the hands of McInerney, towed forward by Kitty Coleman. And then the double fister from Crisp. Goes back on the arc of 50. Ashcroft now. Handball off to the runner Bailey on the boundary line. Delicate kick. It actually, Rayner didn't have to change stride, but then dropped the pill. Turnover. Collingwood. Quainer. Then towed off the deck by Danaher. He's inside 50. Towed off the deck by Maynard, who goes back into the corridor to retrieve. Josh Dacos. Handball over the top to Goey. Straight down the middle. To Goey lowers the ice. Harris Andrews. Well, it was a good contest by Myercheck. The ball got brought to ground. Taylor Adams is there fighting for it. It's with Lions now. Jackson Prize laying on top of it. Pies trying to claim a free kick.
Dodged the ball
there. It will be a ball up 25 metres out directly in front of the Pies goal.
Cam Rayner, come on.
Ball up in the pocket. Ricochets to Bobby Hill. Hand pass to Elliott. Snap from the pocket. Near side and a miss. Not much in that, though, from Jamie Elliott up behind. Collingwood by 3 at 5-5 to 5-2. Andrews with the quick inbound to centre half back, marked by McCarthy.
McCarthy with his 5th touch today. Yasaka.
They're out here.
Well, they are now because he just got a 50-metre penalty.
Get down there, boys.
So McCarthy will go from the back end of the centre square to the front end. He is 75 from goal as we speak. Goes laterally, finds Kadeem Coleman still inside the centre square. Plenty of movement. Gunston leads. But the Pies have, well, they've got back in absolute numbers. Now Coleman pops it up to the top of the goal square. Hipwood was the target. Roving McCluggage. Handball there to Berry. Berry kicks the goal. One of the more unlikely goal-scoring avenues for Brisbane. Puts them 3 points in front. 6-2-38. Plays 5-5-35. 3 points the margin, 13.5 gone second term. A little bit of a scrap after that, Acker.
Yeah, they're trying to give it Eric Hipwood for being a little bit soft in that contest. I don't think it was that soft. But the crumbs, and this is the whole game's been like this, Matty Promise, how good you need to be below your knees. Both teams, when they do it well, doesn't it bring other players in? Great goal from Berry.
Great goal from Berry and a great contest there. You know, I think that's what Hipwood and Danaher have been criticised all week, not making enough contests, at least not being outmarked, bring the ball to ground. He did well. We watched the replay. Beat two guys. They had the ball over the back, but Charlie, beautiful. And a great finish. Both forward lines look pretty quick, pretty dangerous when it gets in there nice and quick, don't they?
Yeah, sorry, Price. No, I was just going to say Jared Berry, very tiny milestone, Acker. His 50th AFL goal. 50 goals, 37.
Free kick.
Infringement in the middle. Now, is that for I'm not quite sure what that was for. Anyway, McInerney's got the free kick for Brisbane. Bangs it long to the top of the goal mouth. Off the pack road by Danaher. Kicked it into the pack. Ricochets to Bailey. Hand pass out the back for Zorko. Left foot snap. Won't have the carry. And cleaned up in the pocket by Crisp of Collingwood. Hand passes to Noble. Kicks across the face of goal to left half back. Looking for McCreery. He ran his man under the ball. And it's gone beyond the boundary line. And we'll see a boundary throw in at right half forward for Brisbane. Did anyone pick up what that free kick was for in the middle of the ground?
I haven't, Q. It was the first centre bounce they've won, Brizzy, this quarter, but no, I haven't picked up what it was, but they'll take it.
Bits and pieces going on around the place, and I think the umps are onto it.
The throw in, right half forward for Brisbane. McInerney gets it down. Mitchell for Collingwood interjects. Now it's gone inside the attacking 50. Noble can't quite pick it up. Johnson's back there trying to do his best as well. It's going to be a free kick. It's going to be a high contact. The Lions fraternity were asking for it. It's going to go to Zach Bailey. Wow. And he's 40 metres out, 45-degree angle to the right. Just looking at the replay, it was Maynard, the infringer.
Not real high, not real quick, but just enough to get the umpire sucked in, Zach Bailey. Now, this is the thing. He has not kicked a goal in a few weeks, Zach Bailey, and goodness, they're a better team when they do.
He is a good kick for goal traditionally, though, Acker.
He's a beautiful kick for goal. I'd be staggered if it doesn't go gun barrel straight with a little bit of a beautiful fade.
We're going to go left to right?
Yeah, a bit of left to right.
OK, Zach Bailey from 45 metres with the fade from left to right, according to Jason Ackermanis. And it faded left too far right, one behind to the right of the goalpost. So 6-3-39 plays 5-5-35. The Lions by 4 points, 16 gone second term.
I'm just trying to work out Acker's trajectory. Gun barrel straight with fade from left to right.
That's his golf shot.
Turned over from the kick in from Collingwood. Bailey's got it back and he's put that one down the throat of Hipwood.
Oh, got to take it now.
Yes, again. Kicked it infield to Eric. He takes the mark, same spot. Collingwood went long to half back with the inbound. And on the quick turnover and re-entry, Eric Hipwood has a chance to give Brisbane a 10-point lead.
This could go anywhere, I'm just saying. This might be right to left, left to right.
Or straight.
Or straight. You just don't know with Big Eric. Kick through it.
I reckon his set shots got a lot better of recent years, Eric Hipwood. This for Brisbane's biggest lead of the game. 40 metres out, left foot, slight angle to the right. Go! That is 4 unanswered goals for Brisbane in the second term. And the Lions find a riposte to the helter-skelter Pies at the Gabba. 7-3-45 leads 5-5-35. 17 minutes into the second term. That's 4 goals, 1 to 2 points to the locals in the second term, Matt Primus.
It's fantastic footy. They are giving a bit of Collingwood's own medicine to them. Their handballs are up this quarter. They're running in waves. They're sort of the contested possession is roughly the same, which is a great effort against the Pies who blow everyone away. And their forward pressure is outstanding. They are making Collingwood's backs panic and look a little bit second rate here. A terrific second quarter from Brizzy.
Zane Bojack on the boundary.
It's taken a while for the Lions to get in front, but now that they are, the supporters here alongside the bench are reminding Dan McStay which club he used to play for.
I didn't think it would take too long, Zano, for that to happen. Johnson gets up very high against Danaher, who's got 10 centimetres on him, but the Lions win the clearance through Dunkley. Puts it up and down to right half forward. Quainer reads it well, slapped it down in front of the path of Sidebottom. He can't quite pick it up. Zach Bailey gets involved, pushes it towards the boundary line and gets a bit of help from Nathan Murphy as we get a throw in. 70 from goal, 10 points the Lions lead it by.
I tell you, he's having a quiet game. Sidebottom, he has had 2 touches for the whole game.
Well, he's not getting a lot of opportunities. We see him now on the Stanley Street wing, but he's getting mited pretty closely over there as well. Frampton now off his hands, and Neil, it could have been a high shot. It was off Sidebottom. There you go. He got involved, Acker.
Yes.
Neil, handball there to the run of Connor McKenna, who duly dropped it, gave it back to Neil. Now to handball to Joey Danaher from 70, who pops it up to the top of the square. At the back of the pack, Rayner didn't quite take the mark. He had the ride. Hoskin Elliott is over the ball. The Lions are pleading for holding the agate. Umpire says no. He'll be balling it up 15 metres out.
Could you just get it in there? Get it in there, boys.
Tossed in the air. Frampton spikes it towards the boundary for Collingwood. Mitchell does the roving. Hand pass to Maynard. Runs out of room. Hand pass over the boundary. And a throw in with the Pies still deep in defence in the right back pocket. Brisbane at left forward pocket. School end. 4 goals, 1-2 behinds in this term after Collingwood led by 13 points at quarter time. It's now Brisbane by 10. 19 and a half into the second term. Hipwood lost his footing. Frampton spiked from the ruck contest to no advantage. Goes to the foot of the pack and neutralised. We'll see it tossed in the air once more.
It's hard to get out of you, the Pies.
From the ball up. Out the back, Wilmot hits the pack for Brisbane. Hand pass too hot for Ashcroft. Stolen by side bottom. His hand pass turned over. Straight to Pryor. 2 steps, bang! The left footer from the Wests puts the Lions 16 points in front. Welcome inclusion, Jackson Pryor. And the Lions have now kicked 5 unanswered goals in the second term. Brisbane 8-3, 51. Collingwood stuck on 5-5, 35, 20-minute second term.
I tell you what, that turnover, the pressure is so hot. Side bottom, who's wonderful, just coughed it up, and he's struggling to get the ball, but that's it. 2 steps, bang, left foot. That is, Matty promised you'd love to do that.
I would love to. I couldn't, but I would love to. But the pressure from Brizzy, and they gave it to side bottom. They're up for the fight tonight, Brizzy. It's great to see. They got at him, forced a turnover, beautiful finish, and then they let side bottom, about 4 or 5 Lions play, let him know about it then.
Do you think it would have been a part of the game plan to target Steele side bottom?
No.
Because he's at a career high 80% kicking efficiency this year.
No, I just think he's dangerous. Don't let him wide. Play on him. They're going really man on man. See, this is the issue. This is where the last free kick came from. They are outnumbered. There's not enough players. There's not 6-6.
The 6-6-6.
So the 6-6-6 rule, Collingwood haven't adhered to that, and we just see that Hoskin Elliott had to go down in, and another free kick because they've already had the warnings. That's why the free kick. Danaher gets it in the middle of the ground. It's a low burning kick towards the top of the square. Punch forward by the Pies, beautifully rowed by Maynard. And once again he lowers the eyes, but McCreary dropped it. Has enough time to regather, kick it down the corridor. Going back there, McKenna. Going back there again, Danaher to help out in his role of ruck. Handball to Coleman under pressure. Oh, he's given it to Dunkley, tackling, holding the ball. Pies free kick. It will be a turnover in the middle of the ground. No, that's a fair free kick. Watching the game, he tackled him and he just didn't dispose correctly. Noble's kick.
In the bullseye and launches long towards full forward for Collingwood. Oh, Johnson got up very high. Is he giving away a free kick? Yep.
Yeah, that was
too early. He got on the top of Danaher's shoulders. That's a decent feat in itself.
He did it yesterday.
Unrealistic.
So Danaher, who's making his presence felt up and around the ground today, Max.
He is, Huey. He's doing really with the ruck sort of suiting him at the moment, his ability to jump and want to compete.
He's at fullback, chips it to Starcevic, marks and chips it to halfback, marked by McKenna.
They're out
chips it towards the wing, marked by Pryor. Pryor kicks long towards half forward. Cameron protects the drop. Can't get a hand on it. Maynard first to meet it out the back for Collingwood. Tackled by McCarthy. Handball is a turnover. McCluggage gathers for Brisbane. Hand pass to McCarthy. Weaves around one. Hands it to Rayner. Tackled by De Goey. It's in the pocket for Brisbane. Goes to Deck. Along the turf. Oh, hold on. Bailey's kicked it out of the air. Across the face and out of bounds on the full in the opposite pocket. Was it Bailey or Rayner?
Rayner.
I think it was Rayner.
Rayner. Free kick Collingwood to be taken by Noble in the right back pocket. Lions leading by 16
Are
points.
they trying to out Harlem Globetrotters to Harlem Globetrotters?
They are. It's so frustrating to watch because so many men get out.
Noble now plays on long kick down the line. Harris Andrews just monstered that contest. Fisted it into the first row and we'll get a throw in 70 from the Lions goal. They're pressing here and can actually see a player warming up for the Pies. It's Oleg Markov.
Yeah.
Their sub is down on the bench actually doing a few warm-ups. So we'll get Zane to keep an eye on that. Throw in now, 70 from the Lions goal. Danaher in the ruck pushed Frampton out of the way. The ball spills in the path of Berry. Can't pick it up. Dunkley can't either. Neil could. Copped one for his trouble. Handball to Kadeem Coleman. Wobbly left footer will tumble out. 60 from the Lions goal at left half forward. Zane Bojak's on the boundary.
Yeah, I think he's just got a bit of nervous energy because everyone on the bench there, like McStay and Mitchell and Steele Sidebottom, I think they're all good to go. So I think he's just getting himself ready if need be.
We just wanted to get his head on the TV too.
5 goals to none to Brisbane in this term. Danaher taps down to Ashcroft. Hand pass out the back to Zorko. Hands it to Berry. Pressured from behind. It affects his kick. One bounce and out of play. Good work from Bobby Hill coming from behind there to affect the Berry entry, which was a wobbler and out of play. And now a boundary throw in 35 metres from the school end that the Lions are attacking with zest and efficiency in this term. 16 points the lead to the locals. Frampton to the front, got the tap down, stolen by Dunkley, couldn't get a boot to it, goes to Deck. Over the top, Elliott couldn't pick up. Now the foot soldiers pile in, picked up by McCarthy of Brisbane. High kick towards full forward, Hipwood crashes the pack with Frampton, 2 men go down, ball comes free. Rayner comes away with it, chips it to the pocket for Zorko. Zorko marks, going to a genuflecting knee, 40 metres out, and Billy Frampton now slowly picks himself up about 30 metres away, trying to get oxygen back in his lungs, having run into Eric Hipwood in that previous collision.
Yeah, well done, Eric Hipwood too. Had to go to make the contest, not to be outmarked. This goal is a result of his contest.
Well, this is a big moment kick for a big moment player. Zorko from 45 makes it 6 goals to nothing in the second term for Brisbane. They have seen their pace. They have seen their dare. They have seen their proficiency and upped them with a 6 goal to naught second term.
Outstanding, Q. And I saw before when Rayner kicked that ball off the ground, was just about to go out of bounds, they went to the coach's box and Fages just going crazy. He wants it when they get it deep, obviously a shot on goal. If not, have a stoppage down there, spend time down there so the Pies can't play quick. Their last 2 goals have come as a result of some forward pressure and some rebound 50 footy there. They are on top of their game here and they are making the Pies panic. Look at the last 2 interchanges. They're panicked. They haven't had 6 backmen. They have midfielders everywhere. There's a bit of panic going on the bench here and Brizzy are right on top.
I was just going to say, Zorko, he is the best kick in the club. Good goal.
Joe Danaher's had 9 touches this quarter, plus 4 inside 50s, 4 contested, and 1 goal. So pick on Joe Danaher week. Fags would love that every week the way it's going. Back into the middle. McStay versus McInerney. McInerney wins it out. But De Goey fights for the ball. He loses out, though, to Lockie Neal. He gathers, goes back into the circles, drills 1.5 forward. Now it's with Zach Bailey into his path. He gathers Charlie Cameron now inside 50. Hipwood on the lead. Cameron has put it into his path. 30 out, directly in front. Hipwood will have a crack at his second.
Oh, Lockie Neal with the pass, and not the best pass right at his feet, but what about the wheels for Charlie Cameron? Takes it, not only that, delivers it. I think Rayner was probably the target, the great pass.
Matt, now we're seeing why Fort was dropped. Get Danaher up the field and get out of Hipwood's way down forward.
He's had 14 touches now, Joey Danaher, but Eric Hipwood coming in for his second goal. He's had a tough week, Eric. He leans back. Oh, he's had a very tough week. That is not the kick of a man full of confidence. 9-4-58 the Lions, 5-5-35 the Pies. 23 points, though, the margin with 27 gone second term.
He missed the kick to the right as Maynard chips to the pocket marked by Quainer. And the Pies, dare I say it, slow it down for just a moment in the pocket. Now Quainer kicks long towards the outer wing. Fly from McInnes. Couldn't take the grab. Rode by side bottom. Hand pass to Hoskin Elliott. Hand pass to De Goey. Too hot for him. He dropped it. Picked up, though, by the Pies. Got it through McInnes on to Johnston. Rumbled hand pass to half forward. Along the deck. Not clean possession. And now it's under the feet of a pack. And the umpires circling. Calling play on. And eventually Neal got a hand pass to Zorko, dropped it. Got it again. Here's rush, clearing kick, almost hit McCluggage in the face.
That's 50 metres.
Marked it out of necessity, did McCluggage. No 50 acca.
Should have been.
McCluggage just forward of right half back for Brisbane. Plays on. Kicks a long ball towards attacking 50. Moore got Hipwood under the ball too easily there. Take the defensive mark for the Pies. Chip infield to Quaynor and the switch is on to Josh Dacos.
So Josh Dacos in the yellow boots. Whoa, kicks it to another yellow booted man in John Noble. How he hits Bobby Hill. He's got a few metres on Kitty Coleman, who's closing fast though. Has a bounce, and with that pressure, that perceived pressure, he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. And Kitty goes back as a sportsman and picks him up off the deck. The Lions will get a free kick in front of the small scoreboard, which sees them leading by 23 points. Zane Bojak's on the boundary.
Yeah, Billy Frampton had hobbled off, but they've given him some painkillers. He's doing some work along the boundary line. It looks like he's going to be okay to come back.
So Connor McKenna brings the ball back in, and it's now with Dunkley through Zorko, left half back to the wing. Oh, could have been a free kick against McStay to McInerney, but off hands to Pendlebury, doesn't miss a target. McCreary just forward of the centre circles. He goes one way, now he goes right. To the right forward pocket, it's a booming kick. Off hands, it's going to go to the boundary line and beat Jamie Elliott there in the right forward pocket for a throw-in with the Pies trailing by 23 points.
This Kitty Coleman got up a bit ginger after that chase, although he was caught in two minds, and Bobby Hill, he's quick, but Kitty Coleman has got some wheels as well.
Voice of Jason Ackermanis, Grandstand AFL through ABC Sport, getting close to half-time. Brisbane leading by 23 points. Throw in. Hill does the roving. Quick little toe poke on goal is across the face and a point.
Dodged a bullet then.
Oh, yeah.
Brizzy Backman.
5-6-36, trails 9-4-58. Brisbane by 22.
It's only the third behind for Collingwood this term, isn't it, Q? It's just not what we expected, but the Lions have burnt them off here. Harris Andrews receives the ball from the fullback kick in. He immediately flares it out right. They've slowed it right down. Darragh Joyce. Now that's a longer kick to the Stanley Street wing. They're looking for Hipwood. It comes off his hands, through the hands of Quainer. And he throws his hands to his face as the ball goes over the boundary line, and we'll get a throw in on the Stanley Street wing. 30 minutes gone of this second term. That's because the Lions have piled on, they piled on 6 goals to the Pies, only 3 behinds.
Throw in. McInerney got a hand. Doesn't find a clean rover though. Dunkley balls into the pack. No free kick. Pendlebury's over it to lock it up. Ump's watching and says free kick. Pendlebury was over the top of Zorko. Zorko gets up trying to find the ump, thinking it was his free kick. Nice one, Zorks.
What do you say?
Free kick goes to Pendlebury on the wing, and Zorko is blowing up.
It's going to go long here.
You could go to Vegas and not see a worse con job than that. Pendlebury with a long kick towards half forward. Andrews knuckle on the pack, out of play.
I say it every year. That is as deliberate as deliberate. How do they not start? They're going to change that rule. They keep the ball in play. Go for the mark if you're that good.
So you're talking about the defender coming across and punching it into the crowd.
Deliberate out of bounds. That is worse than those kicks that find the boundary.
The throw-in's coming across the 50-metre arc off the hands of McInerney. Kitty Coleman got dumped as he kicked that one away. Goes down the Stanley Street wing regardless. Now it's towed off the deck. Charlie Cameron. Quainer gets involved. He's turned it over to McCluggage. McCluggage has got a runner in the corridor. It's Bailey. Bailey, the stiff arm against side bottom, pushed him away. Handball back to Neil in the corridor. Wow. Coleman confronted. He barreled his would-be tackler over as well. Now it's with Connor McKenna. Chips it forward. Could be a free kick. No, play on. Goes over the back of the pack. Link McCarthy, indiscriminate handball off the deck from Connor McKenna. They're improvising everywhere. Ball hits the deck in the pocket. John Noble for the Pies. Dribbles it outside defensive 50, and Link McCarthy will take it over the boundary line, and we'll get a throw in out there. Zane Bojack will get you later as the ball is about to be thrown in. The quarter's very close to finishing.
Oh, men out everywhere, gents. So frustrating watching this game. It's so good.
Well, for the first time in 2023, Collingwood has been out-pinged in this term. Boundary throw in, McStay gets to the front, taps it down, no rover though. McInerney on hands and knees. His hand pass stolen by Pendlebury. Hands it at half back to McCreary. Hand pass over the top to the go. He taps it back to him on the wing, but he can't handle it. He's fumbled it over the boundary line, and the free-flowing Pies come unstuck there on the Stanley Street wing with seconds left in this first term where Collingwood has not kicked a goal. Just the 3 behinds to Brisbane, 6 goals to. And the Lions have seen what the Pies have got to offer with run and gun and have raised the stakes. Half-time sirens about to sound at the Gabba, and the locals rightly applaud what they've seen in the last half hour of footy. It's taken 3 games and a quarter for anyone to dare go close to Collingwood style or dash. But the Lions, they've not only seen them, but they've raised them in that term, kicking 6 goals to Collingwood's 3 behinds. What was a 13-point lead for Collingwood at quarter time is now a 22-point lead for Brisbane at Oranges. 9-4-58 leads 5-6-36. For Brisbane, spread of goal kickers, 8 of them. Rayner's got 2. The rest singles: Danaher, Berry, Zorko, Pryor, Cameron, Hipwood, Wilmot. And for Collingwood, no change to what we had at quarter time. 2 for Bobby Hill and singles to Adams, Nick Dacos and Johnson. Lions 9-4-58, Pies 5-6-36. Jason Ackermanis, Matt Primus. What did we see there?
We saw a frenetic game that really was the Collingwood's undoing in the sense that they just didn't execute. I think the Lions have more energy. They're coming off playing this time last week. They're just a little bit brighter. They're playing at home. That said, the pressure from the Lions is not only exquisite, it's been a joy to watch, but then you've got the execution side, you've got the run, you've got the holding of the tackles, you've got everything you need. And as I said at the start, the Pies will give you a chance to score if you can pressure them and turn it over.
Well, you're exactly right. That's what they've done. They're evened up the contested ball stuff, but the Pies are plus 20 in handballs. Now they're only plus 5. So Brizzy have just said, oh, here's a bit of your own game back your way. See how you go defending us. And that's off the half back line around through the middle of the ground. They just run and start. That's the fastest I've seen Brisbane play for 2 or 3 years. And as you mentioned, Q, maybe they've say, hey, we have to change a bit different because the competition is playing faster. But Brizzy hadn't so far the first 3 weeks of the year, and I reckon they've taken a bit. One, you have to against the Pies to ask some questions, but they needed to change up a little bit how they played.
And it seems like the unlocking of the Tors, or at least giving them space to not get in each other's way. Fort dropped, and what we saw in that term, it was Danaher helping McInerney upfield, and a bit of space for Hipwood, who nailed an opponent in that term, kicked one, or missed one he should have kicked, kicked one he should have kicked as well, but there's a definite... Everyone's been talking about the structure of the way the Magpies have gone about it, but there's been a definite change in thought process, even be it subtle, but obvious from what happened last week at Docklands against the Bulldogs.
No doubt, Q. Look, they are still doing centre bounce, get it in there, and their forwards go to work, but they are playing quicker, and it makes sense because their forward line is as dangerous as anybody's, isn't it, Acker? They're smalls and talls, but if you play slow like Brizzy have done, and this is what Geelong did 2 years ago, they used to play slow when they won the ball in their back line. Last year, they played faster and got it out of there and got it into their forwards, and look what they achieved. Not to say Brizzy can do that, but at the moment, this style of play is suiting their forward 6.
Yeah, what I like about Joey Danaher, if you did his personality profile, surely he loves to be around the action. Playing as a deep forward all the time would drive him insane. And as you can see, 9 touches, but look at the guy.
Speaking from experience, Acker?
Yeah, he absolutely. He was down a playing cue ball. I coached Joey when he was 16 in the ruck. He can do it. And as you saw, and as you said, with Fort and him, like so much more agile, Joey.
Yes, and
Joey gives you another option, but you know he actually gets more involved. He's actually better for the team when he's in that role, I think, and this is a good thing that they sort of had to do it.
And it helps him. Yeah, he's playing with a bit of vigour tonight. We don't always see that. He's playing with some vigour. He's knocking some guys out of the way, and that would be a little bit of the criticism. But he has to play that way when he goes in the middle of the ground, and it would suit him. Rather than just always a lead up and you miss a couple of goals and it plays on your brain as it did last week with him. He's now okay. I've had a couple of them, but now I can go in the middle and get a bump and get a knock and feel good about myself, and he's playing that way, and Eric is too.
Great thoughts from Matt Primus and Jason Ackermanis at half-time. Brisbane with 6 goals to naught in that second term. Lions 9-4-58 lead Collingwood 5-6-36. Keep your messages coming in. The text line number is 0437 774 774. Happy Easter, says Simon and Sean in the York Peninsula. Great game, enjoying the commentary. Roy and HG would be proud. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you like that. Maybe, but that's the Nikos and Jakos stuff. I'm hearing that on the social media chats, it's Nakos and Jakos. I'm not on those chats. I'm just going with my own stuff. I don't know whether anyone else would pick.
Well, I'll go with you, Q. I'm not on them either, so I'll roll with you, mate.
Okay.
It's a tough one, though. You've got 2 outstanding players who, when you're calling them and you're listening to on the radio, the last thing you want to hear is Dakos to Dakos to Dakos.
You've got to describe
it's got to be
which one, exactly.
And they're both very different, but also incredibly similar. So when
is that like your gun barrel straight from left to
pretty
right?
Much. So when you see them and you can't see their number, they look similar. But of course, bad hairdo.
Josh has got a beard.
He's got a beard now, but the other one's got a bad hairdo. At least you can tell them. But if they're over the other side of the ground, don't they move the same? They look very similar, surely.
Okay. Thanks, Jace.
All right.
Speaking of bad hairdos.
I'm glad we cleared
I gave up on hairdos genetically a while ago.
You're not even on social. I like what you've come up with.
I'll give a score before the ABC News in the National Rugby League. Action at Amy Park in Melbourne tonight. Storm taking on the Roosters. Half time there. In fact, second half just got underway. Storm 18 leading the Roosters 8. Thursday night footy to start Easter round on ABC Sport. Lions by 22 points at half time. More from the Gabba after the latest from the newsroom.
ABC News, I'm Sam Wilkinson. A leading member of the Indigenous Voice to Parliament working group has described the federal opposition's stance as a betrayal. Australians will vote later this year on whether an independent advisory body for First Nations people should be enshrined in the Constitution. Former MP Ken Wyatt has quit the Liberal Party after opposition leader Peter Dutton announced yesterday they would formally oppose the government's proposed model. Professor Marsha Langton has told the ABC 7:30 program there's a lot of anger over what has happened.
I can't speak for him, but I imagine that, like me, he feels betrayed by the deceit about the voice co-design process and the recommendations.
Former Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce says the government should get on with building the inland rail freight project to service regional Australia. A review has found the cost to build the line has blown out to $31 billion, 3 times the original estimate. It also warns the price may rise because it's unclear where the line will start or finish. But Mr Joyce says these issues revolve around the city parts of the project.
I think that what they should be doing is expediting the process that gets it through the vast majority of the distance, which goes through the countryside, not in the city. Your massive costs are at the bookends, at the Melbourne end and at the Brisbane end. To say that the link between North Star to Toowoomba has an extraordinary blowout is just bumpkin.
Former NRL star Jared Hayne has been granted bail ahead of his sentencing for sexually assaulting a woman in Newcastle. District Court Judge Graham Turnbull SC has allowed him to return home to await his sentencing hearing next month. Judge Turnbull accepted Hayne's argument that he would be a target in custody due to his high profile if he was held in a remand prison until his sentence is handed down. The judge told the court other prisoners would likely target him only because he's Jared Hayne, and that made his case exceptional. A man has pleaded guilty to murdering Celeste Mano in the bedroom of her family home in Melbourne's northeast. 37-year-old Louay Sacco has today faced the Victorian Supreme Court, pleading guilty to 1 charge of murder. 23-year-old Ms Mano was found dead in her Mernda home in November 2020. Sacco, her former colleague, was charged with murder in the days after her death and accused of stalking Ms Mano for a year before her murder. The oil and gas company Santos has confirmed there was an explosion on one of its pipelines in South Australia's north in January. Eric Torchek reports.
The explosion occurred on January the 25th in the Big Lake gas field about 700 kilometres northeast of Adelaide. The state government says Santos notified it immediately and will submit a detailed investigation report towards the end of the month. The pipeline is operating again at reduced pressure. Energy Minister Tom Koutsantonis says the government did not make the incident public because there was no risk to life or property.
We don't report every incident that occurs unless it has an impact.
Santos Chief Executive Kevin Gallagher implied the explosion could be due to the age of the pipeline.
British scientists believe they have found a new way to administer a drug to prevent postnatal bleeding, which can be fatal to women after childbirth. Tranexamic acid, which is used to control hemorrhages after giving birth, is usually given intravenously in hospital. But after conducting trials in Pakistan and Zambia, researchers say they found the drug worked well if it's injected into the body via a muscle. The head of London's police force says there could be hundreds of officers removed from the service after an internal review is conducted into wrongdoing. Last month, a major review branded the Met as institutionally sexist, racist and homophobic. Some police officers have been diverted from tackling serious crime to the force's professional standards team. London's Police Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley says the Met needs a shake-up.
I think over the next 2 or 3 years we're going to be removing hundreds of people from this organisation who shouldn't be here. We need to work through the investigations. People would expect fair process. We're bringing independent advisors in to make sure that we're not just marking our own homework, we've got other people looking over our shoulder and checking our judgments.
And Australian cartoonist, filmmaker and satirist Bruce Petty has been remembered as a kind and generous mentor following his death at the age of 93. For decades, Petty was a political cartoonist for The Age and The Australian and mentored countless Australian illustrators. Kathy Wilcox, who is a cartoonist for The Age and Sydney Morning Herald, says Petty inspired her and her art.
To hear him speak and to hear him work
He never saw himself as having any particular greater insight than anybody else. He was almost as surprised by what he could do as other people would. He just kind of saw it as mucking about with lines and ideas.
ABC News.
Victor Moa, Boomerang, Hills Hoist, One Day Cricket. Aussies are an inventive lot. It couldn't have been made anywhere else. Tony Armstrong is rolling open the shed door to explore Aussie creations.
They tell us who we are and the times we live in.
And in there lies the charm.
From Speedos to Stubbies to the humble meat pie.
Enjoy the show.
Great Australian stuff. Starts Tuesday, April 11 on ABC TV and streaming on ABC iView.
Hello, I'm Patrick Stack, and if you like great stories and you enjoy sport, then I reckon you need ABC Sport Daily in your life.
If you're that good, we'll look after you, and we want our players to retire rich.
He says he's, enjoying being patted on the back rather than being booted out of the country.
I think there are a lot of fans up in Brisbane that actually hate the Broncos.
Hysterical, really. And, as I said, they're crybabies.
Can you own colours, Stacky? It's a daily sports conversation, and it's called ABC Sport Daily. Find us on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Now Ashcroft explodes back onto it. Handball back to Rayner. A purple patch. It's a mongrel kick. It's inside 50, but it's hit Hipwood. He lowers the eyes. He's got his forward partner and beat Joe in the pocket. He takes it, plays on, kicks the goal, and Eric and Joe have combined to kick the Lions fifth. Now Coleman pops it up to the top of the goal square. Hipwood was the target, roving McCluggage. Handball there to Berry. Berry kicks the goal.
Turned over from the kick-in from Collingwood. Bailey's got it back. He's put that one down the throat of Hipwood.
This could go anywhere. I'm just saying this might be right to left, left to right.
Or straight.
Or straight. Just don't know with Big Eric.
40 metres out, left foot, slight angle to the right. Goal! That is 4 unanswered goals for Brisbane in the second term.
They're up for the fight tonight, Brizzy. It's great to see.
Out the back, Wilmot hits the pack for Brisbane. Hand pass too hot for Ashcroft. Stolen by side bottom. His hand pass turned over. Straight to Fryer. 2 steps bang. The left footer from the West puts the Lions 16 points in front. High kick towards full forward. Hipwood crashes the pack with Frampton. 2 men go down. Ball comes free. Rayner comes away with it. Chips it to the pocket for Zorko. This is a big moment kick for a big moment player. Zorko from 45 makes it 6 goals to nothing in the second term for Brisbane.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Pies by 13 points at quarter time, but at half time it's Brisbane by 22. The Lions 9-4, 58 lead the Pies 5-6, 36. Nice to have your company on this Easter Thursday at the Gabba. Quentin Hull and the team with you for ABC Sport. Of course, the rest of the round to come all the way through until Easter Monday with Geelong and Hawthorn, the traditional Easter Monday clash to wrap up 5 days of football. Tomorrow, no more general admission tickets available for the game at Docklands between North and Carlton. No major changes for, a couple for the Blues. Akers out suspended and Owies with a hammy. But for North Melbourne, good news that Luke Davies-Uniacke is back in the team along with Aidan Bonner and Jai Simpkin. Griffin Logue suspended, Greenwood, Goda and Howe omitted for North. So, of course, you'll be able to hear that with the team tomorrow afternoon. Reminding you, not Friday night footy, but Friday twilight footy, just after 4 o'clock Australian Eastern Time tomorrow for that game at Docklands. Through Saturday's fixtures, Adelaide and Freo at the Adelaide Oval. No big news there at selection for Adelaide. McHenry coming in, though, with Pedler suspended. Chapman with a calf, Frederick with an eye out for the Dockers. Walker and Banfield have been named for the Dockers as the ins there. Big news for the Tigers. They're a twilight game against the Doggies at the MCG. Dustin Martin has been named to return. Jacob Hopper and Tyler Sonsi also into that team, where Jack Riewoldt and Trent Cotchin have been rested for that game. Rioli and Ross omitted, but Martin, Hopper and Sonsi coming into the team. No big changes for the Dogs. Garcia out with a groin. And then St Kilda and the Gold Coast play at Docklands Saturday night. Webster out with a hand injury for the Saints. And a new player for Gold Coast, I think it's Bailey Humphrey. I need to double check his first name, but he was pick 6 in the draft last year. Humphrey coming into the team with Flanders out with a knee injury. Sydney plays Port Adelaide on Saturday night at the SCG, and the axe has been swung in the wake of the showdown collapse in the last quarter. Cleary, Burn-Jones, Bonner, all dropped. Fantasia out with a quad injury. Mackenzie, Mead, Williams and McIntyre coming into the Port Adelaide team. Not many changes at Sydney, so they're the team news pieces that have been dropped this evening through to Saturday's game. Let's get back to action here. The Auskick kids are being packed up. The players are back out. Brisbane lead by 22 points. Quick run of the stats from Michael Price.
Let's have a look at the overall stats. They've really closed up in that second quarter. Brisbane are now just +4 in the disposals, 180 to 176. With regards to the clearances, it's Brisbane 27 to 18, hit-outs 26 to 16, but the hit-outs to advantage are only 6 to 4. When it comes down to inside 50s, Collingwood 29 to 25. Collingwood's disposal efficiency 72% to Brisbane 69%. And let's have a look at contested marks as well. Collingwood 6 and Brisbane Lions 3. But it's the scoreboard. The Brisbane Lions are leading. It's 9-4-58 to Collingwood's 5-6-36. So it's a 22-point margin for Collingwood. Scott Pendlebury, 15 disposals at 93%. Maynard with 13. Mitchell with 12. Noble with 12. Notably, Josh Dacos only had 2 touches for that second quarter. He was kept very quiet. Wow. For Brisbane Lions, Connor McKenna, 13 disposals. Joe Danaher, 13 disposals with 2 hit-outs, 5 inside 50s and a goal. He had 9 of those in that second quarter. And Lachie Neale with 12 disposals and 6 clearances. The clearances where the Lions got dusted up last week against the Doggies, and it's where they've been pointing to, and they're leading it this week. Matty Primus and Jason Ackermanis. Have the Brisbane Lions responded, or have the Pies just met somebody who's throwing it back at them for the first time this year?
Well, it's hard to see because you don't have a stat here for the ability to tackle pressure, which turnovers, and the cleanness around the ball. I thought that quarter, not only was the pressure a bit better, but just the Pies were a bit off, and the Lions took advantage. I thought the Brisbane Lions tackle pressure and then the butter up, they were just able to be a bit better and a bit cleaner. It's a little bit greasy at times, Matty Primus out here, but that's just what my eye's telling me. I just think if you're Craig McRae, you're saying, we're going to do the same stuff, come back through the corridor, let's just be a bit cleaner around the ball.
I agree, okay. And when Q called it through that second quarter, will the Pies try and play a little bit differently or try and slow it down? I don't think that's in their DNA. They just keep coming at you. Now, they do have to tidy up a few things around on ball there, but I reckon they'll keep asking questions. That's what they do, and that's why last year they got themselves back in so many games and won so many close ones, because they just keep asking you questions. So really enthralling second half. Can Brizzy keep this intensity up, the ability to play on quick and keep answering the questions the Magpies throw at them? And can the Magpies slow down their ability to score, Brisbane to score every time they go inside 50?
Thanks for your messages. 0437 774 774. Michael from Tassie texts, keep up the call, doing night shift driving a forklift. It's great to hear Acker on the radio. Thank you.
I was in Tassie a couple of weeks ago, did some fishing there, St Helens, magic spot.
Hey, where have you been the last month?
I've been everywhere, man.
Dave and Elle are listening on the in the rain on the Murray River at Tokemore.
Oh, great.
Dave tipped the Pies, Elle tipped the Lions. Go Lions! So that must have been Elle texting there. 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774.
Let's see if the Lions can take advantage here, Q. You know, they got a big, good ruck.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. James Donnelly texts, sitting in Turin in Italy, listening with an early Aperol spritz.
James Donnelly is in that former...
I'm not sure. Anyway.
That could be former Brisbane Bronco, James Donnelly, from way back.
Third term about to begin. Lions by 22 points. What have the Pies got here?
Perfect bounce from the umpire back into the middle of the Gabba. I'll share that one between McInerney and McStay, but it landed in the hands of McStay. Kicks it inside 50. Myercheck towed it off the deck, but back straight into the middle of the ground. It's going to advantage the Lions. Handball from Lockneil.
Oh, yes.
McCarthy, and the beautiful kick to Zorko. He nails one into the pocket, and it's there for Hipwood. Everybody says, settle, Eric. You're 25 out. You're on a tight angle, but you're on the right side for a left footer. You've kicked a couple and you need the confidence.
He had blokes out everywhere too. Great clearance there, but nice kick from McCarthy. He found Zorko, who can hit anyone anywhere.
Well, he's only kicked one. He needs to kick a couple. He missed one that he might have kicked earlier, but he's on a very, very tight angle to the right.
I thought he'd snapped this one,
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why I'm saying he's going at it straight.
A straight left foot, drop punt, tight angle. Eric Hipwood. Oh, has snuck it through. That's his second. The perfect start to the second half for the Brisbane Lions. 10-4-64, plays 5-6-36 with, well, just over a minute of the third term on ABC Sport.
Well, that's what I've been talking about. You see that drop mark from Crisp that came back actually from Mychek, his own teammate. That would have been called a mark. He drops that. And, of course, the Lions are on. They are on. But not only that, Matty Promise, he could have gone anywhere, Zorko. He had blokes out 20 metres by themselves.
It was that kick inside 50 that broke it up for him. But once again, the bounce off half back there, that was just outstanding handball link-up by the Lions.
That's 7 goals in a row for Brisbane.
Yeah, that's
troubling.
Huge.
Magpies haven't kicked a goal since Nick Dacos 30 minutes into the first term. So they're almost doing a Collingwood to Collingwood here, Brisbane. Back in the centre, it's McInerney, clean tap. No one even went to him there. McStay didn't jump. Ground level, Dunkley picks up for Brisbane. Hand pass to Berry, another clearance for Brisbane. Rush kick to half forward through the fingers of Gunston. Charging out Hipwood, had it, lost it, couldn't pick it up. Zorko taps it to the advantage of McCarthy, dropped it under the tackle of Sidebottom. Play on to the advantage as the free kick was given. Hand pass from Nick Dacos to Maynard, hands it to De Goey, kicks it down the throat of Elliott, who takes the mark in the corridor, 40 out.
Training drill that looked like, didn't it? It was so crisp off half-back.
As soon as there was a fumble at half-back, Acker.
Yep, too slick. Dacos over to probably the other Dacos to the other Dacos, and then just straight through the middle to go. He's not going to miss a pass like that. Elliott, fleet of foot, he'll kick this.
And needs to. As mentioned, it's been more than a term since Collingwood's kicked a goal. Damage is only 28 points at the moment, but the Pies need something. Elliott straight in front, 45 out. It's a behind. I think it hit the post, did it?
It did.
Yep, just shaved the left post. 10-4-64, plays 5-7-37.
Lions bring the ball back in quickly. Kadeen Coleman to the right back pocket. Harris Andrews, the co-captain. From the Hornets, the Aspley Football Club here in Brisbane. A long kick down the line, just short of the wing. Hipwood was the target. Fisted away from Himro, front and centre by Bailey. Gets a kick long down the line, just beyond the wing. Charlie Cameron's outpointed by Maynard. A little disappointed, Charlie, as Maynard slows things down, realises his team needs to change things up here. Rush to kick it now by the umpire. Tries to bite off a kick towards the corridor. Johnson off his hands. Pendlebury has time, always does. Handball off to Josh Dacos from 50. Sizzles one to the line. And Kadeen Coleman, just a little bit of pressure to put Bobby Hill off to rush it through for a point, then plays on quickly to Zach Bailey.
Marks in the right back pocket, kicks Brisbane to right half back. Dunkley waits for and eventually takes the mark despite the late arriving pressure of Maynard. Josh Dunkley in his second Gabba appearance as a Lion, coming up for possession 13.
Kicks better than his old man, let me tell you.
Don't funk with the dunk, Acker. Kicks it down the line. Mark taken by Johnston. Turnover. You gave him your wrap and it's stolen by the opposition. Pendlebury underneath it on the wing. Holds up his hand pass. Gives it to Nick Dacos. Tries to hand it to Jacos, but that time it didn't work between the two bros. Out of play. Boundary throw in between wing and left half forward for the Magpies.
Good pressure by Brizzy. Good pressure. Forced a fumble. Bad handball.
Aren't you supposed to lose the magic as you get older? Scott Pendlebury, 18 disposals, 94% disposal efficiency. A short throw in. McInerney has to deal with that. Got the hands down there to McKenna. Then it got it back to McCluggage. Standing start back to Dunkley, who tumbles it over the wing. McCarthy, deft handball to Bailey. Running into an open goal. Charlie Cameron accepts and bangs it into the third tier. Oh, slingshot footy from the Lions. They're doing the Pies job on the Pies. 11-4-70, plays 5-8-38. 5 gone third term, and John Denver rings out across the Gabba as Charlie Cameron gets another in.
That is such a transition. But I think if you're Craig McRae, you'd be so disappointed just how much rope the defence of Collingwood is giving them. They're getting the ball. They're doing a lot of things right, but they're just missing those handballs like that last one, Matty. You just rolled out the Dacos brothers. And this is what is not working for them tonight. They're not going to change, and they're going to kick lots of goals, and they're probably going to kick a lot of goals now, but it's not working at the moment.
Well, it isn't, and it's the handball from the stoppage. Just clean handballs which release the speed, and just then Penderry spent about 30 seconds yelling and directing to the backs then. So I wonder what the direction is, because it's coming out far too easy from stoppages, and as you mentioned before, Akka, Collingwood's backs are all over the shop with Brizzy speed up there.
Zane Bojack on the boundary.
Yeah, Craig McRae's continuing to be calm and collected, talking to all the players on the bench, but the Collingwood supporters near me, they're almost apocalyptic.
Sorry? Apocalyptic.
Apoplectic.
Apoplectic? Is
One of
that the
those?
word? I don't know.
Free kick to McInerney in the centre circle. He got manhandled by McStay. Long kick to football out the back. Another goal to Brisbane. Hipwood gives it to Rayner. Rayner does as Cameron did. Boots it into the top tier. This is turning out to be a carve-up. It's a 38-point lead for Brisbane. They've kicked the last 9 goals in the game. Lions 12 goals for 76. Magpies 5-8-38. Rayner has 3.
Rayner actually went into that contest. You won't see. Then he just ducked out. I mean, you know it's going your way. And I think it was it the big fella, the ruckman? I think he ended up with the ball, McInerney, and then he just gave the easiest handballs. Don't you love those ones? Running in, Matty Primus, easy goal.
No, I didn't have many of them in my career, Akka, but of course you did, mate.
I reckon the only thing that could help Collingwood get back into this is if the lights went out.
Don't touch wood.
Another fire with a possum.
Oh, lucky they're wearing the away jumpers all white with the black stripes. You see, that makes it a big difference.
Didn't any love that.
Back into the middle. Oh, the crowd's fizzing here at the Gabba. They didn't expect this, that's for sure. Ashcroft with the clearance, got the handball backwards. Now it goes to McLuggage under pressure, gets it to the wing. Wilmot fights his way to the front, but then loses out to Nick Dacos. Handball to Pendlebury under pressure, back in the corridor. He threw it, says the umpire. Good tackle, Lockie Neal. The crowd getting right into it here. Neal chips it to right half forward. Charlie Cameron, he's got plenty of options, decides to go long. Rayner, oh, the big fist. He had the big fly, did the former number 1 draft pick. Got punched through for 1 behind. It is now 77-38. The lead is 39 points, if you don't mind, here at the Gabba. 8 gone third term. The Pies shell-shocked.
You have to be the former. Isn't he always number 1?
Oh, he's always, but that year.
Yeah, that year.
Nick Dacos with a kick in down the corridor marked by Moore. Inside defensive 50, just side of centre half back. Moore kicks over the man on the mark down the corridor to Pendlebury, just forward of centre half back. He kicks it to the bullseye, marked by Nick Dacos, hand pass to Maynard. They've gone straight down the middle of the ground. Maynard's kick to full forward, though, is turned over. Hold on.
Free kick.
Hold on. Free kick coming all the way back to the centre of the ground against Nick Dacos, who got rid of Cameron without the football. So a free kick to Brisbane's Charlie Cameron, defensive side of the centre circles. Chips it over the man on the mark to the circles where Neal marks and play on your right, Acker. No pressure as he kicks inside 50 as easy as you like. And Berry takes the mark. Tough angle in the left forward pocket, 40 out.
Oh, man, he was $7 to kick a goal today, and now he's going to kick his second, I reckon.
But your point about where's the defensive pressure
they're in disarray. There's not a glove on Brizzy at all, has there, since the start of this third quarter?
They're just down on energy, I think. The short week is starting to hurt them.
Jared Berry has already kicked the 1 goal tonight to register a 100. 50 in his career. This one, 10 in from the paint, about 40 out. 4-step approach, right foot drop, punt across the face, won't have the journey, but a mark to Cam Rayner.
Take that. Left foot snap here, cue ball, I reckon.
He is doing everything tonight.
He looks so good up forward. I mean, so powerful. But anyway, I think you said it to me, Pricey, in the break.
This for number 4. Oh, he's mishit it across the face. Didn't screw it enough. It's a point. 12-6, 78 to 5-8, 38. Brisbane by 40 points, 10 minutes third term. Zane Bojack on the boundary.
Yeah, Oleg Markov's coming out on the field, so he's been activated. I'm still trying to work out who might be out. Possibly Bobby Hill. I'm just waiting to see who's been taken out.
Okay, no official notification yet. Thanks, Zano, as the ball's on the Stanley Street wing. Back into the corridor by hand. Will Ashcroft kicks it inside 50. Looking for McCarthy. Good spoil there by Maynard. Goes through his hands. Hipwood picked it up. He was tackled. Ball spills over the boundary line. And Eric Hipwood and Braden Maynard just getting a little closer to each other on the boundary, let's say, as the umpire's going to hustle over there and throw it in. Left forward pocket, the Brisbane Lions pressing. They're leading this one by 40 points.
McInnes, is it, that's going off?
Reef McInnes possibly. We'll check on that one. Off hands of the ruckman. It's with a chance for Will Ashcroft. He's tackled into the ground. He lets loose the ball. Now a couple of Pies get in there. Josh Dacos dribbles it out to the 50. Starcevic overruns it for Brisbane. DeGoey picks it up. Handball Mitchell into the corridor now. The Pies. It's towed forward. It's going to be a big contest. Crisp versus Pryor. Crisp wins out. Taps it into the path of Myercheck. Inside 50. Nick Dacos gathers. Plays on. And inexplicably the skills of one of the best footballers I've seen coming through the system ever hits the post from 10 metres out. Lions fans love it. 12-6, 78, plays 5-9, 39, back to 39 points.
So still no goal to break this run that the Lions are on.
Oh, Danaher.
He was $0.00001 to kick that goal. Lions, though, kick to the wing, turned over. Maynard has taken the mark. Just have to take a moment to process Nick Dacos missing that goal.
Did we just see that?
Maynard with a high left foot kick puts Collingwood back towards centre half forward. Payne gets to the front of the pack and marks uncontested for Brisbane. Plays on with a kick to the broadcast wing. Gunston presents. Marks on his chest near the logo. Sees Charlie Cameron at half forward. Decides to go infield on the 45. Chip to McCluggage. McCluggage then kicks to the pocket. And Bailey caught behind. Has to play spoiler and illegal at that. Chopping the hands of Murphy. Free kick to Collingwood and the left back pocket. Zane?
Yeah, it is Reef McInnes. Has to be a HIA. There's no noticeable injury, so he's got one of the Collingwood staff sitting beside him. Must be HIA.
So it's confirmed. Reef McInnes, who was the 20-year-old.
Now he's out.
The long kick cut off by Harris Andrews in front of Ash Johnson, who was the out target for Collingwood. Now Harris Andrews, who's 75 from his own goal. He's a long kick and he'll just lope a little drop punt to the top of the square. Hit with the big flyer. Off hands, Frampton. Got it to hands. Out to Noble for Collingwood. He just kicks it as close to the boundary at right half-back as he can. Pryor gets there for the Lions off hands. We'll get a throw in. That was a big fly. And a little bit of a Tate going on inside forward 50 for the Lions. The umpire's brought it back. It's going to be a free kick.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at this contest. It's off the ball. Murphy lands, and then it looks like Charlie Cameron's taken.
No, I think it's after that. It's not actually caught on the cameras. I think it was a altercation.
Well, Rayner's going to get the free
Well, this
kick.
is it. Cam Rayner's going to line up for his second attempt at fourth goal.
Well, unless he called him for a throw. And Cam Rayner made that tackle, then I think it must have been
extremely late call if that was the case. But regardless, Cam Rayner's got the ball 20 metres out, slide angle to the right. It should be a soda for his fourth goal. The Lions leading by 39 points. Rayner now kicks goal number 4. He's welcomed back into the forward line for Brisbane. And a game-high 45-point margin, 13-6-84, place 5-9-39. 14 gone, third term ABC Sport. Michael Price, Quentin Hull, your experts, Jason Ackermanis and Matthew Primus.
We haven't had too much chocolate. That's 10 goals unanswered for Brisbane against Collingwood.
That is
unbelievable.
And Collingwood led at quarter time by 13 points. Have not kicked a goal since.
And they missed one from 15 metres out straight in front. And he checked his kick. He was literally regripping it, which meant that was a soda.
And they're not doing anything different, which isn't a knock on Collingwood either, but not trying to play a seventh behind the ball to create some run or put a half foot up around the stoppage. They're just continuing to play 6-6-6, and that's biting on the backside.
Some surge there. Danaher is now in the ruck against Johnson. Johnson wins it for Collingwood. Hand pass to Adams. Kick inside 50. Andrews thumps it away from the leading Myercheck. Ball on the deck at right half forward for Collingwood. Elliott trying. He's outnumbered. Taps it along the boundary. He's got some help. Goes back to get it, Elliott. Hand passes backwards to side bottom. 55 out. One step left footer to the top of the goal mouth. Hill has it punched away. Myercheck will end the rot though. He's roving out the back, snaps it on his left, and finally Collingwood has a goal.
Wow.
Brodie Myercheck roving. Kicks his first of the night, and Collingwood breaks a run of 10 against to finally register its 6th goal. More than a term and a half after it kicked its 5th.
Well, he's been so good actually in the contest too, Myercheck, and he gets the easiest gift off the back. Good contest from Bobby Hill, who was the shortest in that contest, but it's about time. I mean, reward for effort. They'll keep going like this. They could kick 6 or 7 in a row, Matty Proms.
Well, they could, but it's going to take a fair drop-off from Brizzy, isn't it? And their efficiency, they'd be going at about 60% inside 50 to score at the moment.
They are going at exactly 60%, Matty, and Collingwood at 37, so you are a genius.
He's a stats man, I tell you. But that said, they've made the sub, they made the change, and their defence is too leaky at the moment, Collingwood.
Yep. So back into the middle. The Lions being very efficient inside 50. Wonder if any experts are watching this one. Joe Danaher with the clearance. Scuttles a handball forward. Link McCarthy lifted his rating. Can't quite get in there and pick it up, but it's a good contest at ground level. Pies escape with the ball. Pendlebury to Noble. Tackled high. Perhaps umpire says yes. Crowd don't agree, but it looked like it slipped a little high there from Joe Danaher. He's coming up from a long way at 6'5". So
he's bigger than that. He's 203 centimetres. That's 6'8".
Well, Noble plays on from half back. That's a beautifully long drop punt, just short of centre wing out of side, and hits Isaac Quainer.
Takes his time with no flow at right half back. Kicks it down the line to half forward through the hands of Johnson. Out the back, Nick Dacos tackled. Hands it to Pendlebury. Rides a tackle. Hands it back to Nikos. On the run from 40. Across the face and a miss. Across the face and a miss. They know he's missed twice, running into an open goal. The bloke that kicks it better than Jeremy Cameron. Brisbane 13-6-84 to Collingwood 6-10-46.
He's looking dangerous though.
Absolutely. He's getting the ball. That is his 21st disposal at 71%. As Brandon Starcevich has the ball for Brisbane, plays on and kicks long down the outer wing. Danaher the target, but Ash Johnson floats up in front of him. This kid's got great hands.
He's been their best player tonight, fair dinkum. He's been unbelievable.
Ash Johnson now forward of centre wing. He's just going to pop it up looking for Myercheck. The big fly, it went through his hands. It's going to be a free kick. It's going to go to Harris Andrews, methinks. The pack crumbled in front of him, and the Lions' key defender was the person who was dealt with ineffectually. So, Harris Andrews, to the hoots of the Collingwood crowd, goes back and assesses his options and goes laterally into the left back pocket.
Berry the target, who takes the mark. And a slight stilting of the pace for a moment as Berry kicks long towards the wing, and Johnson got in front of the pack. Takes a good mark for Collingwood.
There he is again.
Got to keep being brave, Brizzy, though. That long kick's not going to work for him. Keep looking for those short kicks.
Well, dare we say it, there's only 38 points, Matt.
Yeah, and we know the Pies can probably chew into that if they can get the game on their terms pretty quickly.
Johnson short to Murphy. Murphy between wing and right half forward. He takes the mark, goes back, loads up a long bong to the pocket, but Durra Joyce is there at the drop to mark for Brisbane. Chips it to Danaher, marks it left half back. Will Brisbane keep going? He's called to play on, hands it to Zorko. Chip pass, finds the target of Ashcroft. Son of a gun takes it, defensive side of the wing. And he'll slow it up with a chip back to Danaher.
I saw him before the game too. Give me a wave.
Who Will did.
Yeah, he's coming in his car.
Danaher, long kick from the wing inside 50. Off hands at the pack, roved by Crisp of Collingwood. Hand passes to Moore. Hand passes to Josh Dacos. His kick to half forward on the head of Adams, spoiled by Coleman of Brisbane. Roved by Starcevich, tackled, got rid of it. Noble picks up from the deck. And there's a free kick. High contact. Adams to take it at left half back for Collingwood.
He chips to the commentary wing. Josh Dacos, 45-degree kick into Pendlebury, disposal number 22 to the champion. He takes a chest mark, holds things up for the Pies. And it's a little chip kick, dangerous though. It was looking for Crisp, cut off there by Starcevich. Turnover, Lions will have the ball. Handball comes out now to Will Ashcroft. blonde locks flowing in the breeze as he goes down the line, chips it towards McCarthy, smashed the ball out of the hands of McCarthy. Was Darcy Moore over the boundary. Get a throw in right in front of us here. It's the Lions leading the Pies by 38 points. 20 minutes gone in the third term. The crowd absolutely buzzing here on an Easter Thursday night sellout at the Gabba. Short throw in. Danaher double hands it to McCluggage. Handball to Ashcroft. Under pressure. Turnover now. Nick Dacos. They're open. Onto the logo. Bobby Hill accepts the ball. Plays on. Handball to the run of Dacos. Kept going. Now he puts it in there too.
Markov.
It was Markov onto the field in a long 50. Just left of the goal post. One behind. So Oleg Markov in his third club, that's his first score for his new one. 84 plays 47.
They lost concentration then. The Brisbane backs all just come up the ground and let Collingwood have a spare forward and nearly cost them a goal then.
Oh, out.
Andrews strolls beyond the goal mouth, kicks it to left half back. Side bottom spikes it away from Gunston, out of play. Boundary throw in. Still 60 from the Magpies goal at right half forward.
You're going to need a little bit more from their vaulted midfield here in the Magpies. They're good going forward, but they're not as good going back.
One thing that you did in... just hold on, Acker. I'll just get back to that method in a moment. Throw in, clean possession, Danaher. Kicks it to the wing, marked by Gunston. Previous run downfield, Collingwood did the run and gun stuff, but they had Johnson who lost his man with a pass 30 metres from goal. So they didn't go the conventional entry, almost to the detriment of the score.
Yeah, it was just a bad decision.
Yeah. Here's McCluggage on the wing for Brisbane, kicking the Lions into attack. Moore leaves his man to be third man in and punch it away from Hipwood out of play.
There it is again.
You don't like that, Acker?
That is so deliberate.
You're allowed to spoil, though.
Yeah, but not just so deliberate. Straight out of bounds, third row. You did that, any other time. That's free kick.
You got a fair point.
The AFL got to fix that rule. We want the ball in play more. We'll get rid of that rule.
Throw in, across the arc of 50. Danaher in front of McStay. Left hand, gets it down to the path of Cameron, who has a fresh air swing. Ashcroft tackled, lets loose the ball. Towed out of there by the Pies. McStay dealt with there by Harris Andrews, who goes back, gets the ball. He's tackled into the ground there. Nice one from Hoskin Elliott. Takes him into the Gabba turf, and the umpire's going to ball it up on the Stanley Street wing. Just a little bit of a lull in the crowd here. They're just stunned at the fact that Lions still leading this by 37 points. Umpire throws it up. Off the ruckman's hands, Kadeen Coleman tracks it towards the boundary line. Can't quite pick it up. Jackson Pryor does, but over the boundary line. Another throw in ensues.
If you've got a text for us on 0437 774 774, please send your name, particularly when it's really witty, like... I've got one here that says, Ashcroft, son is the gun, not son of the gun.
Correct.
Good one.
And there's a guy from Scotland.
Yeah.
Listening.
Ready to drink some whiskey, Acker.
Oh, nice.
DeGoey trying to keep it in near the boundary line, can't. So you want to get to that text. Where is it? Listening in the car, driving the Highlands of Scotland, driving the Mrs. Nuts with footy on the radio. Can't wait to stop driving and have a whiskey. Ryan in sunny and not raining for a change, Scotland.
Oh,
that's
my
genius.
Yeah.
Well done, Ryan. Short throw in, though. Again, McInerney has to double fist it after running in. Danaher, well, he won the battle in chasing the ball towards the boundary, but it went over the boundary, so we'll get a throw in again. So a little lull again.
Probably don't drink whiskey and then drive again. I think
that's a fair point, though.
He's probably going to stay still.
It's great to get all the responses from people around the world listening to the ABC coverage of this great game. Nick Dacos now from the clearance. Handball to Tom Mitchell. Went one way, the other. Handball back to Will Hoskin-Elliott. Off a step, kicks it long down the line. Off hands. McKenna at the back. Tackled there by Jamie Elliott. Could have been holding the ball. In fact, he was. Umpire says incorrect disposal. Will be a free kick to the Pies. Just
throw in.
Oh, it should be a free kick to the Pies.
It looked like it was.
He was waving like a traffic cop.
He was.
And it's going to be a ball up right on the arc of 50 or throw in now.
Pretty stiff there.
Getting late on in this third term.
Yep.
Brisbane by 37 points. Foot of the pack. Picked up by Nick Dacos. Hand pass out the back to Josh. The Dacos is combined. Kick to full forward. Starcevic flies the pack to spoil. Mychek roves. Misses with his first snap. Picks up his crumb. Kicks the goal with his second snap to kick the second goal of the term for he and for Collingwood.
He's got two at the back.
And it's only 31 the diff. Two in a row to the Pies. Mychek with a couple. Brisbane 13-6-84, Collingwood 7-11-53.
And a fresh airy. I was just going to say before they kick that, they need a goal here. They just need to keep that pressure on. They're going to score 3 or 4 quick ones at some stage. They've only got, under 4 minutes to go, or just over 4 minutes to go.
Well, the one thing we have seen, Jason and Matt, Brisbane in its bad nights do concede big clumps of scores against.
Yep.
Yeah, well.
There will be nervous Lions fans here.
They've been better tonight, though, and I actually think it's the Collingwood defence that's looking second rate tonight compared to the Lions defence.
But 2 in a row to the Pies. 31 the diff.
So they've dragged it back a little. Still 5 goals, though. McInerney in the middle against McStay, gets the tap down towards Dunkley. He can't quite take a hold of the ball. It spills to the Pies. Towed forward by Maynard, who's in the middle. Dunkley again cuts it off. Handball to Ashcroft, who gets it through now. Out to the wing. Berry tumbles it towards the 50. Isaac Quainer cuts it off for Collingwood. He's going to slingshot this. Straight to centre half back. Pendlebury, the quarterback, takes it towards the outer wing. Oh, wow. Josh Dacos didn't have to change stride as he accepted that. Kicked it to half forward. And it's taken there by McStay. Duly booed by the crowd. Kicks it inside 50. Turns it over and they love that. Darren Joyce dropped an absolute pud. They'll get out of here, Brisbane. It's going to end up in the hands of Berry. Well done, Starcevic. And he'll kick it. Semi-smothered, though. It ball's coming back to Starcevic. He's tackled. That's holding the ball. It certainly is. Crowd won't like it. It rebounded into his arms. He's tackled. And it was great work by Bobby Hill. They played on and they've missed it. Who had the shot? It was DeGoey.
Not 15, I think, the ump called.
Well,
boy.
It was chipped across from Bobby Hill to DeGoey. They've called it play on. He's had to have a ping from 45. They buggered that up the Pies. It's 30 points the margin in favour of the Lions.
Both teams did that. Butchered that. They should have been out and they weren't.
Kick in goes to Pryor, who marks left half back inside D50. Kicks it around the flank, marked by Dunkley.
Need to get it down there in Brisbane and spend a couple of minutes down there if they can and take a bit of sting out of this.
Matt Primus on grandstand AFL as Dunkley kicks beyond the wing. Moore gets to the drop, but there's a whistle.
Free kick.
McInerney was being held onto for Brisbane. Plays on with a hand pass to Ashcroft. Chip around the boundary, looking for McCluggage. Balled away by Noble and also Markov for a boundary throw-in. At left half forward for Brisbane. On attacking 50 at the big screen end. Well, there's 2 big screens. The western end, the original big screen end. The right of your dial here. 5 goals the lead to Brisbane late on in this third term. Plenty of time left in the game for Collingwood, but the momentum's been against them. They've stunned it a little. Boundary throw in. Nick Dacos with the clearance. His hand pass, though, stolen by McInerney of Brisbane. Hand pass to Bailey. Off a step, kicks to the pocket. Danaher's chest got there. He couldn't complete the mark. Ground level. Quaynor with a hand pass to Josh Dacos. Hands to Maynard. Hands to Mitchell. Mitchell's hand pass stolen by McKenna. He'll hand pass to Cameron. Cameron grubbers it through. And he gives it to Quaynor as well. Charlie has 3. Brisbane finds a response to lead by 6. Close to three-quarter time. It's 14-6-90 to 7-12-54.
Well, that was... Oh, nearly out the Pies.
Yep.
And just the errant handball. Pressure again. And all of a sudden, bang. Although Charlie looks like he's hobbling a bit there, but he did get a nice gift of a handball. Probably thought he had more time, Charlie.
There was. They looked like they had 2 or 3 extra there to keep doing the handball, but Brizzy's intent and pressure at them, even if it didn't cause the turn, the ability for Collingwood to think, oh, somebody's going to get me, I better get rid of this ball. Just that little pressure there, that's what made him cough it up, and Brizzy have made him pay again. They're so efficient inside 50.
How many has he kicked tonight?
That's
number 4.
3 for Cameron. 3.
4 for Rayner. Back into the middle of the Gabba here. McStay wins that tap out. It goes straight to Pendlebury, to Nick Dacos. Straight down the middle. Harris Andrews, outstretched arm, couldn't peel it in. Myercheck roves. Myercheck goals. That's his 3rd.
Oh, wow.
Pies respond. 30 points the margin, but it feels so much closer here at the Gabba. 29.5 gone, 3rd term. Brisbane still leading this one by 30 points.
I tell you, Pricey, that was a really good goal. Again from Myercheck. Not only did Harris Andrews drop the sitter, he gets it with the one hand and under extreme pressure, still got the kick away.
It's football's version of watching one of those Oceans movies where you're looking on at the high roller because you know every hand is risky and they're all playing for big. It's going to swing one way or the other.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
they're just going for it, these two.
20 scoring shots apiece.
So Myercheck has the last 3 goals for Collingwood.
Brizzy putting their winger deep on the back here to maybe go back as a 7th here. So they're going a little bit defensive here where the Pies will keep attacking.
Gunston.
So 3 of the last 4 to Collingwood. So the momentum is shifting a little here. 5 goals the diff. Centre bounce, kicked off the ground by Collingwood's McStay towards half forward. Ricochets end up with side bottom. Hand pass out to the back of the wing for Noble. High kick to half forward for Collingwood. To go, he's got a couple to beat. Forces a neutral by seeing it over the line for a throw-in.
Jeez, McQuarrie's got some wheels. He's way quicker than you think.
Yeah, Bo McQuarrie.
Good old Bo. He's got a terrible hairstyle, but boy, he's...
You love a good man bun, don't you?
What is that?
The ball is 70 metres from the Collingwood goal. At right half forward. Umpire will throw it in. McInerney gets rid of his opponent there and takes the ball, puts it onto his big slipper, kicks it over the outer wing. Maynard at the back for the Pies Robes, lowers the eyes. He's looking for Nick Dacos, spoiled there by the newcomer to town in Josh Dunkley, and the crowd love it. Throw in, outer side.
Deliberate.
You're on this one, Acker.
Oh, they need to change that one. It'll be the best rule they've changed for ages.
Boundary throw in just forward of the wing for Collingwood out on the Stanley Street side of this packed Gabba. McInerney double palms to the front of the pack. Rove by McCluggage. Hand pass infield gathered by Bailey. Slews a torp to half forward. Mishit. Misguided. Marked by Hoskin Elliott at centre half back for Collingwood. Plays on with a kick to the wing. Markov scapers after it. Gathers on the bounce. Hand passes to Quainer. Quainer hand passes to the flank for Elliott. 70 out. Left half forward. Does a 180 to wheel inboard. Kicks to the corridor. Kicks it down the throat of a Lion. It's McKenna in the hole to take the grab for Brisbane and averts the forward entry of the Magpies. 32 minutes third term. Brisbane by 5 goals.
Really a nothing kick there. Myercheck was not sided. The kick landed in between 2 Pies as Harris Andrews takes it back to the left back pocket to Jackson Pryor in this week for the Lions.
But there's their spare. That's Gunston there. And he actually, when you looked up, they had nearly 3. It looked like they had 3 guys in good spots.
Only the 4th touch for Jack Gunston. Had a quiet night. It's a long kick down the outer side, though short of the wing. Presenting and meeting that one, the double grabber from Joe Danaher. And tell you what, he's having a good night tonight. This
19
is
touches.
19. 6 inside 50s for Big Joe. Play him up around the ball, they said. It's a good idea. A long left foot kick to half forward. Off the hands of McInerney. Rayner with a chance. Going again, Ashcroft. Handball into Bailey, just inside attacking 50. He's tackled by Maynard. Incorrect disposal. Really good tackle by Braden Maynard. And he's one bloke you just hate to be tackled by.
Pies have got to go. 15 seconds to three-quarter time. And for a rare moment, they don't. Maynard called a play on before he does. Kicks it down the middle of the ground. Nick Dacos protects the drop. Who's out the back? No one for Collingwood. It's going to beat everyone, the siren. And that is three-quarter time at the Gabba. Brisbane extending its lead from 22 at half-time to 30 at the final change. But of note in this high-rolling, high-risk, high-stakes contest, Collingwood has kicked 3 of the last 4 in the contest to just give us a sense that if this pace keeps up, it's such a wildly swinging game as far as energy and momentum is concerned. Perhaps Collingwood is not out of it just yet. Brisbane, 14 goals, 690. Collingwood, 8 goals, 1260. 30 points the lead to the Lions. For Brisbane, Cam Rayner has kicked 4 goals, 3 goals for Charlie Cameron, 2 for Eric Hipwood, and the singles to Danaher, Berry, Zorko, Pryor and Wilmot. While for Collingwood, Myercheck's last 3 are his only 3. He leads the way with 3 majors for the Pies, 2 for Hill, and singles for Adams, Nick Dacos and Ash Johnson. Pies by 13 points at quarter time, then conceded the next 10 goals. Brisbane by 22 at half time. At one point the Lions were 45 in front, but we turned for home with 5 goals the lead for Brisbane at 4-6-90 to 8-12-60. Hope you've enjoyed it so far to start Easter round on Grandstand Anywhere. Don't go at Grandstand AFL. Don't go anywhere. Matt Primus and Jason Ackermanis to tell you more in just a moment on ABC Sport.
ABC Listen. Rampaging Royce Laven and HG Nelson.
I note that some people don't use logbooks anymore. What?
Yeah.
They don't know cos, sine, all that.
Cosine, cosine, cotan. They're all great.
Bludging on the blind side.
Why don't they do it?
I don't know.
Royal Commission. What happened to the logbook?
I loved it. I used to open it up.
Could we get Volandis to drag the logbook
Kicking and screaming back into our universities?
Podcast available now on the ABC Listen app. Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Handball from Lockneil. McCarthy and the beautiful kick to Zorko. He nails one into the pocket and it's there for Hipwood. Left foot, drop punt, tight angle. Eric Hipwood. Has snuck it through. That's his second. The perfect start to the second half for the Brisbane Lions. To McCluggage, standing start back to Dunkley, who tumbles it over the wing. McCarthy, deft handball to Bailey, running into an open goal. Charlie Cameron accepts and banks it into the third tier. Slingshot footy from the Lions. They're doing the Pies job on the Pies.
Free kick to McInerney in the centre circle. He got manhandled by McStay. Long kick of football out the back. Another goal to Brisbane. Hipwood gives it to Rayner. Rayner does as Cameron did. Boots it into the top tier. This is turning out to be a carve-up. It's a 38-point lead for Brisbane. Passes backwards to side bottom. 55 out. One step left footer to the top of the goal mouth. Hill has it punched away. Myercheck will end the rotter. He's roving out the back, snaps it on his left, and finally Collingwood has a goal. Brodie Myercheck roving. Collingwood breaks a run of 10 against.
Goes straight to Pendlebury, to Nick Dacos. Straight down the middle. Harris Andrews, outstretched arm, couldn't peel it in. Myercheck rose. Myercheck goal. 30 points the margin, but it feels so much closer.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
A neat 5 goals, the diff with a quarter to play. Welcome back to the Gabba. Quentin Hull and the team with you for Grandstand AFL across the ABC Sport Network. A reminder, if you're out and about on this holiday weekend, you've got the ABC Listen app on your phone or device. Look for the red and blue button, either the AFL button that we're on tonight or AFL Extra if there are overlapping games. That's where you can now find AFL footy coverage from the national broadcaster on your phone. The ABC Listen app now carrying all games of the Indigenous code here. Brisbane 14-6-90, Collingwood 8-12-60. Full-time in the National Rugby League tonight, a win for the Melbourne Storm over the Sydney Roosters. Storm have won at 28 points to 8. The green button on the Listen app is where you can hear all your league. But let's assess things here and look at what is to come. Jason Ackermanis, Matt Primus, a term to play at the Gabba.
Yeah, I thought they got a lot of soft goals early, Brisbane. The defence of Collingwood was pretty poor. That said, we did say that they will kick a couple of goals. They finally did. They're still playing the type of game that you want, but I just feel like at some stage, you've got to keep playing this game, Collingwood, but the Lions have just seemed to be just cleaner and better and hungrier around the ball, Matty Primus.
Yeah, no doubt around the ball, Acker, they certainly have been and given themselves a lot to drive. Saying that, the Pies have had 4 more inside 50s in them, and their handball certainly got away in that. So, as you say, they're going to keep coming at them, but their pressure and the way Brisbane are defending them has been really good. They've given maybe a couple over the back, the Pies been able to get out, but they've chopped a lot off by coming at the ball, where Brizzy have been a lot more deeper with their inside 50s entries. The interesting thing will be for me, Brizzy haven't played this style of footy. Can they continue this? It's a high energy, a lot of running, a lot of support, all those sorts of things. Can they continue that for another quarter where we know Collingwood are in tune? This is all they've practiced since McRae's become their senior coach. So a really interesting 30 minutes. Can Brizzy keep going at it? And don't go slow and start going back into their shells. Keep attacking the game because they've got a 5-goal lead to enjoy and keep asking questions and make Collingwood have to chase the game.
Well, it has been 20 scoring shots apiece. So if you're a Collingwood fan, don't be too disheartened. They have missed some sitters. So it's not like they're not in this game or haven't had a chance to be in this game.
Joe Danaher is equal with Josh Dunkley leading the disposal count for Brisbane. They've both had 19.
It's a miracle.
Ashcroft 18, McCluggage 18, Berry 17. For the Pies, Nikos 27, Pendlebury 24, Maynard 21, Jacos 18.
There's got to be good nutrient for the player when the coach comes out and backs you.
Oh, yeah. And he's up around.
Well, backs you, but I'm sure internally it was said, hey, we need a bigger effort to contest, and he's given that to them tonight.
5 goals the lead to Brisbane, last term underway.
McInerney gets it down to the feet of Ash Johnson, picked up by De Goey for the Pies. Immediately inside 50, punched away from Myercheck, rove there by Nick Dacos, tackled into the ground. He lets loose the ball, picked up by Dunkley for the Lions. His kick slews off the right side of his boot, picked up by McCarthy, who attacked the ball with absolute vigour, but he was tackled beautifully by Darcy Moore. That's going to be a free kick to the captain of the Pies. He's in the middle of the ground, just short of the centre circles. He's going to come towards the commentary wing. Nice kick. Finds McCreary. Now he's going to be looking... Sorry, it's Murphy. He looks long down the line. That's an awful kick. At half-back, Starcevic had no opponent. Julie dropped the mark and dribbled it over the boundary line. But it will be a throw in 60 metres out from the Pies' goal.
He's disappointed with that, so he should be. It's not that greasy out there. But that said, that was a poor kick from Murphy.
Just wonder the atmosphere. Should Collingwood kick the first couple here?
Oh, yeah.
Collingwood, a team that can get on a roll. Brisbane, a team that can find a hole. From the throw-in at half-back, Brisbane with the clearance. Dunkley thumps it to halfway. Bouncing ball, tapped down by Moore to Quainer. Collingwood control it. Quainer hand pass out the back to Frampton. Forward of half-back, kicks it wide to the flank, marked by Markov. First-time Pie, injected sub with McInnes off the field. Markov with some run. Plays on and kicks to the middle of the ground on the head of Adams. Spoiled by Neal. Wins his own crumb. Hand pass to Zoyko, who tapped it only to De Goey of Collingwood. Hand pass not great, so he forages back after it. Nick Dacos hands to Adams. Adams hand pass stolen at half back by Joyce. His kick went to the middle of the ground. Quainer beats Ashcroft for the crumb. Now Starcevic comes through. Hand pass to Ashcroft. Attrition will stop this. Moore with a tackle on Rayner, but Rayner rode it to hand pass to Ashcroft. From half-back, kicks to full forward. Out the back, Hipwood couldn't mark. But breaks ankles in the pocket and kicks a goal from right in front. He was right near the post. He was right near the boundary. And Charlie Cameron, with moves that would make Michael Jackson envious. And John Denver, well, get this, I'll put on some Billie Jean, because that's more moonwalk than Country Road.
What a goal.
6 goals the lead to the Lions.
Great call, Q. Great. What about Ashcroft and Rayner? Their ability to absorb pressure and get some handballs out. They then got the ball nice and deep. That should be for Chris Fagan. That play from the half-back line, you would show that clip every single week if you're a coach, Acker.
They were clean and just a little bit of turn of speed from Ashcroft and super balanced to get it down there, although Big O would be flat. He had that set. But what a goal from Charlie. Says he's going to go right.
I need to see a replay. How did that happen?
So quick.
He went one way, his body went one way, his feet went the other. It was incredible to watch. We're back into the middle. The Pies need this clearance. They win it through Nick Dacos, tumbling it inside 50, going back with the flight. Taylor Adams couldn't quite pick it up. Now it's loose. Crisp, left foot from Crisp, from 30, goal.
Bang.
Instant reply from the Pies, back to 30 points, 3 and a bit gone. Final term, ABC Sport, Michael Price, Quentin Hull, and your experts, Matty Primus, Jason Ackermanis.
Oh, how good was that? I mean, you talk about guys, but Adams, how slippery was he? Just bulled, got the ball, little quick handball, Crisp. He's had a big week, and he's kicked a good goal there, Matty Primus.
Oh, it's a dangerous ball. Like Harris Andrews he's had a good night when the ball's in the air, but when the ball's on the ground, he's become a very nervous guy. He didn't know whether to attack that one or wait for it to bounce. He waited for it to bounce, and that become a live ball for the Pies forward line, and they're certainly pretty efficient when it hits the ground inside their forward 50.
Yeah, another win for the Pies out of the square. If they do that again, look out. A couple of quick goals.
Yeah, whack this forward, Big O, out of here.
So, Crisp with the answer to make it 5 goals. That if, again, centre bounce. Well, Johnson didn't even run at that. McInerney spikes it forward, but to no rover. Ashcroft plays tackler on Noble, and there'll be a ball up about 15 metres attacking side of the centre circles for Brisbane. Johnson goes at this one, but McInerney clean possession. Hand pass to half forward. Ricochets to Noble. High contact against Cameron. Free kick to the son of the former footy manager here. I'm sure he's watching on keenly. Dave, been such a big part in building the Brisbane list, as John kicks to half forward, doesn't find a target, but off hands. Well, Nick Dacos had a look there. Charging through, Wilmot picked up for Brisbane. Tumbles it to the wing. Space for Rayner to mark. Plays on, kicks to the pocket for Cameron. Marks on his chest. 30 out, 10 in from the boundary. He's setting up for the left-footed snap punt for a moment, and now he decides to take a few paces back.
That kick from Rayner, he actually forced him to go back. I mean, Charlie wanted to go into the pocket, but the kick made him just come back, and it was so well weighted that Quainer couldn't even get a fingertip to it.
He's auctioning off shoes with diamonds in them tonight, Charlie Cameron. As that footwork was befitting of it. Left foot snap, right forward pocket. Charlie has 5. A handful in every sense of the word for the Magpies tonight. Back out to 6 goals. 6 goals that if at 16-6, 102 to 9-12, 66. And Cameron, after only 3 goals in the first 3 rounds, has turned it on to start Easter weekend.
And that's what I said before the game, that the Lions still have the most potent forward line. Don't worry about the last couple of weeks. You get it in there when you've got a side that allows you to score like Collingwood. Guys like Charlie, if they get good delivery, and they have, they're going to kick some goals.
I love the bounce off half-back. I think it was Wilmot who's kicking. But that's what they've done. They've bounced off quick there, and then Rayner's done some beautiful kicks inside 50, but I love the speed off the half-back or off the back of a stoppage.
Doing it well, the Brisbane Lions now. The Pies trying to extract the ball, and it was they were after a holding the ball decision, but it was a free kick that went to the Pies to Degoe for a tackle around the ankle. He comes to the commentary wing. Quainer did well to get a hand involved, and then the handball from Maynard was beautiful to side bottom. From 50, steal side bottom. Oh, across the face it fades. 1 behind. That could have been anything. 102 plays 67. We're back to 35 points the margins. Lions lead. 7 gone, final turn.
But how quick can they score? That is what they do. And they just got to kick them now.
Starcevic runs beyond the goal mouth, inbounds with a long ball straight down Hoskin Elliott's throat. He plays for the opposition. Will Hoskin Elliott marks for Collingwood. 70 out at left half forward. So another forward entry coming up for the Pies. 35 the diff. Hoskin Elliott spears it to the pocket. Myercheck! What a terrific grab. Wow. He had a defender behind him, a defender in front of him, and he rose high to take a clean clunk. 35 metres out hard in the left forward pocket.
What about those hands?
Super grab.
Rock solid.
That was Lockett-esque.
Yeah.
Well, you got a right too. He jumped on Starcevic and he held it. He's going to go around the corner here.
Setting up for the right-footed snap punt. Myercheck hits it high. It's across the face. He hasn't hit it right. It comes to Deck in the opposite pocket, and actually Hipwood got underneath it. No, my apologies. Berry's got underneath it to mark in the left back pocket for Brisbane. Lions by 35 points, 8 minutes played, final term.
Berry, long right footer towards the commentary wing. Well done, Frampton, who battled his way through the pack to get the front position, took the mark. Goes laterally towards the corridor to find Pendlebury. Disposal number 25 for the class act. He plays on, wheels through the corridor. Chip pass into the path of Elliott is a thing of beauty. And Jamie Elliott will have a shot 35 metres out, slight angle to the right, and does... Oh, it's ridiculous that Scott Pendlebury can get better. 25 disposals, 92% disposal efficiency. The man is just a class act.
But his best decision maker going around.
He is, mate. Everyone just stays off him.
He shouldn't have done that. Elliott for goal, yeah.
Jamie Elliott to keep the Pies alive. Pokes it wide. 1 behind, another wasted opportunity. That's 9 goals, 14 the Pies. 68 to 102 the Lions. 34 points the margin. Nearly 9 gone, final term, ABC Sport.
So McKenna kicks in for Brisbane. They don't exit though. Markov plays spoiler on Ashcroft to punch it out. Boundary throw in, Pies still in attack.
Got to keep being brave, Brizzy Q. Look for the short kicks, not just the long kicks all the time to a contest.
Matt Primus with you on Grandstand AFL. 9 minutes final term. 34 points seems healthy enough, but the pace of this game, you just never know. McInerney taps down from the throw-in to Neal. Hand pass to McKenna, clearance Lions. High ball from half forward to the wing. Out the back, Frampton first to meet it for Collingwood. Tackled, just got a hand pass clear to Markov. Hand pass defensively to Quainer. Kicks it 20 metres backwards. And inside defensive 50 over the head of Murphy, but there's no one near him. so he's got time to regather the Sherrin forward of full-back. Chips it to centre half-back, marked by Elliott. Now he turns and goes on the head of Maynard, spoiled away by Bailey, roving his Starcevic of Brisbane on the wing. Kicks it to half-forward, looking for McCluggage. Fingertip control, can't mark, under the harassment of Elliott, who wins the ball for the Pies. Hand pass infield to side bottom chips to Hill, just defensive side of the wing.
Just brilliant one-on-one work there from Jamie Elliott.
Berry's done a good job on side bottom. That's only his 6th possession for the game.
Bobby Hill, 45-degree kick into Nick Dacos, disposal number 30 for him, continuing his fine form. He goes for the 1-2 handball and then plays for the free kick. Umpire ignored it. The ball spilled to half-back for the Lions. Harris Andrews. That's a beautifully weighted pass towards the commentary wing. Jared Berry takes the mark and decides to take a few breaths, settle down. The Lions leading by 34 points. 10.5 gone final term on ABC Sport. Now he wheels around. It's the long right foot kick to half forward. Hipwood at the back. Actually collected more of Darcy Moore than the ball. Ball spills to McCluggage from 50. He kicks it to the top of the square. It evades Charlie Cameron, who glares back at Hugh and says, hey, what about me? As the ball dribbles over the boundary line, throw in right forward pocket.
Not a bad result, though, I reckon. It would have been a rush probably if he had a shot on goal. I don't mind a forward stoppage deep in Brisbane's forward.
But that contest from Hipwood was very good.
Yeah.
He ran 55 metres to get to that.
Matt Primus and Jason Ackermanis on grandstand AFL boundary, throw in shallow. McStay got to it for Collingwood, taps it to Hoskin Elliott, hand pass to Moore under pressure, gave it back to Hoskin Elliott. No clearance just yet for the Pies in the back pocket. And the umpire's watching, waiting, anticipating a ball up and giving it.
Can I just say, someone has got to get these umpires to throw it back in better.
Ball tossed in the air.
Rubbish today.
Gunston got a touch, couldn't get a clean tap away. Markov charges through. Tackled by Gunston. Ump says no, Pryor, ball up.
You've got a valid point, accurate to Malays here in southeast Queensland, some of the spaghetti-armed umpires.
Ball tossed in the air in the forward pocket. McStay got it down, but kicked off the ground by Gunston. Rode by Cameron. His little toe poke took a Collingwood touch. On the way through, it's a point and 35. The difference at 6-7-103. 16-7-103 to 9-14-68.
So the Pies play on quickly and they have to do something. Nick Dacos, the 1-2. That's disposal number 33. He's going to line up there with the left foot, and it's a beautiful kick out to the Stanley Street wing. And it finds McCreary. Wheels around on the right foot, and that's read beautifully in defence. It's cut off there by Jackson Pryor, who was the inclusion this week, the son of Michael, the former Essendon and West Coast player. Chips it over to Harris Andrews. Another 15-metre kick outside defensive 50 to Zorko, across the arc to Will Ashcroft. He goes another way just down the line, another 20-metre kick to find Lockie Neal, and they are just sharing the ball around and doing it beautifully.
Is this the start of the shutdown? Here's the long ball from Neal towards half forward. Target is McInerney, spoiling and roving more of Collingwood. Hand pass, though, intercepted by Wilmot of Brisbane. Here's hand pass went to Danaher, stolen by Markov of Collingwood. They ping from half back. Hand pass to McCreary. Hand pass stolen by Zorko of Brisbane. Hands it through Ashcroft to Bailey. Back to Ashcroft on the outer wing. Will now kick Brisbane to attacking 50. Frampton got a hand. No. Play on, says the ump. Out the back. Hoskin Elliott cleans up for Collingwood in the left back pocket. Bounces his way through fullback, kicks to right half back where Hill takes the grab at D50.
The former Giant plays on, sizzles a ball out to an open Tom Mitchell, but coming in Jackson Pryor. Mitchell gathers, gets around Pryor, dummies around Dunkley, delivers a beautiful pass into the corridor to find Crisp. He delivers a 50-metre pass to Taylor Adams, another short pass onto the leader to Goey. They're going to have a shot from 50, 45-degree angle to the right, and this is in Jordan De Goey's wheelhouse.
That went 7 metres, Pricey. You've got to be joking.
Well, the umpire...
And Adams had a guy's out long.
Ever since you entered real estate, I don't believe that. At 7 metres. Now, Jordan De Goey from 50. He launches into it. It's fading back. It's a goal. The Pies get their 10th. De Goey gets his first. We're back to a 29-point margin. There's around about 10.5 minutes left of this final term. I refuse to write off the Pies.
No, I told you to be 18 points. Sorry there, Matt.
No, Pryor needed to be better here. That contest on the wing, he needed not to allow his Collingwood opponent to come back inside. He just was too eager to get at him, got overstepped, opened up back inside the corridor, and once he did that, it was game over.
I feel like the Croupier and Molly's game. I'm about to call it. The elastic band, we've seen it go either way now, but they're on wood now, Collingwood. They can't concede another goal.
Well, they got half a quarter.
There's 10 minutes left in the game. They've got to kick 5 goals.
They can kick 5 or 6.
You reckon?
Yeah, they can. And they'll well, look at the shots they've had. 24 shots. They're not going to go down without a fighting shot on goal.
Time enough if good enough.
Yeah. Well, I just thought I'd put it out there. You never know. It's been that kind of gambling night. That's the footy that we've seen. It's been high-octane stuff. Centre bounce again. Just hacked forward by McInerney to a pack, and we'll see a ball up 60 from Brisbane's goal.
I'd love Brizzy just to have territory here and make the Pies have to kick 6 from coast to coast.
29 points the lead to Brisbane. McInerney, clean possession. Rush kick inside 50. Frampton punches it away from Danaher. Noble at the rope. Hand passed it away. Neal makes the tackle, but the hand pass got quickly back to Noble. They're out. Hand pass the left half back for Hoskin Elliott. Long kick to the wing. And Joyce gets to the drop for Brisbane to take what in the end was an uncontested mark. He chips it back to McCluggage, who takes the grab for Brisbane on the wing. 103 to 74. 15 and a half played, final term. Brisbane in front.
McCluggage just ambles down the outer wing. Plays on long kick in the Danaher direction. At the back, McCarthy got high above the pack and ended up fisting it over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Deliberate.
Where the arc meets the boundary line. Just quietly, gentlemen, as Nick Dacos has been racking them up all day, Will Ashcroft has just crept quietly into the game up to 24 disposals with 4 clearances.
Quarter and a half, yeah.
He always does in the second half of a game. He creeps in. It's well done by McCluggage off the hands. Got his opponent in Hoskin Elliott out of the way. Went to the boundary, kicks it to the top of the square. It was well read by Oleg Markov, who plays on, risky, but takes off. Chips it into the path of Noble.
Oh, yes.
Exploding onto it, Kadeem Coleman. The left foot chip cut off there by Murphy. And then the ball cut off by Coleman again. Comedy of errors on the 50-metre arc. They're sharing the ball. It's loose again. Quainer versus Coleman. Ashcroft enters. Now that was a tackle of Markov into the ground. He didn't have the ball. It spills again. Ashcroft tackled by a couple. One of them's high.
Great job.
It will be. Well done, Will Ashcroft, who got himself involved. 25 disposals now. This free kick, he'll take this and he'll slow things down. He's got a massive angle to the left. He's 55 out. Now he wheels around slowly. The drop punt goes towards the top of the square. Joe at the back has cleaned the pack up and taken a chest mark. You can ride him off all week. This is the kick Joe Danaher week, said Fags. Oh boy, he's answering the critics, isn't he?
That was the Betty Hill show for a bit, but gets the free kick, Will Ashcroft. And Joey just need everyone out of the way. Took a chest mark.
He just barreled the pack. This is disposal 20 for Joe Danaher. He's lining up directly in front. 10 metres out. I'm not writing it in the book. He comes in.
He should.
Big Joe made the goal umpire work, but it is his second goal, and surely the Lions will get home here. 17 goals, 7. 109 plays 10, 14, 74. 35 points the margin, 18 gone, final term.
No more bets.
No more.
That's the elastic band broken, I think, guys.
On, yeah.
No more.
It's too hard to come back from here.
I love Coleman's intent there to leave his man come 20 metres off to come and affect the ball rather than defend there. And as I said, if they can keep getting territory, Brizzy, it's going to be too hard for Collingwood to kick a score here. And Big O's dominated the last couple of stoppages. Yeah, terrific game so far.
8 minutes left, 6 goals the diff.
I like it, Q. No more bets.
There's Lee Matthews, the old minutes versus goals.
I was waiting for a comment about your old coach.
Lee used to love that one. There's more goals than minutes to play. You're generally going to win. Thanks, Lee.
Are you subscribing tonight, Acker?
Oh, that'll be hard tonight. 8 and 6.
35 the diff. Centre bounce. McInerney has it ricochet back to him once and twice, but then he dropped it, actually. Free kick going to Mitchell of Collingwood, who runs around the man on the mark. Mitchell puts his left boot into it. Kicks the Magpies deep into attack. Andrews knuckles the pack. Ricochet ball. Rolls to deep 50. Picked up by Nick Dacos. Got it on his boot. Scrubbing kick to foot. Oh, he got a weak push in the back just after. Or just during. Is it? Free kick to Nikos.
Yeah, he's going to have a shot on goal here, and that could have gone anywhere. Good sprawl from
Dunkley pushed him in the back, apparently.
Yeah, well...
Ashcroft. Dear me.
Oh, boy.
He put his index finger in the point between the 3 and the 5.
Oh, they don't want to show the umpires that one. That's a bad call, but they've been all right tonight.
Nick Dacos from 51. Bang! Deep, straight goal. Can you do a Lee Matthews for me with 5 the diff, 7 minutes left.
There's 7 goals. Was it 5 goals? 5 goals with 7 minutes to play.
29 points the difference.
And then you get that free kick that wasn't a free kick.
17-7, 109 to 11-14, 80. Same on the boundary. Sanity, please.
Yeah, Devon Robertson's been subbed in and Gunston's come off.
Yeah.
Only the 6 touches for Jack Gunston tonight.
Yeah, he's been out a couple of times, been unlucky. But that said, I mean, he is 45, so I give him a rest and get someone else in there. I mean, yeah, they probably should have done that a bit early, to be fair.
If that free kick wasn't a justification of the bad kick, the outcome rather than the act.
Yes. So the boo you're hearing is because the replay of this free kick has been shown 3 times on the screen. You'll hear another one in a minute.
Good goal, though.
And it was a great goal, but it was an ordinary kick. We're back into the middle. McInerney versus Johnson. McInerney slaps it forward. De Goey, tackle without the ball, will get a free kick and should. Well, he should. He didn't have the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Simple, people. That's the rules of the game. De Goey handballs it through to Nick Dacos, disposal 35, if you don't mind. Back to De Goey. Now Frampton. Standing start. Well, the drop punt lands on the 50. McCreary flying, but it was a good fist there from Kitty Coleman. Well done to Wilmot, who got it now. It's with Darcy Wilmot, and that's a beautiful pass after fending off McCreary, and he finds Cam Rayner short in the wing. Bailey overcooked the kick at the back of the pack. Neal gives it back to Bailey. Numbers everywhere. Looping handball now to Robertson. Dev Robertson. The newcomer onto the field turned it over, and Murphy just blasts it downfield for the Pies.
Takes the mark, kicks the Johnson, flies, can't mark in the centre of the ground. Important ground ball here. Starcevic on it, jumped on, up says, my ball. Ball up near the logo.
Well, Johnson's limping too. That hanger might have got a bit of a corky.
29 that if, 6 minutes and 19 seconds left. McInerney spikes at 25 metres forward. Ashcroft has a fumble. Noble comes in to knock it to the advantage of Murphy. Collingwood's ball. Hand pass through Markov to Moore to De Goey. All at half back now. The kick from De Goey. He screws it to the edge of the centre square. Beautifully waited for the run of Hoskin Elliott. Marks plays on. Hand pass to Sidebottom. Runs to 70. Half forward flank. Chip inside 50 through the hands of Crisp, who followed up. Bumped it to the advantage of McStay. McStay is tackled.
Oh, man.
And a ball up. That's a dropped mark that Jack Crisp would have taken 90 times out of 100.
Coach killer, that is. No
stoppage in the attacking zone for the Magpies. No room for error, 29 in deficit.
Oh, they've ruined a couple of chances, the Pies, in the ruck contest. It comes off the hands. Taylor Adams, he has a snap. And just to the left of the goalpost, one behind. So 109 plays 81. It is now a 28-point margin. The Lions lead, 22 and a half gone. Final term. Kadeen Coleman, the recipient of the kick from Jack Payne in the left-back pocket.
Kicks it back to Payne at full-back. Payne now to right half-back. Good pass. Finds its target in Jared Berry. Takes the mark beyond defensive 50 at right half-back. Chips infield to Andrews. Gee, this is only 40 seconds of tempo, but it's almost the most tempo we've seen tonight.
It is, yeah. We've got to keep trying to pull them apart with these short kicks. Make them defend the Pies.
Indeed, Matt Primus. He kicks Andrews to Zorko. Forward of right half-back, chip infield to Neal. Yep.
That's Zach Bailey out in the middle for about 2 minutes, I reckon.
Neal is going to run from half-back, drive it long to half-forward in a pack. Gets beyond the hands. Johnson there for Collingwood. Taps it to Maynard. Hand pass to Hoskin Elliott. Hand pass back to Maynard. Left half pack. Pies are got to go. Kick to the wing marked by Sidebottom. Sidebottom sees Nick Dacos running for him. Gives him the hand pass from the wing. Kick to half forward through the hands of Andrews. Elliott's out the back. He's 40 out. Hand passes backwards to Crisp. Crisp chicks infield to Jacos. And Josh Dacos from 55 plays on. Right foot. Kick to the goal mouth. Meyer check. Couldn't mark, and the ball goes into the post for a behind. 27 the diff. 109 to 82 with 4 minutes and 18 seconds left.
Game of centimetres at the moment. I know it's so much tighter than an actual score. They just missed so many opportunities.
What have they kicked in the second half, the Pies?
The Pies have kicked plenty in the second half. They've just have a quick look as the ball goes down the outer side, and a good mark taken by Ash Johnson. This kid's got great hands, hasn't he, Matty Primus?
6 goals and 6 goals 10.
Oh, there it is there.
Just forward of centre wing now, Ash Johnson. Undersized ruckman tonight at 193 centimetres. A long kick at the back of the pack. Connor McKenna almost dispossessed by McCreary. The ball spills at the back now. Jackson Pryor. Handball over to Dunkley. Dunkley now for the Lions. Long kick towards half-back. Great contest. Gunston called it play on. Don't know why. It wasn't Gunston. Sorry, was taken off. He's been off. Ball's kicked forward now. Darcy Moore on the logo. He's going to play on and come across. Actually,
he's kicked a bomb.
That's just a hoik.
That's a rugby league bomb.
That's 5 against
half
1.
Forward. And underneath it was Crisp. He couldn't take it. Stolen by Neil of Brisbane. Hand pass to Coleman. Had a fumble. Got it back. Coleman kicks from half back to the wing. Not great. Cameron set a task against Murphy. Murphy did well to tap it away from him at ground level. McCluggage arrives. Noble does too. McCluggage picks up. Noble tackles him. Ball up.
Can I ask, boys, the big advantage the Pies have had is numbers to the ball. Numbers to the ball. See those last couple of contests, 3 and 4 Lions against 2 Pies.
They're gassed. They're gassed. You can't do that every week. And it's a long week for us and a short week for them.
From the ball up, McInerney, clean possession. High kick inside 50 for Brisbane. Cameron got rid of Murphy, couldn't mark it. The drop rove by Bailey near the pocket. Left foot kick to the top of the goal square. Frampton's in the way, marks for Collingwood. Hand pass to Maynard, kicks it towards the wing. Leading option, Myercheck, brought away by Andrews. Zorko taps it back to half forward to the advantage of Dunkley. Lightning hands to give it to Berry. Steadies on 50 to seal it. Your poster. I was about to launch into that one.
Coming.
Out of the seat. It was a poster. What's that? 28 the dip. 110 plays 82.
25 scoring shots. A crowd of 33,565 have witnessed the ball coming out there, landing at the feet there of McInerney, tackled by Ash Johnson. 70 from the Lions' goal. The crowd loving this. 26 and a half gone of the final term on ABC Sport. McInerney, beautiful tap down to advantage to McCluggage. Curling left foot inside 50. Moore slaps it forward to Hoskin Elliott. Tackled by Charlie Cameron. The ball spills. Towed off the deck and caught by Jack Crisp. He goes across the 50-metre arc in defence. Side bottom. They've got to get a wriggle on here, the Pies, but they are gassed. Left foot from Steele, side bottom to the outer side. Bobby Hill puts the skates on. He declares that his pace will beat Jared Berry. Has 2 bounces. Manful chase by Berry. Long kick inside 50 there by Hill. Myercheck, front position, played well. Gathers. Handball back to Josh Dacos. Handball backwards now to side bottom. Dispossessed by Pryor. The Lions have a chance, but they spill it again. Side bottom. Handball now back to... it's going to go to Noble. He's going to play on from 50. He's going to have a shot from 50. He's kicked a point from 50. 110 plays 83. And we're back to a 27-point ball game in favour of the Lions very late in the final term.
They're still going hard too, the Pies. They're playing on. They're just doing anything they can to get in there. They're so good to watch.
Keep your messages coming in. Plenty to get through in the post-game. 0437 774 774 to get in touch as Pryor goes long with the inbound. And McInerney takes the mark beyond defensive 50 at right half-back.
And you would have hoped you saw more of this from him tonight.
43 hit-outs.
11 clearances for the Big O.
And a 17th disposal, Matt, as a kick towards the wing. Danaher, the target, couldn't mark out of play.
That's a game high for clearances too for Oscar McInerney.
So quite the different change you've seen for these two teams next week. Magpies to the Adelaide Oval to play St Kilda. The Lions play in the old sheep paddock at Mount Barker. Just thinking, they had problems with the lights here last time. It's a kind of ground where you probably drive your car up to the fence at Mount Barker and turn the lights on. Country footy style when they play North Melbourne there next week. Ball on the outer wing. Noble. Mitchell tackled and dispossessed. Picked up by Bailey of Brisbane. Kicks it to Cameron. Marks it in the pocket. Charlie Cameron has a chance to kick his 6th. Inside the final minute of the game.
It was Lockie Neal's quick handball out there. That's why he's a Brownlow medalist.
He'll take a moment and try and kick the left-footed snap punt from the right forward pocket. On a night where Lions fans came nervous, they'll leave jubilant. Their season's well and truly alive as Cameron slots his 6th goal and Brisbane lead by 33 points. At 18 goals, 8, 116 to 11-17, 83. Charlie came to the Gabba tonight with 3 for the season. He leaves now with 6 tonight.
He had 14 touches. Nearly half of them have been goals. That's how you know you're having a good night. No, it was Ashcroft It was Ashcroft with that wonderful handball out to Bailey. And Bailey just put it out in front of Charlie. Charlie would have the night of nights because the delivery has been awesome.
Well, you mentioned that pre-game, Acker, that the midfield was under pressure because they haven't been delivering it to the forwards. Look at the forwards now with the service they've been getting from the mids.
Everyone blames the forwards. I'm telling you, it's the way it comes in.
Well, Fags would be saying heap it on Joe Danaher every week the way he's gone. But Will Ashcroft quietly now up to 26 disposal. The kid's a magician. Into the middle of the ground. Another one there. Good clearance from the Pies. It's hacked out to centre half forward roving. Speaking of magicians, is Nick Dacos. Disposal 38 for him, if you don't mind. It dribbles out now to Quainer. Back outside 50. Crisp. Wheels around. Wobbly left footer inside 50. And that is the siren. The Easter Thursday spectacular doesn't go the way the Pies planned. The Lions return home and give it to the Pies to the tune of 33 points. 18-8, 116, plays 11, 17, 83 in front of 33,500 here at the Gabba.
$33,565 in the house. And it was a 10-goal run from Brisbane, which we'll look back on as the real key part of the contest after Collingwood had the better of the first term, led by 13 points at the first change. But then an unanswered 6 goals in the second quarter for Brisbane. They were 22 points in front at half-time, and they kicked the first 4 goals of the third term as well. 10 in a row at that stage. And 14 and a half minutes into the third term, the Lions led by 45 points. It turned out to be the biggest margin in the game. Collingwood chipped some back, but not enough. At three-quarter time, the margin was 5 goals. But in the final term, Brisbane kicking 4 goals 2 to Collingwood's 3 goals 5. And it finishes a 33-point victory. Brisbane 18-8, 116 to Collingwood's 11-17, 83. Brisbane 2-2, the Magpies' first defeat of the season, which leaves St Kilda and Carlton as the only undefeated teams in the AFL, with plenty of round 4 to come. In front of goal, it was a night out for Charlie Cameron. 6 goals 1. 6-1 for Charlie Cameron. Cam Rayner kicked 4 goals, 2 to Joe Danaher, 2 to Eric Hipwood. Singles to Berry, Zorko, Pryor and Wilmot. While for Collingwood, Modi Myercheck kicked 3, Nick Dacos kicked 2, Bobby Hill kicked 2, and singles for DeGoey, Adams, Crisp and Johnson. Pies by 13 at quarter time, Lions by 22 at half time, Lions by 30 at three-quarter time, and 33 was the diff in the end at 18-8, 116 to 11 goals 17. 83. Zane Bojack will get to work in the rooms. We'll take your texts on 0437 774 774. Look at the round ahead of us as well, but in the immediacy of the victory of Brisbane and defeat for Collingwood, Jason Ackermanis and Matt Primus tell you about the night at the footy.
Well, it was a very efficient game from the Lions, and it wasn't looking that good that early, but the Pies were always going to play their game. Well, we love their game, and to be honest, if you just look at the sheer amount of points the Pies have had, they're in this game. Unfortunately, they just weren't as polished around the ball. I thought the pressure of the Lions was great. They're just a bit cleaner, and they made them pay. They just simply made them pay. They kicked straighter, and they got out the back, and both defences were lacking at times, but that's the way they play. It's a brilliant game of footy.
Yeah, you're spot on there. I thought while the tackle numbers aren't big for Bridge, I thought their pressure to keep getting at them, get a hand in, get a chase, their perceived pressure on Collingwood made them, they were a bit sloppy too, but made them cough the ball up and made some uncharacteristic turnovers. I love that they were back. Pies have been, on average, beating teams by 25 in the contested possession. Well, Brizzy won that tonight, smacked them in the clearances, but then, as we spoke about all night, they actually changed the way they played off half-back line through the middle of the ground, and I thought that's what really brought Collingwood unstuck and brought their defenders unstuck. They had no answers for when they moved the ball nice and quick, and hence why Charlie Cameron and their Smalls had a night out.
They did have a night out, and a lot of goal kickers, but the guys under pressure, you got to mention them, and that's the thing. Playing at home, I did say they're so difficult to beat home, but the games of Big Joey Danaher, unbelievable. The improvement for the goal kickers, except for really McCarthy, who just has been a bit unlucky, and probably Zach Bailey, who's been kicking lots of goals. I was so impressed with the rest of them. You don't see Lockie Neal have 38 today. You see, Will Ashcroft get under the guard. Hugh McGlucky's does his spot. But I just think I'm so glad the Big O played the game he did, because he should dominate.
That's what he needed to do tonight. Yep, exactly right. He needed to be strong in the contest. He needed to whack the ball forward when he had an easy one. He needed to get rid of his opponent, grab him, kick him, handball him off, get clearances himself, and he certainly dominated in that aspect tonight.
So what have we learned about the way that Collingwood came unstuck tonight?
Yeah. It's a short week. I think that...
Well, it is. They played Friday night.
They play Friday night.
Not that shorter.
Well, it's
and Brizzy
6-day week, Thursday.
It's not...
Well, all I'm saying is at home Thursday night, and it's not even that bad. They had so many shots on goal.
Yeah.
They just didn't. I mean, you missed one for 15 out. Nick Dacos, unbelievable game.
Or is it just... And I've used this reference a bit throughout the night. Is it just that if Collingwood keep playing this way, I mean, is it high risk, high reward? Is it? We saw it blow up in their face a little bit tonight because they came up against a team who thought, okay, well, you want to play that way on the outside and gun? We reckon we've got the juice to go with you. I don't know whether many other teams have, but Brisbane did tonight.
I think Brisbane matched them inside. That's where they generate all their outside stuff from, but they actually matched them inside. And then took it to them, Q. So the teams, can they do that? I'm not sure. I love it that Brisbane said we have to do this because our forward six is going to make any back line pay. I'm not sure many teams have got a forward six like Brisbane have got. Yeah. But teams will look at this and say, rightio, here's a way. You have to match the Pies inside, though, and perhaps the Pies are off in that tonight. But Brizzy's 3 or 4 midfield, certainly they got stuck into them, and a ruckman down hurt them too.
I tell you what, as much as the Saints have got a game to get through this week, we know that they've started the season playing that run and gun style. It sets up beautifully for gather round next week with Collingwood playing against St Kilda. So maybe we know that Rossi will be watching.
Yeah, but they do it better. Collingwood do it better than anyone.
Yep.
Tonight, the Lions did on the counter.
And it's amazing, is it? Like, they were on top, Brizzy, most of the night, but because of the style of play, you keep thinking, hey, Collingwood are a chance right until about 4 minutes to go in the game. We thought Collingwood were a chance to get over the line.
So we can see on the big screen the Lions working their way into the room. Zane Bojack is there to welcome them in. 2 games at home, they get to sing the song twice in their beloved change rooms at the Gabba. Zano?
Yeah, and this time, Q, the lights stayed on outside, but they shut the lights out on Collingwood, certainly in that third quarter. Didn't they just roll in with all those goals? Quite remarkable. And now they're getting in a huddle. They're very happy. Eric Hipwood, Harris Andrews, they're all there. Young Will Ashcroft.
We'll stay close, Zane Bojack in the Lions' rooms. Brisbane, 18 goals, 116 over Collingwood's 11-17, 83. Lots of talking points. Keep your messages coming on the SMS 0437774774. Thanks to Dave. Hi, team. I like the way the Lions stuck it to the Magpies. They are beatable depending on how the opposition tackles them. Robin Morenci says, don't think I've got a single Thursday/Friday night tip right so far. Pies are ruining everything again. Got it right. 0437 774 774.
The Lions sing that song so much quicker than what we sing it.
Yeah, well, at least hasn't been really made much of the fact that this was the sort of 20-year anniversary game of the last of the three-peats.
No, well, we actually do it at the end of the year, you know. Obviously, we won. It's later in the year. We won the grand final day. They've got the big day in August. So, you know, they've got plenty of time for that. But the jumpers were, of course, for tonight against the Pies for that year.
Well, amazing.
Everyone's names on there.
A couple of the coach of the opposition, along with the main head of strategy, were on the jump. McRae and Lepage were on the opposition's jumper. Zano in the Brisbane rooms.
Yeah, I'm down here with the great Zorko. Look, it was they talked about Collingwood's run and gun. Did you guys just run and gun them off their feet?
Yeah, look, they started hot. I thought, oh no. But we knew we had to bring the pressure. Obviously, with a team that likes to flick it on, you got to keep coming forward and smashing in. We understood that. And I thought as the game went on, we were able to, when we had our bits of momentum, we were really able to capitalise. They had their bits of momentum, and fortunately for us, didn't convert, which sort of, kept our momentum up. And I guess from there we were able just to close the game out at the end. But that was a very tough game.
Throughout the week, all the criticism was headed towards your twin talls in Hipwood and Danaher. Do you think, firstly, that they showed what they're made of tonight? And secondly, do you think perhaps, as a member of that midfield group, that perhaps you guys were getting off a little bit unscathed with the delivery to those guys?
Yeah, it was being very inconsistent the first three rounds. So, but we know our best is really good, and we know when it's like how it was tonight in patches, our talls are going to get the opportunities. And last week they didn't get that for whatever reason. The Bulldogs were just too good, but tonight we gave them that. And I thought not only were their contests unbelievable, but their ability to pressure and keep the ball in our forward 50 to obviously allow us to generate some score and some momentum. So, it was only round 3. I thought they'd actually gone all right up until, for the start of the season. But, it is what it is. But the way they responded tonight was a credit to those guys. And I'm really, really happy for them.
We knew Collingwood were going in without a ruckman. Sometimes that doesn't work for your big man, because sometimes you can get the hit-outs but not hit them to advantage. But Oscar McInerney, he was one of your best tonight, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. And obviously a really big week for Oscar and for Dan McStay. I mean, they've rucked against each other at training for a number of years, and we saw what Dan did for us in a final last year as our number one ruck when Oscar went down. So we knew Macca was very capable, but, O just put that aside and just treated it like any other ruckman out there, and it was really business-like tonight. Gave us first use, his clearance work, and stuff around the contest was unbelievable and really got it going our way.
All right, well, I'll throw it up to the panel, Dane, because we've got Michael Price, Quentin Hull. We've also got Matthew Primus and that premiership winner from back in 2003, Jason Ackermanis, up there.
Dane, Quentin here. Congratulations. Video session, review. Can you talk through the footy specifics of what you pulled apart from what didn't work last week, which was implemented tonight?
Not a hell of a lot, to be honest with you. We sort of just watched a little bit of how we moved the ball against Melbourne the previous week. So we lacked moving that against the Dogs, 7 days ago. But we got full belief and confidence in the way we prepared ourselves over the pre-season, that we moved the ball better. Everything could sort of fall into place. But I thought tonight defensively, that was the best we played for a number of years. I thought our come forward was exceptional, from our half-backers to our midfielders, and then gave us the opportunity to move the ball a little bit quicker into our tall timber.
Zorks, Jason Ackermanis, I just want to ask, because we were just talking about it up here, me and Matty Promise, that you guys don't traditionally play this way, but tonight the footy you played, one, was it enjoyable, but two, you're coming down the middle, you're punishing well on the turnovers when you can, you're playing it on quick, you're getting it into your forwards one-on-one. Did you like to play this way? Because it's just not the normal lines we've seen the last few seasons.
Yeah, well, that's what Collingwood does. They make you come into a game style that, you're probably not used to playing. And at times I thought in the first quarter we probably went a little bit too quick, which left ourselves vulnerable defensively. But once we got that right combination of defensively coming forward and then just having a little bit more composure on the ball once we did win it and turn it over, we're able to give our forwards some nice, really clean looks, and we're able to get a couple of goals out the back to Charlie and Eric at times, and obviously Cam Rain's performance was unbelievable, but honestly, all of it was built off our defence and our ability to come forward and apply pressure.
Hey, Dane, Matt Primus here. Are the Pies, well done on the win tonight, I don't want to take away from that at all, but are the Pies one of the most unique teams, their style of play? Like you saying, it forces you have to come forward, you have to come from all different angles, you constantly, they might be hard to tackle, but you constantly got to be putting pressure on them. Are they one of the unique teams that you got to come up against when in team defence?
Yeah, absolutely. That was, as I said, the first quarter, wow, that was some of the best football I've seen. Their ability just to run and gun through the midfield and not only win it at the source, but then spread and really bounce away off our half back line. They're a really super impressive team, and clearly they're going to be right up there this year. So to get a result like that tonight was great for not only the boys' confidence, but massive belief in the group now.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just going to ask, as Price was just about to tell me telepathically, I've obviously played with Will's dad. I actually carried him as a baby. Now I see him, playing in the big league.
As in Will, not Will's dad.
Will's dad, yes. Sorry, Will's dad, Marcus. So I get that right. It's my first night on the job. But I think the inclusion of him, Dunkley's obviously a quality player, but to get McKenna to come over, those two guys, I think this is the best list we've had in 20 years. I'm not saying we're going to win it or we're not, but I'm just saying the list is so strong, and those two players, I think, have added to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of our recruits, I thought Darragh Joyce tonight was really, really good down there. He was a real pillar for Harris to allow him to come off and be a third man in and kill that contest. Obviously, Connor McKenna's ability to read the play so well for a guy who's been out of the action for a couple of years. His first day of training, honestly, it looked like he hadn't put a footy down, to be honest. He was unbelievable from his whole pre-season since he's got here. So I'm not surprised we're seeing the results from him. He's worked extremely hard to understand our game plan and what we need to do going forward. But also, Will, you were speaking about him, he's just class. Like, it's unbelievable. Some of the stuff he does in a little phone box, it's so impressive. And the kid's got such a bright future, and all our recruits tonight played exceptional games.
Yeah, I think it was an outstanding effort by the entire team. Zorka, Michael Price here. Look, I just wanted to basically say congratulations to yourself as well, because I think you provide that spark, mate, when you're actually in the side. You might not be the official leader, but you've got that spark that actually gives the side a little bit of energy. So I wanted to congratulate you on that. I just wanted to ask from a player's perspective. All week, Fags said that it was Kick Joe Danaher week. Now, Joe has responded tonight. As a player, how much nutrient did that give Joe from Fags to actually have your coach come out in public and support?
Yeah, one thing I know about Joe Danaher is he won't pay too much attention to the external stuff. He might see it every now and then, but Fags did an amazing job this week of shielding him from all that and instilling some unbelievable belief in Eric and Joe that they are so important to us and what they provide for our team. I mean, tonight they didn't take a mountain of marks, but they were able to bring the ball to the front, which the week before they weren't able to do. So it's little wins like that keeps their confidence and feels like they're in the play. And then we know what they're like is when they get the ball in their area, they're really classy and they're both able to finish. So Fags did a great job of shielding them all week, and I guess from a team point of view, we really wanted to give them a lot of opportunities tonight to show what they're worth. Obviously, they did cop a little bit of flack, but us as teammates, we gathered around them all week, and for them to do what they did tonight was a great way to respond.
It's a good show of culture, that's it.
Thanks for your time, Dane. A light one to finish. What's your favourite varietal of red? Have you ever been to Mount Barker before? You've got to have a good choice on your hands next week.
Yeah. I haven't been to Mount Barker. I believe we're playing somewhere in the Vineyards. Is that right?
That's right, yes. Beautiful part of the world.
I don't know much about the place, but looking forward to getting over there and obviously facing North, who are going really well.
Well, it's a sellout. It's going to be like you're playing for Broadbeach event. Zorks, I think there's going to be, 7,000 there?
Yeah, well, that's great. I think it's a fantastic initiative that the AFL's done to bring us all together. We've obviously seen the success of the NRL doing it for a number of years. The boys are really looking forward to getting over there and enjoying the footy festival.
Good on you, Dane. Thanks for your time. Well done.
Good stuff, lads. Tough.
The former skipper, Dane Zorko. Happy to have a chat to Zane Bojack down in the rooms after Brisbane has defeated Collingwood by 33 points, 18-8, 116 to 11-17, 83. Just repeating in the National Rugby League tonight, the Storms had a victory over the Roosters by 28 points to 8. On the SMS, keep them coming in, 0437 774 774. Kick to kicks going on out in the middle of the Gabba at the moment, which is great to see.
I saw the funniest thing ever, though. See that guy running out? He was filming.
Which guy?
It was a guy who's sprinting out, right? He's sprinting out, and he's going to get to the middle. You know they race to the middle.
They race to the
middle. And
middle.
he's got about 2 metres from it, filming himself. He looked like he got shot, and he looked like he did a knee, and he went over. I nearly lost it.
I reckon he's done his Achilles or something.
That was unbelievable.
He was doing a selfie
Sustained an injury in the quest of social media stardom.
That was so good.
Yeah, righto, let's get back to Zane. He's got the big man next to him in the Brisbane rooms.
Yeah, I've got the big O here with me. Now, firstly, Oscar, I've got to ask you, did you know who was coming at you all the time? I think Ash Johnson had a go at one stage, didn't even compete. What was it like for you out there?
Well, we know Macca quite well, and it was phenomenal in a final for us just less than 6 months ago. So we knew what he was going to bring. And then Ash Johnson, he's got a leap on him. He can soar. So, yeah, tough battle, pretty exhausted, but great result for the club.
What's it like? How much pressure is there for a ruckman when you know you're going up against a side that's down on tools?
I don't know. My role's very simple at the club. I've just got to create a contest, make a contest for our mids and make a contest in the air when it's along down the line. So we've got electric smalls. So we get it on the ground. It's pretty exciting when you see Charlie, Zach Bailey, and that all getting after the footy.
Right, well, I'll pass it up to the panel. We've got Matty Primus. We've also got Jason Ackermanis. You've got your 20-year anniversary jersey there in front of us. Also Quentin Hull and Michael Price for a couple of minutes.
Oscar, Matty Promise, well done on the game tonight. As we mentioned, you didn't have a genuine ruckman against you, but I thought you did exactly what you had to do. You might say it's a simple role, but I thought at times you palmed it down in some nice areas. When that quite wasn't working for you, you bashed some forward. You made it really hard for the Collingwood mids to go, is he going inside here, is he going down the back, or is he going to bash one forward? And every now and then, you got your feed too, mate. Great to see you grab a couple out and have a 13 clear. I don't know how many clearances was it in the end? 11 clearances a game high. I thought you really played your role to perfection against a team that was trying to read you all night.
Oh, thanks, Matt. Yeah, they're a phenomenal midfield. So we found it tough early, whether they were picking us off or where we were going. So it was probably a fine balance. And our midfield coach, Cam Bruce, he really did the planning throughout the week, and we had to sort of adjust on the fly. But yeah, I'm glad it worked out well in the end.
Big O, Jason Ackermanis here. I think the one thing you've just gotten better at every year, game on game, whenever you can, is taking those bigger pack marks. The best ruckman in the comp can get there, can clunk them. Is there something you've been working a lot on? Because it's just the one thing that you have gotten, streets ahead. Everything else is in good shape, but that's just one area where it just looks like you want to jump and get at the ball. And when you do, you look like just the player you've always wanted to be.
Yeah, it's such an important role, creating that contest and trying to get after. I've still got so much room to improve. You look at the league's best ruckman, how well they do it. I'm streets behind them, so I've got to keep working at that every week. But yeah, hopefully keep putting the craft, and one or two will stick a week, and we can retain our territory and get the ball going forward from there.
Oscar, Quentin Hull here. You've had a few weeks now to sort of work with a newish looking midfield with a young fella in Will Ashcroft in there and Josh Dunkley coming in. How's the dynamic changed for you?
Oh, I'm learning heaps. I wouldn't have thought that I'd learned so much from an 18-year-old, and he's been phenomenal. And then Josh, he's exceptional. He's an incredible leader for our group. So to have him and led by Lockie Neal, we've got so much depth in the midfield. So I'm learning every week, and they're giving us different looks. And hopefully that's unpredictable for each week when we roll out there.
And moving forward, how would you rate that win? I mean, this year's been just a bit inconsistent. Obviously, the Bulldogs were fantastic last week on the worst surface in the world. You come up against arguably the best side in the comp, who's exciting. Great win against Melbourne. You beat some two quality teams, yet you sort of had those couple of losses. How do you see we're going?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. We've had two really good wins and two performances that we could definitely put our best foot forward. But yeah, we've got to be a bit more consistent, and that's the key now. So as boring as it is, and I know you don't like hearing it, it's just 1 week at a time. We've just got to roll out, get on the track, and the coaches are really good keeping us level-headed. So we'll review the game and then get after it.
in a week's time.
I'll ask you the same question I asked Orcs. Have you ever been to Mount Barker before?
I knew it was covered.
Nah, never been out there. We're out there in Port Adelaide and we done Norwood, so we know that the crew out there were telling us it's an exceptional deck, so we're really looking forward to getting out there for gather round.
Well, it has to be an exceptional deck. It's brand new. It wasn't on Google Maps 3 months ago.
Well, it's a former sheep paddock that they've redone for footy.
Exactly right. Oscar, look, Michael Price here, 18 possessions, 16 contested, 11 clearances for your good self, plus 43 hit-outs, 13 to advantage. That's a great all-round game, mate. It's the ground balls. That's something, it's a long way down for you. That's something you've really been working on, yeah?
Oh, I think I just got lucky with a couple of bouncing up into my lap, to be honest. Yeah, it's a long way down, but I don't know. A clear path for our elite midfielders, and I shouldn't need to get after it anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they get a couple of days off now, don't you? You probably spend some time with the family. That's what's going to happen. Then back to deck on, back to training on Monday.
Yeah. So big focus on recovery over the next couple of days, and then straight into review on Monday. And the coaches will have it all ready for us and ready to keep the ball rolling.
I know you're not from these parts originally, Oscar, but do you, like everyone else in Brisbane, get out of Brisbane for the rest of the weekend now? What are your plans for Easter?
Nah, we'll just lay low at home. I'll flatline it, to be honest, with the family. There won't be much leaving the couch, but that's what we need at this time of the year to keep the momentum going.
Must be a big couch, Q. Must be a big couch.
Thanks for your time, Oscar. Well done.
Thanks very much for having me, guys.
Oscar McInerney, great to hear from the Big O.
He is the big
down in the Lions' rooms. And I think a very good question about, the pressure, Matt. When you know you've got to be the man against a couple of part-timers, and I say that with no disrespect to Dan McStay and Ash Johnson. I mean, what was it like?
Well, the second quarter, or at half-time, the Pies picked them off and they actually dominated around the stoppages in the centre bounce. So it would have been some frustration and, hang on, we're meant to win this easy. But then in the second half, they came out and they changed things up. And there is a bit of pressure on you, but the Big O handled it really well. As I said, he got his fill playing against lesser opponents, and that's what he had to do.
Yeah, and I wonder why at some stage whether he's just going to get up and punch it forward. The old Clark Keating special.
He did. He got a couple.
But he got a couple of big ones forward at some stage through the game.
Joey Danaher is his best position as a ruck forward.
It is. It has always been.
Okay.
He needs to be up around the ball. He loves the action. Going down forward. When he plays up the field, he marks better when he goes back down forward.
Yes.
He's a better player when he goes back down forward. He's got better second efforts when he goes down back forward. Play him up the field as much as you can. Don't worry about Darcy Ford. Use Danaher as much as you can as a second ruckman. He's a better player when he plays up the field.
Your thoughts as one of the great ruckmen?
No, I agree. That suits him, especially if they continue to play that way. And it's interesting that Zorko didn't quite give us exactly, did they play that way because the Pies forced you to do that? But they also looked at how they moved the ball quickly against Melbourne. So it'd be interesting to see next week, regardless of Mount Barker or wherever it is, Mount Barker, they've got to keep playing that way. If they do, that forward six is going to kick a lot of scores this year.
And it sort of was a bit of back to the future to the 2019 Lions when they made that charge off the back of an open forward line for Cameron as the main target.
Yep.
And perhaps the pace of game allowed Brisbane to do that.
And the guys who come off half back for them, that suits their style. They've got some speed down there.
Kitty Coleman.
Kitty Coleman.
That's changed in 18 months. Kitty Coleman and Connor McKenna. Bang, bang.
McKenna, yep. Exactly
They are the best. I'm telling you, the best list they've had in 20 years since we played.
They've got to keep that form going when they hop on a plane.
There'll be Collingwood fans wondering, okay, well, what happened tonight? Is it, the way that they've gone about it tonight, they conceded 10 goals in a row. Now, 33 points is the final margin against a team which made the preliminary final last year. So 2 preliminary finalists. The home team wins by 5.5 goals. But what did you see tonight to try and either just give some nourishment for the Magpies fans thinking, what happened?
They were just a little bit off, and the Brisbane were right on. That's really all it comes down to. The thing is, the 10 goals in a row, most teams do try and do something differently, and it wasn't clear to see what the Magpies are doing, apart from just trying to continue to play their game style, which last year brought them some great victories and brought them back into games all the time, and this year at times it has too, especially round 1 against the Cats. So look, they're going to be a top 4 team come the end of the year. They missed a dominant ruckman, Cameron, who'd been super form for a couple of weeks, and they just got caught snoozing a couple of times, and a great forward line against them made them pay. So I don't think there'd be many alarm bells. There'd be some great learnings. I don't I don't think since McRae's been here have they had 10 goals kicked against them. So there'll be some great learnings out of that for the week for their coaches.
Well, 3 goals 9 in the middle 2 quarters for Collingwood didn't help.
Yeah, that's
3 goals 9 and some really gettable goals. I mean,
yes,
that drags the margin a lot closer, and then it's home ground advantage that does it.
Price, if you're Craig McRae, you're saying, listen, we're a little bit off tonight. We just didn't have the polish we normally do.
Yep.
But we still could have won the game. We had enough scoring shots. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're not slowing our game speed down. You just missed a few handballs. You just missed a few turnovers that we could have capitalised. You missed a goal for 15 out.
Yep.
It's not the end of the world.
Well, St Kilda at the Adelaide Oval next week. I think there's going to be it's going to be a style makes fights type of thing, depending on what the Saints can do.
St Kilda aren't as good as Collingwood.
No.
They haven't got the talent or the depth or the class.
They've got a truckload of injuries at the moment, but doing a great job. But Ross is going to be all his magic to be able to stop them and slow them down.
Yeah, and then Anzac Day against Essendon. So that's the next 2 for
They will
Collingwood.
win both of them by 10 goals.
Paul.
Q.
You think?
They will absolutely win them by 10 goals. They will destroy.
So you're not concerned about what happened tonight?
No, they played unbelievably, and if they could kick bloody straight, they would be fine.
That's the best we've seen the Lions play in 2 years, Q.
Yeah, it's a great style.
Seriously, stylistically.
I enjoyed it.
We all know, Matt, you're still a coach at VFL level, and you know that there is. It's almost like styles coming back into footy. Now that everyone's wanting to run it a bit, you know, with the handbrake off, I think it's probably made things a bit less predictable in the game because if, as you say, if a team is slightly off, if you play a high risk game, well, it can blow up in your face. And there's no qualms about the fact that, you know, Collingwood do play sort of high risk at times.
But they're asking you questions no matter if you're playing against Collingwood. If you're a backman, a midfielder or a forward, you are constantly getting asked questions and you're thinking about where you have to go. They're trying to dictate all the time to you. And I reckon that's what the good teams are doing. And I love that style of play that's sweeping across the AFL.
Here are the numbers, by the way. If you have just tuned in, Brisbane 18 goals, 8, 116. Collingwood 11, 17, 83. For the Lions, son of a gun or son is the gun? Depending on one of our text messages. Well, Marcus is a champion. Will started his career really well. Will Ashcroft, 26 disposals to lead the way for the Lions this evening, 11 contested. 25 for Dunkley, 22 for McCluggage, 22 for Neil, 21 for Berry, and Joe Danaher, 20 disposals, 9 contested possessions, 2 clearances, 4 hit-outs, and 2 goals. So still kicked a couple and did a job up the ground. Took 6 marks too. So a good night out for Joe Danaher. As far as the Magpies are concerned individually, Nick Dacos, 38 disposals, 634 metres gained. 16 contested possessions, 5 clearances. Pendlebury, 26. Maynard, 25. Josh Dacos, 23. Geordie DeGoey, 21. Quainer and Mitchell 20. Overall, Collingwood had the ball 23 more times. Disposal count 367 to 344. Kick to handball ratio, interesting. Collingwood's was even 197, 170 kick to handball ratio. Brisbane's kick to handball 215 kicks, 129 handballs.
Yeah, I reckon that went the other way in the second half, but the first half it was definitely heading like Collingwood. Q.
Yeah, contested possessions, nothing in that, +1 to Brisbane. The marks, nothing in that, +1 to Brisbane. Clearances, Brisbane +9 at 46 to 37. Hit-outs, 47-23. Brisbane's way. Well, that was always going to be a story of the night. McInerney had 43 hit-outs. McStay was best for Collingwood with 15 hit-outs. Tackles, Collingwood +22 at 65 to 43. And the inside 50s +3 Collingwood at 57 to 54. So Collingwood had 3 more inside 50s and 28 scoring shots to 26. Yep. You can't kick inaccurately. Doesn't matter what style of game. If you kick 11-17 and the other mob goes in, 26 times and kicks 18 goals.
Yep. They're not having...
Or scores 26 times and 18 of them are goals.
They're missing shots that they're not going to miss. Very much.
No,
I mean, that 15-metre, and they're not having shots on the boundary.
The boundary, there was
There were
good
a
shot.
lot of gettable shots.
Yeah, there were.
That's why I'm not concerned.
Is that they kicked 8 goals, 15 against Richmond last week. I know it was in wet weather, but that's 2 weeks in a row that you've had some really bad goal kicking. Is that some mindset thing?
It turns like for no reason. You know, we played a game.
It's like the yips in golf.
Yeah, we had a game. We hit the goalpost. The goalpost 11 times in the game. Unheard of. Never happened before or again. The next week we kicked 23 goals. And you were like, same stadium.
Yeah.
Same stadium. What happened? Nothing happened. We just kicked them.
So, have you got your votes?
Yes. I gave... Matty's doing the
Matt's
official,
on the...
but he's had his 3, I had mine 3. And it's
We'll
up
see
to
what
him.
comes out of it.
Yeah.
There wasn't any type of showdown medal controversy in...
Well,
we're all live here, Q.
There's a lot of good players tonight.
You're doing the Lee voice. Somebody changed my vote.
Yeah, that's not right. That's not me.
Speaking of 2000 and... Oh, no, that was 21 years ago. I'm getting my grand finals mixed up.
2002.
Yeah, the Nathan Buckley, Norm Smith that
Voting
changed
7
the
minutes.
voting forevermore.
Oh, that was horrible.
Never vote 7 minutes
Who
early.
stops 15 minutes before the game? Such idiot.
Nothing against the great Nathan Buckley, but it did change the system. Here we are on a night 20 years after Brisbane's, 20 years celebrating the 03 grand final. Okay, who'd you go for, Matt?
Yes, well, a couple of honourable mentions in Danaher and Dacos. Didn't quite get in it for me, but I gave 1 to the Big O, 2 to Rayner. Will it go?
Spike, take a bit of time about
Sorry,
it.
1 to Big O.
Okay.
Big Oscar.
Wonderful job.
2 to Rayner.
Yep.
Where do you reckon he'll play next week? What position?
he definitely is playing forward.
He's not going back again, do you think?
No, good try. It's like Zorko, and then next minute he's in the midfield playing back to his awesomeness.
I thought not a huge high position game, but everything he touched turned to class and turned to advantage for Brizzy. And 3 to
Charles Cameron.
Chuckles.
Charlie Cameron, 6 goals, 1. 3 to Cameron, 2 to Rayner, 1 to McInerney. Okay, well, we've heard a reaction from the Lions rooms. Let's hear a little with what Collingwood take on the night's proceedings. Here's Craig McRae.
Craig, a lot to break down there. I guess uncharacteristic compared to how you've performed this year. What were some of the key concerns for you and reasons for that, do you think?
I just thought the game probably was won and lost now, looking at it in the second quarter. Really, there's... a 35-point margin, I think it was, or something around that, and that was the total margin in the end. I thought in that quarter, clearly we gave away some uncharacteristic free kicks from our centre bounces, not being organised, and it's something we want to pride ourselves on. There's not a stat about being connected, but that's something we want to be AFL won at, and we weren't. I challenged the guys at half-time around what that looked like, and you can't give a team like Brisbane on the home deck territory, and we gave them gifts for free kicks at centre bounces that resulted in us having to struggle to get the ball out of there.
I know you've got injuries, but were those free kicks from potential confusion surrounding who was going to the ruck, or was there a reason for them?
I think one of them might have been, but we had a little sort of something we were trying to do with Billy Frampton at times, but that might have been the case. But no, there's no excuses to that. That's within our control, and to give up 3 really quickly, it just shows how disconnected we were for that part of the game, and then the result is what it is. I thought we fought the game out reasonably well. We had a few uncustomary decision-making errors or skill errors, but the conditions up here sometimes allow that.
How much do you think that deficiency in the ruck did impact in the end?
Well, we scored more from stoppage than they did. I'm not sure. In terms of losing territory, it's always a cost. It's something we're going to have to really work through the next period. It's not there's no quick fix to it. There's no magic dust towards it. We've got what we got, and we just have to work through it. I thought we had patches tonight, like Ash Johnson. I think we found a player like he's doing some stuff more consistently than he has in the past, and that could be a little gift for us.
So Craig McRae with a couple of the moot points at the end of the night, where Collingwood has suffered defeat for the first time in 2023. Brisbane winning by 33 points. At 18 goals, 8-116 to Collingwood's 11-17-83. Good to see that all the general admission tickets are sold for tomorrow's Good Friday game with North Melbourne playing Carlton. It's always a big thing in Victoria, the hospital's appeal. Our coverage on Good Friday footy tomorrow is from 4 o'clock Eastern time.
How'd they do it? They never used to do it. Remember, they didn't play on Friday?
No, not for many, many years. And I know both clubs have gone to the hospital and during the week. What about in the footy? Blues or Kangas?
I think the Blues.
Blues will play better. They didn't play that great last week. And not that GWS are bad, but they were a bit sloppy. I think they'll tighten it up. They're a quality list, and they're going to play finals this year, I'm telling you.
Happy Easter, Raka.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the eggs too.
Yeah,
Pricey.
thanks, Pricey.
Not a problem, guys.
Happy Easter, Matt.
You too. Have a great 3 or 4 days.
Thanks, Pricey.
Thank you, Q.
Thank you for bringing the chocolate tonight.
That's what a man's got to know his roles.
Exactly.
What a guy.
Zane Bojak down on the boundary. Thank you to Aussie Bob on the faders and to Andrea Williamson back in the studio. And thank you, of course, for starting your Easter weekend of footy with us. In the NRL tonight, the Storm beat the Roosters 28-8 here. Brisbane is 2-2, Collingwood 3-1. Lions by 33 points at the Gabba. Hope you enjoyed the start of your Easter weekend with us. Sets it up to the top of the goal. Taken by Cam Rayner.
What a hang.
Brisbane looking for its first goal, and the mark deserved the maximum result. Viral ball to the middle of the ground. Andrews takes it. Tackled by Elliott. Hand pass stolen by Bobby Hill. One down.